really good.
Be like, bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys.
Bro.
Welcome to Bussin' with the Boys. Bussin' fans, tier ones. We have an incredible interview with Dale Earnhardt Jr. If you're here for Dale and you're not familiar with our show, we are a show that brings the locker room to life. We're a show that is about being for the boys. You can be for the boys by making sure you are subscribed to our channel. We've learned that 30 to 40% of our channel, of our audience, is not subscribed to Bussin' with the Boys. So if you're listening on audio right now, or you're watching your boy right now on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed, leaving comments throughout the episode. And another tidbit for the tier ones out there that have been waiting for the merch store to drop, it is dropping this Thursday at 10 a.m. As you guys know, we went independent. We've been building our merchandise store. That is coming this Thursday. If you want to be a tier one, you want to sign up and you want to get a discount code for shopping, just go to bwtb.com. You will get a discount code. You will get it notified when the shop opens up on Thursday at 10 a.m. Shop till you drop it. This is a fun episode, about 4 hours long. We do an hour of bantering on the intro. We talk March Madness, basketball, wrestling, NFL free agency, Severance talk, all of it. And then the Dale Earnhardt Jr. interview kicks off. But shop till you drop. Make sure you're subscribed. And let's be for the boys. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys. This is episode 321. As always, our presenting sponsor is the great FanDuel Sportsbook. Bussin' with the Boys is presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook in the world. Well, America. Now let's talk about this. This weekend, we had ourselves a couple of streams. Thursday, we kicked it off.
Yeah.
Seemed like the boys, for the most part, stayed around 50%, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
I think a couple of units were made here and there. Then we get to Friday. Now, I'm just going to say this real quick. Had an amazing time. But Friday, first 3 bets, what we do?
We were riding high.
Bank, riding high.
Confidence thing goes up.
Way too high.
Unit goes up a little bit more because like today's the day.
Today's the day. We finally found a little crack in the armor of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
Turns out Vegas is never wrong, and the boys went plummeting down to earth like Icarus.
We had a rough go. We started second guessing ourselves a little bit. We started talking about bets a little too much. However, I will say the best part of March Madness for myself is that over 2.5 in the first minute.
Dude, yes.
When we learn those quick bets, because again, it's fun betting spreads, it's fun betting totals and points and everything else, but you have to wait for the game to kind of unfold.
Yeah.
But to get your juices going, when all of us are riding on the over 2.5 points in the first minute, somebody on Friday found the first 4 minutes, over 12.5 points in the first 4 minutes. Both teams to score a goal in the first minute or first 2 minutes.
Score a goal.
Race to 5, race to 10, 15, all the way up to 70. Those are the ones that were getting me fired up. And you mentioned on Thursday, we started off the Dog of the Day promo that FanDuel has. We got to share in the $1 million jackpot because McNeasy was the lowest seed to win on Thursday. Lost on Friday with Lipscomb.
Lost on Friday with Lipscomb.
Lost on Saturday with
Yeah.
McNeasy again. Tried to stick a staying with McNeasy. But
tough sledding. Those next 2 days.
I was fired up. When the Dog of the Day hit, when their promo's going on and their Dog of the Day hit, I was fired up. We have a baseball one coming up, which we'll tell you about.
Yeah.
But we'll continue to talk about our fun that we had on the streams.
I will say this is like I said, this is my first time really diving into March Madness, so I didn't really know how to go. Like, do you start firing bets right away? Am I keeping my unit up where it usually is?
And I was telling you,
Will pulled me to the side and he goes, "Listen, you want to go smaller units because it's a long burn. This is a marathon you're going to have to deal with here." So when we started hitting that 2.5 in the first minute, the 5, 10, 15s,
Yeah.
the first half total points, all those things, like you're keeping small units, but it's like you're interested in enjoying the entire time because it's not about how much you win. It's about the vibes of the boys.
Yeah.
The vibes of the boys.
And you want to keep the units low. Again, responsibly low.
Responsibly
because you
low.
know how many you're just throwing out there. Like there are moments where it's like, I don't even know what's next on the docket. I don't even know what's next on the bet slip. But fortunately, when you keep your units low because you're throwing out so many different bets, you're able to kind of stay in the game.
I set a personal record for myself on Thursday. I had over 70 bets according to my FanDuel Sportsbook app. That's just nuts.
You jump on it and it just reminds you how long you've been on the app and how many bets you've placed.
It gives you that little reality check. And it's just kind of fun. Now Friday I started bumping the bets up a little bit because we had that 3 we talked about. It started hitting so fast. Caught myself in a little bit of a spiral. It was going down. I was going down the drain a little bit. All good. But that's the issue. That's the reason why you keep the units teeny tiny.
Right, because when you're losing your bets, you start to want to chase what you've lost. That's why you got to keep them low, so you're just not in a full blender throughout the entire weekend.
My brain can't sit there and just like be like, okay, I'm taking Florida -6.5. I'm taking Michigan -1.5, and then just wait the entire game for the result of my bet. Like I need to feel something the entire time we're working around.
Yeah,
but baseball season. It's opening week this week.
It is opening week.
And FanDuel is giving all customers the chance to take a swing at $500,000 in bonus bets every day from March 27th to March 30th. All you have to do is use your jackpot profit boost on a player to homer. And if they go yard, not only will you get your winnings on your home run bet, but you will also get a share of that day's $500,000 bet jackpot. So just go to fanduel.com/bussin and look for the daily home run jackpot. I haven't dove into baseball in a minute. I told you guys about when I went to the World Series, the first game of the World Series, and I left early when all the action really started taking place. Like that's I don't know a whole lot about baseball, but the opportunity to bet on homers every time that guy steps into the batter's box, does his fun little superstitious, does the cross, couple wipes here and there, moves his hat a couple of times and swings. You need that.
Yeah.
You need that.
Yeah. Dude, I wish we were back in the Big Mac days. St. Louis Cardinals. You got Big Mac land because of Mark McGwire. He was just hitting dingers every day. But betting on a home run and it landing in Big Mac land, everybody in the section gets a free Big Mac. And the Cardinals, and not to just go off course and just talk about the St. Louis Cardinals, but when they're in the playoffs, Big Macs were $1. And your boy would house like 3 Big Macs.
I don't doubt that,
bro. Me and Logan. I know Logan always makes his way onto this podcast.
Always makes his way on the show.
But we just ripped down to McDonald's. Cardinals would go on, like, they'd have like 7-game series. Like, it was all time. So I'm fired up about this. What is it against? This jackpot profit boost token. You use it, and then if that guy homers, everybody splits $500,000.
Everybody who bet on that guy to homer in that game will divvy up $500,000.
I gotta find the guys. What's his name? Aaron Judge? That's a big bastard. You might have to bet on him going yard.
Aaron Judge had a tough playoffs this past year.
Did he?
He was coming off. He's a little slow, a little sluggish. And I only know that because I started following the Dodgers after I had that big fumble of going to that game.
Maybe Ohtani. I know he's a very popular player in baseball.
Matt Holliday's kid. Jackson Holliday's a Cardinals guy, right?
Yeah.
His son plays for the Orioles.
Oh, no shit.
19.
What a legend.
I'm just going to find fun names like Mookie Betts. And
baseball, too, I feel like a lot of like their offspring has made their way into this next generation. I feel like baseball more than any other sport. You see like Tatis. Who else? Ken Griffey Jr.
See that guy, and that's it. Ken Griffey Jr.
Holiday. I know there's more. My brain's just not firing right now.
Yeah. I mean, hockey's the same way. I feel like that's just a sign of us getting older. Like with the people we used to watch, they had kids when we were watching them, and now their kids are becoming professional athletes as well.
Yeah,
generational talents through and through.
Yeah,
generational.
Have you got? Go ahead, Jack.
I was talking about the over 2.5 points. One of my friends after Friday when we finished streaming, and one of his buddies, who's a big gambler, said for baseball season, outside of this coin that you're gonna do, we might have found a new baseball over 2.5 bet. But it's apparently you bet the under on runs in the first inning because they got these guys coming out. You know, they're starting pitchers throwing gas. Just it doesn't. Really
gotta wait for him to get tired.
Yeah, but apparently this is one of those bets that we can maybe play into as well. So just like betting the under on runs in the first inning.
There we go, Jack.
Maybe we'll test the waters later this week once opening day starts. Is that Thursday?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But this week.
This week.
Yeah.
Could be any day this week, honestly.
Have you guys checked the bracket challenge?
Yeah.
Do you know who's in first place?
Are you?
One of y'all two, right?
It's Taylor.
Oh, no shit.
Taylor's in first place. Right?
Hey, let's go. Let's give a round of applause for that, huh?
Your bracket right now, I think
I have like 2 losses.
it's like 99.9 percentile in the world.
Oh, are you serious?
Like your bracket is ranked in the top 3,000 people right now in the world. America, the
go.
world.
Let's go.
I opened it up. I'm like, because I knew I was in second last week, like after the first or second day, and I was fired up. But I jumped on again this morning, and I just see Taylor sitting at the top, and I'm like, this mother.
Something about fantasy, man. Something about fantasy. I just get it done. Dude, well, my bracket's about, unless Michigan shows up in a big way, because when I was doing my bracket, I kind of obviously was guessing and texted a couple of guys. But when I got to Michigan in this part, I have them beating Auburn. And then in the lead 8, I was like, okay, this is probably where Michigan goes. I know Sherm kind of gave me the whole, no one will be surprised if Michigan makes it to the Sweet 16. So I was like, okay, we'll get them to the Sweet 16, then I'll, try to take the bracket as serious as possible. But then the way my bracket worked out is Michigan in the lead 8 plays Michigan State. And so my ego won't allow Michigan to lose to Michigan State, even though I think they beat them every time this year.
Bro, you
so
never
now
know,
Michigan's
man.
in the Final Four in my bracket. If Michigan makes it to the Final Four in real life, we're living. And also, I know we're just gassing up FanDuel, but that futures parlay, I put Michigan in the Sweet 16 and Arizona in the Sweet 16. That's hit. And all I need is Florida in the Elite 8, and I need Houston in the Elite 8. And if those two hit, I'll hit that parlay.
My futures parlay got shit on when St. John's lost, man.
Really?
I was bummed when they lost,
Damn.
bro.
Y'all were all in
God,
St.
they're
John's?
paying me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I hit that. I did a little ghost bet last night with New Mexico and Michigan State. I wanted New Mexico first to 5, first to 10, first to 15. I soloed those, and then I parlayed it as well, and that hit. And that was like plus 300 odds or something like that. Because they were apparently New Mexico was in it the whole entire game. I came in, I was like, hey, what happened with Michigan State or Michigan State and New Mexico? And the boys were like, yeah, New Mexico was up at half or right around up at half.
Yeah.
We had, I found a bet for Saturday. Every team to score over 60 points.
Bro, Mitch dropped that in the group chat.
Plus,
I was so fired
plus
up.
1,000.
It hit?
So plus 1,000, I think, I was like, oh, this is, everybody's going to, the biggest worry is McNeese State to just score 60 points against whoever they were playing.
Yeah.
The final game of the day, it's Tennessee versus UCLA. UCLA has
That's why y'all were texting about
scored
UCLA.
58 points. They had 4 free throws and with at 56 points. They went 1 for 2 on both free throw attempts and finished with 58. I was so
Dog, I
pissed.
went to bed just being like, yo, Mitch delivered a winner to the boys. Plus 1,000. Every team on that day to score over 60. And every team was hitting, bro. And I was looking at UCLA, Tennessee, I think around halftime. And I'm like, they're on pace. Like, this one's going to hit. Like, these are 2 quality teams that are going to, again, he was talking about McNeese State. Like, that's kind of the only one you were worried about. And I woke up the next morning and saw that the bet didn't hit. So I opened up, I'm like scrolling through and I see UCLA had 58 points.
They scored like 4 points in the first 8 minutes
No.
of the second half.
Man.
It was nuts, man. It was nuts. But Mitch, that was going to be a big time winner for the group chat of the boys. Just throwing that one in there.
And then
Mitch
I did
was
it,
operating though with the parlays, during
dropping the
stream.
FanDuel links in.
and then I did it again yesterday. It was only plus 230 this time. I sent it to you guys. I was like, look at the odds now. It's only plus 230.
Yeah.
I put $10 on it and it hit, but it's not as big as like obviously.
You would
plus
hit that plus
1,000.
1,000. Every team hitting over 60. That would have been fun. And right now in our bracket challenge too, we have 3 of us tied for second place. JP, I saw you sitting at the bottom, man.
St. John's stuff. I got a problem every single Dude, every single March Madness I do this where I just get so enthralled with the upsets. I'm like, man, this is going to be the year. And I have to be the guy that called it. And I'm never the guy that calls it. And I end up last in like all of my brackets. And I saw this year only one underdog won in like the first 2 rounds, which does not go well for me. And yeah, so from now on, I think I'm just going to hit auto pick. My next brackets.
You said auto pick and let
Take
it
the
generate
highest
it?
seeds and let it go.
You know what I've noticed with these brackets and just betting in general is like the more you look into bets, the more times you're wrong. I feel like it's like an intuition thing. Like you just gotta be like, okay, this, okay, that. That when you start looking at,
Yeah,
especially in the
I
fall,
like the data.
yeah, you look at the data, but we get in the fall. I mean, at least it was for me this year in the locker room. I started looking into all these different things, the weather, all this, and then your brain just gets confused.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just my brain because
paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, paralysis by analysis. But it's not paralysis because I'm making the bets. I'm just losing.
Yeah, but you're looking so much into it. You're paralyzing yourself.
Yeah, I got to fly by the seat of my pants on these things because with this bracket, I really had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's the first time.
Up until Saturday and Sunday hit, like the first two, like Thursday and Friday, they were pretty boring.
Yeah, I saw a couple of tweets. People were saying it was like the worst first round of March Madness.
I don't think there was any like comebacks in those first couple days.
Yeah, it kind of was like when people got
weekend.
separated. The one, I mean, watching Michigan as tightly as I did, the first game versus UC San Diego, they were up by like 13, and I think they were down in the second half at one point, ended up coming back and winning. And then Michigan was down against who was it? A&M, down by like 10 points. Came back and won that.
Florida game was nice too.
Yeah, that one was close.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
St. John's was close. I remember I was watching the ending of that one, just hoping they were going to get back in it.
You saw Coach Calipari's quote? He was like, they had us in the coffin. They just forgot the nails.
Yeah.
It's like, dang.
That's a
Calipari
bar.
versus Patino is all time,
I
too.
know. I love that old that storyline. And then one of them, I forget which coach, but their daughters fired up like right next to him the whole game. Yeah. And they were just within that 3-4 points and just could not close it. Even when they had a chance at it, they just weren't able to like close the distance in the end.
Friday for us wasn't all bad. Like you got yourself a nice little present from Clay Matthews.
Yeah, Clay, he delivered an incredible photo.
An incredible
we
gift.
can throw it up here, but just getting trucked by Rupkowski. And I remember that play too. Like you just see.
I'm pretty sure you've talked about that play multiple times.
Just seeing him in the A gap, knowing it's just me and him. He just low man wins, and he bulldozed me. However, he did fall down, and I got the tackle, and I was in his ear, and I did let him know, like, hey, that does go down as a tackle, but nice hit.
Now, when you're in that situation and you know it's just you and him, and this is a big cat that's probably going to try to run you over, you thinking, hey, just get him down?
Oh,
like you're not worried
100%.
about getting run over in that situation.
No, I got to get him to the ground because even before it was happening, I was like, fuck, this dude's about to give it to me. And just, you're trying to get as low as possible and try to wrap
That's how you
up
know
anything.
you've lost a battle.
Yeah.
Is when you see it coming, you're like, this is about to hurt really bad.
And they were in 11 personnel, and he's just a solo back there. And you see the puller, and you go with the puller, and you're just thinking, like, they're handing this boy the ball. They're handing this big boy the ball right now.
And it's just you and him.
Yeah.
And a couple of blades of grass.
Oh, no.
The boys give you hell on that, or you work through that all right?
No, you
Tackle's a tackle.
You catch a little heat, but yeah, I got him on the ground.
Right.
I mean, they might have gained 2 yards, but he's on the ground.
Yeah, you look
That
at a
goes
couple
in the
other guys
stat
that are
sheet
chirping
as
you,
a
like, you
solo.
wouldn't have got him down.
Yeah.
He would have ran your ass over and got 6 more.
Yeah, but I love that he wrote me a little note. Clay delivered.
Clay
Love
to
the
deliver.
gift. Shut up, Rupkowski. He was a stud.
Yeah, we had the
Yeah,
squad.
Clay
Yeah.
Matthews, Delaney came through. We were just in it watching games. Your soul kind of gets sucked out of you when you're just sitting there watching games all day long.
Right.
Because when I got out of him, we were home over the weekend. Like your boy, you know me, I was jumping into the MATness.
The
Wrestling.
Madness?
March Madness.
I did see you tweeting about it. Shout out Nebraska.
Dude, shout out Nebraska. It's been their best performance in the NCAA tournament in the history of the program. They had 3 guys in the finals. Brock Hardy, he lost, and surprising too, but Jesse Mendez, he was a beast from Ohio State. He was the defending national champion, but Hardy had beat him in the Big Tens. And Hardy started off strong. He was up on him 5-1, debatably 6-1. They kind of went to the review to see if he got like an extra point in a near fall because he put him on his back after he took him down. So he's up 5-1. Jesse Mendez comes back and beats him. So that one sucked, and that's what started it. But then Taylor and Lovett, they both won theirs. And it was all time. Like Nebraska got second at the tournament. Coach Manning got Coach of the Year for the NCAAs. But it was fun, bro. Did you see?
No.
Did you see that heavyweight upset?
When I was with you is when I saw wrestling. When you forced us to take one of the TVs and turn it on to wrestling is the amount of wrestling I watched this weekend.
Bro, who was it? White Hendrickson?
Why had you Gable Stevenson?
Yeah,
is
and
this
Gable
cat?
Stevenson. White Hendrickson. So this is the heavyweight. Bro, when I was young, we went to the NCAAs when it was in St. Louis. I got to see Brock Lesnar when he was a heavyweight wrestle against the cat from Brock Lesnar was at Minnesota. This cat was at Iowa.
Gophers.
And Brock Lesnar wins like 4-2. It might have been in overtime too. But you just see that's Brock. Bro. And he's just back there doing his like Brock Lesnar jump. And I just remember as a kid, I was like up in the nosebleeds too, like, yo, this dude is a badass. But the heavyweight matchup this year was Gable Stevenson versus Wyatt Hendrickson. Gable Stevenson, just for some background, Olympic gold medalist. Is he a two-time? I thought Pan American, is that the same thing?
I thought it was a two-time.
He's been a gold medalist. Like he's won the worlds. He's like a 4-time world champion based on age. He's been winning worlds since he was like 16 or 17 years old. And is like a 5-time All-American. He's the best. He is the best. He hasn't given up a takedown since 2020. Given up a takedown. You know, when they take him down, they wrestle him, they take him to the ground, refs like 3, 2, whatever.
Yeah.
He hasn't given up a takedown since 2020.
Okay. He's just giving up when he has him on a takedown and they...
Like when they're neutral, they're both on their feet. He has not lost or given up a takedown since 2020.
Gotcha.
He hasn't lost since, 2019? He goes on like he's won the gold medal. He's older, so he kind of came down. He's like a 24-year-old wrestling in the championships. But he tried the WWE. He didn't get in the WWE. I think it lasted like one match, and they kind of like, hey, this isn't working out. He tried like I forget the cat that played for the New England Patriots, but a wrestler that went to the New England Patriots and played and had a little bit of a career, transition from wrestler to football player. Gable tried that with the Buffalo Bills, didn't make the squad in training camp. I think that was last year. But anyway, he goes back to school, and again, the best wrestler in the world. And this dude, Wyatt Hendrickson, beats him in the last seconds, and the place was pandemonium, bro. Because again, this is the best cat in the world. Like no one's thinking that Wyatt Hendrickson's going to upset him. And I think too, isn't Wyatt Hendrickson? He's like a second lieutenant.
Air Force is what he like transferred from Air Force to OK State, and I also think he's 24 too. So people were trying to get on Gable Stevenson. You go lose to this college kid, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. These are grown-ass fucking men, dude. And obviously you have the COVID year, so people are probably getting their extra years. Because
when does COVID years end?
I don't know. I think it might be this year. This is like the last
year
one.
where like COVID will have a
Because there was
say.
one cat, I think it was Srirachi from Penn State. He's a 5-time national champion, the only 5-time national champion of all time. But yeah, Wyatt Hendrickson, he stands up, he wins, he goes and salutes Donald Trump. But the place was electric because nobody, that was one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset in wrestling history. And in the heavyweight division, like it was crazy, bro. It was awesome. It was awesome to watch. But your boy was catching up on the MATness.
You talking about your relationship with wrestling. Like you go back and you watch this and you're like all about it. You dove into all the information. This guy transfers from Air Force to OK State. This guy went to the WWE, all these things. But then when I talk about you as an individual wrestling, you're like, it always starts with, I fucking hated it.
I did hate wrestling. Yeah. It's just,
is it really?
Oh yeah, bro.
Practice is harder or losing? Because I've always heard like cutting weight is the hardest part. Like that's like the worst part of the whole thing.
Cutting weight sucks. Practice sucks. Like these dudes are just.
Why does practice suck? You just keep going. You're just going all
you're
day?
drilling for 2 hours at a time. You're drilling. The workouts are crazy. The coaches are psychopaths. Like one time, like because little bro Cody wrestling at Nebraska, like one of their workouts one day was they had a 45-pound plate. And the coaches just drive them like a few miles off campus. They drop them off. They have a 45-pound plate, and they're like, get back to campus. And these dudes are just grinding all day long, bro.
They're just embracing the stuff.
And you're living at this height for months out of the year.
Yeah.
Because you're just low. You're wrestling. You're wrestling every day, all the time.
It's amazing how wrestlers just understand the body. JP, did you wrestle? Like, how do you know about this? Like, you talking like you did it.
Well, so our high school, I know it sounds crazy being in the Southeast. It's like one of the best wrestling programs in like the country. They've broken records for most state championships, most regional championships. And it's like similar stories where in high school, the coach took them to like this arcade place. It was like, hey guys, like no practice, whatever. And then he leaves and they're like, wait, how do we get back? He's like, you run back. And made him run back. And so, and I didn't even wrestle. This guy, he like, taught science or something. And he had on a state championship ring and I wasn't listening one time and he turned it around and he asked me a question and I didn't answer it. And he was just like, boom, like slaps me on the back of the head with the ring turned inside. He's like, you gotta do better. I'm like, I don't even like, you just slapped me in my head with this ring.
Oh shit.
So how he treated the actual wrestlers is crazy.
Yeah, I just respect the sport. I respect the culture of it. I respect like what goes into it. So when I see these guys winning, they're celebrating with their families. Like just knowing, having the close-up lens that I had with wrestling because Cody was so good at it, and I did it up to 6th grade, quit, had to do it again my junior year because my parents forced me to. Like, I just know the culture so well, and I know like what goes into it, so it's just fun to see because it's like any movie, any boxer, MMA fighter, any behind-the-scenes stuff that you see with these guys, like these wrestlers, like eat, breathe, sleep, die for wrestling. And you always know, like throughout the entire year, you know, like where you're ranked in state, you know where you're ranked in the nation, and you just know every duel you go to, like who's who in the zoo, any tournament. Like growing up, it'd be like the Triple Crown winner. Cody won the Triple Crown one year where it's like Cliff Keen, Tulsa, I think Reno or something like that. But you go to these massive tournaments that are national tournaments because
and Cody won.
You
them.
wrestle around the state and you go to all these tournaments, you're kind of like ranked in the state. But when you go to these national tournaments, and there's so many people there, like the wrestling parents, the families, everybody's there. And yeah, then you're like, hey, Cody's got to wrestle somebody from Pennsylvania. Will's got to, I'm wrestling somebody from Minnesota. You're wrestling all around the country. And so I just know the culture of it. And so I just respect it so much that when I see it on and I see how much I followed Cody and watching Nebraska wrestling, and Jordan Burroughs, he went to Nebraska. He's like considered the GOAT of wrestling, one of the GOATs of wrestling. So I've just always followed it. I've always loved it. Like I know my dad's always tuned in. So when we were on the phone Saturday, we're kind of chopping it up about, who's going to be in the finals tonight. Cody's fired up because he's like, yo, this is the best Nebraska's ever performed in the tournament. So it like fires me up.
That's Cody was
Love
like
watching
that, huh?
it. Oh, Cody was a monster. Cody was a senior national champion coming out of high school. So
Really?
senior nationals.
So Nebraska was like, oh, we got ourselves a dog. Like we're probably gonna win a national championship with this kid.
Yeah, I mean, those are the types of caliber guys that are going to wrestle there. And it was like, when we get recruited, we drove to Mizzou, Iowa, and Nebraska in 1 week. And Cody and I are both getting recruited at each spot because he was a dog at wrestling. Like he wrestled for Team Missouri. Pennsylvania was always really nice. New Jersey, Iowa.
Yeah, what is like the number one state?
Probably the Northeast. I mean, you have
Really?
Iowa, Pennsylvania.
I was gonna say like Iowa or Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota's always got, or like South Dakota.
Minnesota's got a lot, like the North, the Northeast, like those are the dogs of wrestling. Like Penn State, even though Nebraska and Oklahoma State performed really well in this tournament, like the upset with Wyatt Hendrickson, they had some guys kind of upset some dudes in the finals. But Penn State is like far and above. Like their head coach is Cale Sanderson, which is one of the most accomplished wrestlers of all time. And he just has this program that they just breed a college wrestling team, winning year in and year out. Like everybody's talking about Oklahoma State and Nebraska, how well they did, but they weren't even close to getting the national championship because Penn State just wins like every year.
So like with football, there's like height, strength, whatever. Like the attributes that guys have to be a good football player. Like what are good attributes for a wrestler? Like
Dog.
Psychotic.
Yeah.
You got to be a psycho.
Yeah, I mean, your mentality, it starts there, but dudes' mobility, flexibility, their strength, like these guys can deadlift like over 500-600 pounds and weigh, they're weighing around like 160, 170.
They're doing like, there was a guy I think a year or two ago won the national championship on two torn ACLs. Like,
Yeah, you were telling me
Spencer
about
Lee.
that cat.
That was
Yeah.
Spencer Lee. He's been on the bus.
yeah, like psychopath type.
He's been on the bus.
Yeah.
Like those are the kind of, that's what makes good wrestlers, is people that do not have any regard for their body. Like, oh, it's just my knee. It's fine. I'll get it fixed later.
And they're just their skill set, like the way that they're able to change levels. Like if you were to watch like Jesse Mendez, the guy who beat Hardy for Nebraska, he wrestles for Ohio State. Their ability to like change levels and like mess with your head, and the next thing you know, they're on your ankle. Like their riding ability, it's like, when you're on top, and you were asking, why doesn't the guy just stand up if he wants to get out? And it's like, well, some of these guys are incredible, just controlling the hips, throwing in legs, like wrestling on top. It's a crazy sport, bro. It's like what's the dude's name from Arizona State who had the one leg?
Well, that was a while ago. Yeah.
I forget his name, but he has a movie coming out about him.
Yeah. He's got a movie coming out about him. But it's like, you don't even need both legs to be great.
What's crazy is I heard
Like, this dude's just
people were
these
basically
guys
saying
are
this guy's
psychopaths.
cheating.
Yeah, Anthony Robles. Yeah, you're saying he's cheating. Well,
No,
because his-
people were getting pissed because he was missing a leg. That's obviously so much weight taken off. So
Yeah,
he's in a
it's into
lower
his
weight
upper
class.
body, yeah.
Yeah. And so he should be in a higher weight. And so people were getting pissed off that this guy was winning.
yeah, because he's so fucking strong. Like
That's crazy.
Cody-
By the
Cody
way,
could,
shout out his balance too.
Cody could
Just
clean.
stand there.
He could clean and deadlift more than me, like throughout my college career.
No shit.
Yeah, like these dudes are cock strong with their grip.
Yeah, Cody seems like he had that mentality big time.
Cock-
Cock
Yeah,
strong?
cock strong?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's a real fucking.
That's that gift Will puts up to the corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're watching right now and you love the wrestling talk, the March Madness talk, everything going on about it, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The boys, we are nearing 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, it's big time. We hit 600K. That'll be massive.
That'll be huge for the boys. That'd be nice. That'd be nice to have. Should we take a timeout?
Oh, bow timeout.
You want to take a bow timeout?
Let's take a bow timeout. Let's take a bow timeout. Boys, we do have you. Mitch, I know you love the Bowberry waffles. They were incredible. We have an entire box for the boys.
Yep, entire box. Try the new chicken and Bowberry waffle. It's both sweet and savory. We put the Bojangles spin on a classic breakfast. Introducing the chicken and Bowberry waffles, our signature Cajun filet between two warm Bowberry waffles with a Bowberry honey glazed drizzle. Pop that thing open, kid. If you're a fan of chicken and waffles, but always felt like you were missing some bold Cajun flavor and sweet Bowberry goodness, then it's your lucky day, because Bojangles' new chicken and Bowberry waffles are available now. It's a bold Cajun filet you love, topped with Bowberry glaze and a sandwich between two delicious Bowberry waffles. It's only available for a limited time, so so get to Bojangles and order yours today.
Pass them back, boys.
Bang. Knock that out. These things are, by the way. Like, we did ourselves a little custom ad for Bojangles last week. Garrett, great job on that, by the way. Delicious stuff. Delicious. It's just the smell in this room already.
I know.
Smells incredible. What you got there?
They dropped off a little bow box for the boys. Ooh, more.
We got more?
Let's get a little Nat Geo on everybody. Let's zoom in on Mitch and let's see how big of a bite he can take down.
Yeah.
That's kind of my favorite part, Mitch.
Mitch, and last time I saw you kind of half cocked it. I want you full cocked on this one.
Cocked up.
Cock it up, baby.
Go to do a big a bite as possible. Take a little off and do a double bite to see how much more you can get in that one bite.
That's pro shit.
2 big bites rather than one
massive bite.
Before that
2 big
sandwich
bites in
leaves
the
your
same
mouth.
breath, though.
Yeah.
It can't leave your mouth.
All right.
There's one.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good bite. That's a good bite. And there's still so much left.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see him like inches way down the sandwich? Mitch, I feel like you could have a wrestler's brain. You don't have that? You don't have that dog mentality?
He ain't like that, he's saying.
I wrestled in middle school,
He wrestled in middle school.
That's right.
and I got beat by a girl.
You got,
That's right.
bro, there
Yeah.
are some badass women in the sport.
And she was on my team. She beat me, and I went home and cried.
You went home and cried?
And said, "Mom and Dad, I'm not built for this."
I'm not built for it. Sounds like very few humans in the world are built for this. Ooh, what a catch by Jack.
And you know these boys are different. Like we've talked about it before. The college parties with wrestlers, it's just a bunch of dudes shoulder to shoulder.
Hey, nobody cares
playing
about
all their
girls.
beer games,
Yeah.
shirts off, bandanas on.
Bandana's on top of the head, and then it always ends up in the yard. Always ends up in the yard.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man. Thank you, Bojangles.
Shout out to the bow rounds.
What do we have coming up?
Shout out, let's do a shout out, no free shout out while the boys are enjoying their Bowberry waffle. What are they called?
Shout out, Bo Free shout out.
Chicken and Bowberry waffle. Shout out, Bo Free shout
You
out.
like that one, JP? JP, that's what I'm talking about.
Go and start us off, kid.
I'm gonna throw it back. Some nostalgia.
Throw it back, kid.
My shout out, no free shout out. My shout out, Bo Free shout out goes to when you were a young pup and you're just laying in your room and a fan's on the ceiling and you're able to grab that one blade and track it all the way around and you lose it and you keep trying to find that one blade. But when you connect and you find that one blade, it's euphoric.
That might be Hall of Fame.
That
You
might
like
be
that
Hall
shout
of
out?
Fame. Dude,
You like
that had me in such a blender as a kid. Like, I was so obsessed with finding the one blade. When it was off one time, I took a marker and I put a green line on one of the blades. So when
So
I
you
would
could
lay
track
on when I lay on my bed, I try to find the green line.
I love how you did a marker and not just like a piece of tape.
Yeah, yeah. I was just rooting the house.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now about homes, I would have never have done that.
And then when your brain can't keep up with one, you just think to yourself, maybe there's a level to where the human mind just can't follow it.
comprehend
And maybe
what's
I'm there.
going
I got to
on.
slow it down a little bit and start tracking it. And you think to yourself, I wonder if everybody else can do this, or am I the one guy who can track the blade going around?
I love that shout out, no free shout out. I will also do a nostalgic one, and it came to me on Friday.
Shout out, Bo Free shout out.
Shout out, Bo Free shout out.
Bo.
Shout out, Bo Free shout out. I'm sitting outside. I set up the entire campsite for the kids in the backyard this weekend. Tried to do it last weekend. There was a big storm that took place. It ended up we had to pack it all in and go back in the house. Still wasn't a bad deal. But this week we were able to go outside, get the campsite going and everything like that. And I had a little fire pit. Watching my children, like Neanderthals, discover fire is one of the most fun things to watch because it takes you back as a kid. When they see the fire, it mesmerizes everybody. Even as an adult, you sit there and stare at the fire, the dancing, the smoke coming up. It comes into your face, and you say, white rabbit, white rabbit, white rabbit, and then it goes away, and you think, yo, how the fuck does that work like that? It's just magic. But my kids would grab sticks, and they would put the stick in the fire, and they'd pull it out. And to see the transfer from fire to the stick blew their minds to the point where, like, it was like an hour and a half of them just getting sticks, catching on fire, blowing it out, doing fun designs and putting it back. So shout out, Beaufree shout out to the discovery of fire.
There you go. And also, new special Lucky out on Netflix. Bert Kreischer.
Shit. Yeah, Bert Kreischer. Yeah. Shout out Bert Kreischer
we got that
and his special Lucky out on Netflix now. I think it was like number 2 in the country. It was going.
Yeah, it's doing well. It's doing well.
I love that. I love that Bert gets so much love because every time Bert's on the show, there's always a nasty comments, people being crazy about Bert, but people,
Yeah, I mean,
he still pushes numbers. He still does his thing. He's the man.
Everybody watching right now, we are wearing some gear. We are wearing some merch. Our merchandise store officially launches this Thursday. So as you're watching, you're listening, you can get our merch this Thursday.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. is
Central.
when it drops. 10 a.m. Central Time. BWTB.com. If you haven't already, go to that site right now, sign up, and you will get a reminder in your email whenever the store goes live. And you will also have a discount code to shop with that discount code when you do support the boys, when you do buy the merch. We have our girl dad stuff. We got our Budweiser collab going on. We got a lot of cool stuff that's going in the store. I can even show a few pieces. Right there. This will all be live on Thursday.
Something about the wrestling community too with this one right here. You cut the sleeves off on that, but boy, you get in the gym with that. That's solid.
Support the boys. Be for the boys. Go buy our merch, man.
And then fun. Hey, if you like this sweatshirt, don't worry. There's matching sweatpants to go with it.
Dude, we do.
That fires me up that we have a whole sweatsuit. Team sweatsuit. Just in time for the weather to get warm. But get it now. Get it now because Spooktober is only 191 days away. That weather's going to break sooner than you think.
Have you guys been leveling up your life since the Ashton Hall video has been going viral?
Yeah, 100%. Apparently that guy got evicted. I just saw on Twitter.
What?
Everybody's praying on a downfall out
Apparently
there.
he got evicted from his apartment, and apparently he's 5'5". So I'm not hating. I'm just
Sounds like you're hating.
I'm just reporting facts
damn.
that I saw on Twitter. And no, I mean that guy, he's teaching us all life lessons, but that's just what I'm seeing on Twitter, and I hope it's not true.
The most incredible thing to me about that guy is when I watched his video, he gets to the pool and he goes to dive in the pool at 7:36. There's not a splash until 7:40. The ability to stay in the air for 4 minutes is incredible. Absolutely incredible. This guy is different, man. He is different.
Shermer's telling me, Sherm, you think it's satire?
If it is satire, it's some of the best satire I've ever seen. But sadly, I'm not sure it's satire. I think he's for real.
I think he's for real. I think now that it's going so viral, I'm sure there'll be some satire with it.
So I don't know because the one that set me off was his basketball one when he's putting up shots. And the guy's just standing there in the suit, hands him that classic blue water bottle. And then at the very end of the video, he goes and hands him a big slice of watermelon. And then it cuts. I'm like, okay, I think this guy, watermelon's insane. So I'm like, okay, this guy, he's trolling us.
I think he's been doing it for a while, and now it's just started to catch fire. So he's probably
this guy's been around for a minute.
I think it's gonna be. It's on pace to be the most viewed video on Twitter.
When
For real?
Yeah, on Saturday or yesterday when I was looking, I saw it at like 500 million views on X. 500 million.
And then they're like dropping all these other videos of people doing it. They're like the spawns are popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And those other people are more serious, like Christian McCaffrey. That guy was like being dead serious, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think some of these guys are dead ass serious.
I'm gonna release one tomorrow.
It's good to see Christian McCaffrey buy in, though. It's good to see him buy into a trend like this.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy, the one that the dude that originally went famous for it last year, Drew? He kind of stepped back up into the spotlight. He was like, "Hang on." And
Yeah.
he made a Trader Joe's run.
Well, you know
Just
how
to
he's
remind
probably
him.
seen it pop off so much bigger than the one that he had. He's like, I got to get back in this thing. Like
He was like,
not-
"I'm just trying to remain humble."
Yeah.
They got a link.
Yeah. No, that's another guy. That's
Okay.
yeah.
If all these guys linked in the
It's over.
Spider-Man meme.
Goal is to get invited to that lingo.
Yeah. JP, you got one dropping tomorrow?
Yeah, I got one dropping tomorrow. I wrote out my stuff today.
Ooh,
I mean, I
like
do
that.
this every day, but it's good to have it written down.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have the structure in place now. It's time to show the world.
Sometimes when you do something so much, you don't need to have it written down, but it's good to
Yeah.
have it written down for
Right.
this situation.
I
So
might have
it'll-
to. I was thinking about one for trash day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything with the banana peel on your face?
I will say it felt like my skin was a little softer after I did do it.
Okay.
There
Apparently,
was a
it's got
trend
these.
back in the day where you put a banana peel on your teeth and it's supposed to whiten your teeth.
I was seeing on the internet.
You
Who
take
told
the
you that
peel
one?
and you put it on there.
I didn't know if it was like this.
No, yeah, you actually have to try to ingest the entire banana. Like
Bananas
mixed it with that
apparently
Bo-Berry
got
biscuit.
they got some nutrients that help like cleanse your skin,
Yeah,
and it's apparently the
Vitamins?
big thing to keep zits off your face.
really.
Apparently, that's what they're saying.
Allegedly.
So
You
you
don't
should
see
crush.
very many black people with acne.
That is a very good point.
Black don't crack.
Dude, black guys really do have the best skin tone. They were the only ones that were focused in the locker room on their skin routine.
Yeah, I mean,
You see them after they were doing all the suds, everything. White guys go in there, get in the cold tub, and be like, "That counts."
yeah, you start to question, am I going to shower? And then by the end of the year, like all my hair is like getting honestly kind of chemically burnt off of my legs.
Still got split ends on his leg hair.
Split ends.
Then you see, I'd see Rashawn Evans. He'd have a jar of like coconut oil, and he'd just be putting that all over his
Lathering.
skin, just lathering up.
Dude, and Delaney was always a cat. After he'd get out of the sauna, he'd have like these gloves he put on his hands to bathe himself with his own like soap.
Dude, I learned about the gloves too.
The
like,
gloves are
in
crazy.
the last 3 years. I was like, y'all like gloves in the shower?
Yeah.
Wild. He'd be out there, and you just stare at Delaney in the
Here we
shower,
go.
he'd do his thing.
The AI overview. Yes, banana peels can offer some potential benefits for skin, including acting as a natural exfoliant, soothing irritation, and potentially reducing the appearance of wrinkles and dark circles.
Mm.
We got to get it to 10,000. That was my favorite. part.
Bananas, man. If you can buy stock in bananas right now, it's about to go up.
I will
crazy.
say that Ashton Cat. I mean, these folks out there are specimens.
Specimens.
Yeah.
His huddle dropped.
Bummed me out a little bit.
he's-
He's 5'5".
he's running
Is he
back.
actually 5'5"?
That's just what I'm seeing on Twitter. You know how Twitter can be.
I think he's 5'9". He played college football somewhere.
Alcorn State, I think.
Imagine him coming down the middle in an A gap,
I'd break
wide
him.
open.
Break him.
You'd get him down.
Yeah.
If anything, if you've proven history, you'd get him. That'd be a tackle. But breaking him, I don't know about that. I do not know about that. What else do we got, boy? Oh, it's time for me
Do
to.
you want to talk about it yet?
No, it's time
let's
for
see
me
what
to
else,
turn
let's
my-
see what else is on here. Jameis Winston to the New York Giants.
Yep.
I'm
2
kind
years,
of
$8 million. Could possibly get 18.
I'm kind of bummed about the Giants.
For
What
his
you
sake,
bummed
or
Yeah, for his sake. I don't
Ju-
like him going to New York. I'd rather him go to like a potential winner. You know what I mean?
Neighbors.
Right, Tennessee.
Yeah, neighbors, but bro, New York is not. You got Washington, you got the Eagles. I mean, Dallas they'll be probably competing with a little bit, but New York's gonna suck this
Yeah,
year.
but Washington, their backup's Marcus. The Eagles. Who's the Eagles' backup?
It was Kenny Pickett.
yeah, they let it. They
And if
let
you're-
him go.
If you're Jameis Winston, you want to go to a place that has some question marks at quarterback, so you have the opportunity to play.
Yeah, but the Giants.
I get you.
He just did that with the Browns.
Yeah, and he did well, ish.
I mean, yeah, but they sucked.
Still, if you can get on the field and play,
I guess.
if you can get on the field and play, keep the dream alive.
Epic snow game against the Steelers.
Epic snow game against the
NFL
Steelers.
Films game.
Aaron Rodgers went to Pittsburgh and left without a contract.
That's standard. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
I think at this point with Minnesota saying, "Hey, we're all good on that," the Steelers is the best move for Aaron Rodgers.
he'll be in the black and yellow.
He needs to be in the black and yellow.
Yeah, he will be.
Did I read this correctly? That Colorado and Syracuse are seeking permission for joint practices in a spring game.
Yes,
How do we feel? That is actually electric.
I like it.
I like it too. I
I
like
like
it
it.
as well. I think they don't play this year, right? That's
No.
awesome. That's what you want then. Get in there, practice against each other. That's a good move by Dion. That's a great move by Dion.
And who's the head coach for Syracuse? Well-known guy.
You know.
I forget his name.
I forget his name. He's not. He's new.
Came
He's
from
new, but
Georgia.
He came. I was gonna say he came from Georgia.
He's like, you're welcome down.
Coach
Fran
Brown. He just tweeted him. Deion was talking about joint practices, and Coach Brown tweeted at him saying, like, let's get it going.
That would be awesome.
I like the move. I feel like it's a way,
Yeah.
like, I get the new generation of NIL, not letting the portal, everything else, but just competing in the spring and just keeping your guys hungry. I love the move.
It'll be interesting for those players that young to be able to go into a joint practice and see how many fights take place. Because it's going to be, it is going to be tough to not start swinging on fellas during that spring practice. You know, there's not a game for years. It feels like months.
Yeah.
It's brutal. At least in the NFL, like you're in August, you're like, okay, a couple weeks from now, we're playing a real game. But to do that in the middle of the spring would be tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it though. I like that move. All right. It's the point where I put my phone.
Severance finale?
Severance
Where's my
finale.
Did you talk Severance finale?
Who wants it?
We need more mics.
How
The camera's not on that one.
camera's not on that one? Should we have Taylor get up?
You want me to get out? I'll go sit where G's at again. I'll go pee. You guys do your thing, but let's keep it on a timer.
Come on, JP. Get to the chair.
JP's pissed.
And shout out everybody in the comments saying they love the Severance talk. You guys heard me last week. All I needed was one, but many came in because everybody's tuned into the most popular show on TV.
Where do we start?
You hated it?
I didn't hate it. The episode was entertaining, but there was parts of the episode that were frustrating and that I did hate.
What's the biggest thing you hate?
So when Mark is talking to himself, I was made aware of something that pissed me off even more after the fact. It was a really cool scene, but I felt it dragged on. And then when he's trying to explain to his innie, like, that reintegration is real, why wouldn't he say, hey, you know your best friend Petey from work? He reintegrated. I met him on the outside.
It's a great point. He's kind of in the moment. You know what I mean? He's kind of scatterbrained, focusing. They're both just kind of focusing on themselves.
Yeah. And then, I don't know.
What's funny, too, on swapping back and forth where they're just going in and out, I think it'd be so funny. You're just sitting there getting frustrated with yourself. Because Mark S. was bringing up some points like, my man, I'm a person, too.
Yeah, but for like 2 months.
Any Mark.
Barely a person.
I'm with you. It's kind of like, but you can't talk to him that way.
For sure.
You can't like, hey, bro, we're the same guy. Like, you're going to be so happy because we're together. But in Innie's mind, he doesn't have to leave. Like, why do I have to trust you?
We saw the power of the P on full display.
Yeah.
Horniness won.
Bro, that's what made me most sad is when
very end?
when he goes to Helly. Jack,
But
you
it's-
think
but
it's Helena.
I'm
with Jack.
99% sure that is not Helly, just because they had made the point to have their goodbye in the office, and they're like, I'll see you at the equator. And then all of a sudden, the one look that Helly or Helena gives is like, that's not the look Helly would normally give. It's that real devious
Right.
kind of like, I'm up to something. And so why would they say their goodbyes only for her to show up right at the very end and then run off? And also me and Coop were talking about this when Milkshake comes up and he's talking with Kier, like that creepy wax figure. Like, that wasn't just some recorded audio. Coop makes the point that he thinks the consciousness of Kier Egan is still alive.
100%.
And so, but I think that they're going to take Helena and make her the CEO. And like, the board has existed always as like the consciousness of the proprietors, like where you saw in season 1 when they get to go to the perpetuity wing.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And to Jack's point with Helly and Helena, she was, oh crap, what was I? I was reading this. No, I'm losing it.
So there's no part of us that thinks Helena wants this thing to fail?
I don't think so, because I mean, every time they've shown Helena like outside, she's very heavy on Lumen. Like, there's nothing that they've shown from Helena's perspective that she is like doesn't enjoy. Yeah, questioning.
Well, she's kind of weirded out when her dad is sitting there when she's eating the raw egg.
But remember,
We should take them raw.
But Helly, when Helly and Mark are having their conversation about like the equator and everything, she's like, hey, we're going to die down here. They're going to kill us off. Once they're done with us, there's no need for us. So why would Helly show back up at that end scene if she believes we're going to die down here anyways. What's the point?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because part of me too, after when I was talking with Charo, I was like, they had that moment by the computer. Helly, why wouldn't she just say, no, you have to go?
Right.
Like, hey, equator, like you were saying earlier.
And she gave that huge speech to the marching band where she's like,
Yeah.
some of you have lost people, like, you don't want to be next. And then all of a sudden it ends with her being like, we're going to stay down here. Also, does the marching band exist in Lumen? Are they hired to come down? Or is that their sole purpose and they've just been living this life? No, like, just
Right.
being a marching band.
The marching
Yeah.
band scene was iconic.
And the Sirius, the Bulls theme song, when they played that for Milkshake to come out, my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on at this point? It was such a stressful episode the whole time.
So
You're just
stressful.
like, what is going to happen next? And I want to know if Milkshake's going to end up turning.
He has to turn.
I think he turns.
The reason he has to turn is because I don't know how you make 10 more episodes off of how they left it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another part that bothered me.
Is-
that ending.
is
I'm
the
like,
way-
I just can't picture them being able to do a whole 10 more episodes.
yeah.
I feel
that
like
I'm
they
fully
have
bought
a
in
lot
on.
to run with now because they could do a whole Gemma storyline where I think Coop was saying it, where is it going to be flipped where now Gemma was always the main character and they're going to show her trying to rescue Mark.
Right.
Is Helena now, maybe she goes away from Lumen, but she's fallen in love with Mark S. and she wants to take him because she found Mark in the real world after she had slept with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if they're going to want, like, there's so many like different ways they could go about it, but I did see in an interview, people were really upset that Gemma thinks that was Mark, not Mark S, but
Right.
her actress confirms that she knows that is Mark's innie and not her husband when she's left at that door.
I loved how they were getting severed in and out, like all the
Yeah,
moments they
and
were
then all of a
having.
sudden Miss Casey's back and they're
Yeah.
like, dude, that death too with what's his name?
Bro,
Drummond.
Drummond.
And then all of a
Thank
sudden it
God.
just, and he's
I know, because I'm like, how is he going to wiggle through this?
Yeah.
And then the gun goes off. But also, how about Brianna Tarth just beating his
beating
ass?
ass.
And
Just for
after
the
she
goats.
took some licks too,
Yeah.
like putting them up
Yeah,
on the wall.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude. But I guess also even going into the next season. So what? Mark leaves Lumen, goes out into his Audi life and sees Gemma and is like, "Oh, hey, you're alive."
Yeah.
Why would
Right,
he? Why
yeah,
would he
no.
go back down?
There's no way they let him leave now
Right.
because of that point. He's in there.
And then they're just gonna
He's
drive me
there.
insane.
What if they? This is a crazy one I just thought of. I'll ask it in a second. But what do we think about Milchek? Do we still think he'll turn at some point, or is he confirmed op?
I think he was moved by Helly's speech too.
Yeah. He's just, there's bits
He's
and
in
pieces
bad-
that
he
keep
gets
coming.
put in bad spots.
He does, and he stays true to his profession. But even with the Egan, the way he was talking to him in the speech, and he kind of stayed heady about it, like a claymation. You're 5 inches shorter, and you hear the other consciousness laughing in the background.
Yeah,
But I think he eventually turns.
He has to.
he has to.
He's right there. The way he gets treated, it's just too. Yeah, I think it'll happen,
If he doesn't turn in the first 2 episodes of the 3rd season, I'm not watching.
bro. You can't do that.
I will boycott. We need to go to Lumen. I'll stay out there with a sign because it's a real place.
Free Milchek.
And that's what people don't understand, man. Like, this is going on.
This is
Hey.
actually happening. You guys
Well,
are sleeping at.
You did
at
show
the
me
wheel.
a clip earlier today of Adam Scott in Parks.
Yeah, Parks and Rec explaining the separating work from home.
That's crazy.
You know, just Lumen and Severance, they've been playing just 8D chess since 2014, dropping Easter eggs.
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time.
It'll come out sooner.
Yeah, they did say it'll come out sooner if they're granted a 3rd episode, but they're granted a 3rd episode.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to get into the Dale Earnhardt Jr. episode. This is a long, awesome, fun interview. We break down a lot of stuff within the racing world. And Dale Jr., his love for college football 25 and his video game crew and his friends. Like, we break everything down. This is a really fun episode. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, bwtb.com. Go sign up. Our merch drops this Thursday. And crack open a cold Bud Light. Thank you for tuning in. Big hugs, tiny kisses. We interrupt this episode to bring you TikTok. What does a mechanic an auto shop owner in Georgia, a taco restaurant operator in Arizona, and a life-saving medical innovator in Tennessee all have in common. They're all small business owners, and they're all thriving on TikTok. Across the U.S., over 7.5 million businesses, from family-owned shops to entrepreneurs, are using TikTok to compete and grow. In fact, 74% of businesses on TikTok say TikTok has allowed them to scale their operations, increasing sales and expanding to new locations. And that growth means jobs. Today, there are over 7.5 million U.S. businesses on TikTok, employing more than 28 million people, and that number keeps growing every day. Small businesses thrive on TikTok. Learn more about TikTok's contribution to the U.S. economy at TikTokeconomicimpact.com. Back to this episode.
Well, that's good, man. Bud Light.
Boys, we have Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the bus. This interview is brought to us by the one and only Bud Light. We have some cold ones here. We're cracking them open with the boys. And I'll tell you what, it feels special just cracking a cold one with Dale Jr.
Cheers,
Let's go bring it in
fellas.
here.
Cheers.
Enjoyment made easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is always brewed with 4 simple ingredients for a clean, crisp taste. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the boys, the NFL Draft, Tight End University, and the boy George Kittle, UFC, Shane Gillis's, shout out the boy Shane Gillis's 2025 tour, and other partners also include Peyton Manning, George Kittle, Baker Mayfield, Emmitt Smith, Shane Gilly, Post Malone, and Dustin Poirier. Fellas,
Yeah.
we're here. We are here.
We did it. We just did the reveal of the bus. The bus looks fantastic. Little backstory on that. It was obviously wrapped before. And then we had some guys come in, shout out Wick Customs. They came in and they were kind of giving us like, hey, this 50-50. When we start to take this thing off, it could just ruin the entire paint.
Yeah.
So seeing it for the first time, it's pretty pristine.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the 8 out there's got a little wear and tear.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But I
Character.
kind of like it.
Yeah.
A little
Character.
character. It's nice, man.
Yeah, bus looks great. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited about y'all's new partnership with Bud Light. I've worked with Anheuser-Busch for years. Still got a relationship with them here. The diecast car, and
You're Bud heavy though, yeah?
So we call them blue coats,
Respect.
red coats,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue coats, red
blue
coats.
coats and red coats. But the Bud heavy, yeah. So, but I enjoy plenty of Bud Lights in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And so it's cool you guys got that relationship. So glad that that's kind of what has allowed you to kind of get back to your identity and bring the bus back and all that. So
yeah,
cool.
man. And thanks for coming out too. Like, yeah, I was telling when you were over here taking a Tuesday, he came in and he had all these gifts. I'm like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
like the best guest. Like you're flying in for the boys.
Yeah.
You're coming with gifts.
Very rarely do guests come and they bring gifts.
Yeah.
It's usually us giving out stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I was like really running over here, take my little afternoon Tuesday, and you were like pulling up, and he had like multiple helmets in your hand, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he's bringing some cool stuff. I didn't think it was gonna be for us.
Yeah, I
But you
brought,
brought these
The helmets
koozie-
weren't.
The helmets weren't, but I got these this dope koozie. You
Yep.
said your dad made these?
so I remade my dad's koozie from 1981, and back in 81, that was a koozie, like the foam boat float in the water kind of thing, thick. Yeah. So I had a company remake those for me because I just love the nostalgia and all things Earnhardt from back in the day, and I brought you some more modern, the Bud 8 koozies that we had
dude,
made.
I love
We
these.
drove,
It is
yeah, so
badass, man.
just some gifts, some drink, some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder when, because we were talking before this started, Jack McPherson had a nice little tweet about the 2004 Bud Light can. Like, when are we going to bring these back? We need to talk to Bud Light about what does Bussin' with the Boys have to do to bring back a vintage can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just in general, like I feel like the 80s and 90s, that vintage type of style needs to make a comeback in some way. We might be the podcast, and you might be the individual as well to help us get that done.
Yeah, I think it's recognizable. All the logos, they kind of change and evolve over time. Some people come in and put a new modern take on
Yeah.
Bud Light or something like that, but it is kind of cool. Those cans can become collectors, you know. Bud Light always does this annually where they'll where I live, they do Panthers cans, Carolina Panthers cans, so it's all black with the Panthers and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
they did that for Washington one year. I still got like a case of Washington cans, right, that I'll never
Yeah.
drink. And so it's kind of cool all the things that they do, but it would be cool to throw back.
Or bring the frogs
the Bud
back.
label.
Bring the frogs back, bring the OGs
Yeah.
back. Like, I feel like if you did a callback on a couple of those commercials, people would
Yeah.
just stand and applaud in their living room.
Yeah.
So
They'd
back,
pause it and be like, let's just get a round of applause for
dude.
that. real
So
quick.
back when I was working with Bud, hardcore was 2000 all the way up until 08.
And I was at the National Sales Convention every year where they would unveil the commercials before anyone else got to see them. And Bud and Bud Light specifically had the best Super Bowl commercials. You know, you mentioned the frogs and the lizards, the was I guys.
Yeah.
I mean, every year we would go to these national sales conventions. There would be probably 50 celebrities. Everybody they were working with was there, singers, bull riders, actors, and we all sat in the same spot. There would be 5,000 people in this room, like bottlers and retailers and all their people, all the Bud people, for all of their brands. And we all sat down and we're like, can't wait to the commercial part, right? We're going to watch all the commercials, and they were great because they were really, you know, it's funny as shit. Some of the best commercials. Remember the Bud Bowl? The football bottles out there playing during the Super Bowl?
Yes.
They had like the Bud Bowl. Like as a kid, that was cool as shit.
The
I know.
Clydesdales.
I wasn't even old enough to drink beer.
Clydesdales ripping. There was one they did for the Super Bowl that was like a bunch of horses playing football.
Yeah.
And then, and then one of the guys, one of the Cowboys out there was like, that ref's an ass. He's like, nope, I believe it's a zebra. And I thought that, what a
Dude,
commercial.
I'm a teenager watching the Bud Bowl, and I'm watching the Super Bowl, and I'm like, I can't wait till the fucking Bud Bowl comes back. I want to see if Bud Light wins. You know, you're like legit, like bought in to this damn thing that's just a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
But
dude, it's so when you first start, when you get into NASCAR for the first time, everyone obviously has their presenting sponsor. Yours was Budweiser. Was that like pretty clear cut, easy to get done?
Yeah.
Or were other people trying to get you before?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't involved. I was so young, and my dad was doing the wheeling and dealing in the background. And he, the Bud deal that we did that at that time in 2000 was $10 million a year. It was the biggest deal that anybody had. They were coming from Hendrick Motorsports, where they had been for quite a while. And so that was pretty unique because Hendrick Motorsports, as I would drive for them down the road, they're a real well-respected company. And so to kind of pull a brand like Bud from them that Bud was taking a chance on me to be good. And so it was really cool. I remember August Bush rides into our shop on with the Clydesdales and the dog on top of the Bud, you know, the big wagon. And the stagecoach, whatever that thing was, and they roll into our shop, and he comes down, hops down. August Bush, the guy that owns the company, shaking my hand, and man, I remember going to the brewery or the business downtown in St. Louis and walking through there, and just being amazed to be connected to such a massive, iconic brand back then.
Did you ever get to influence like a decision with them sponsoring you?
Well,
like anything creatively?
No, not really.
With the car?
No. So
hey, bring the vintage cans back.
No, the one thing. So they were funny because there's some healthy competition between Bud Light and Budweiser and all their other brands. Like they compete inside the business, and kind of like teammates, racing teammates competing against each other, but it's healthy. Right, raises everybody up, and you don't want to get beat by your teammate. You want to be the best teammate, right? And so there's a little healthy competition inside the business with Bud Light and Budweiser. And so I went to them one time. I didn't know about that. I went to them one time. I said, you know, it'd be cool. I was like, what if I drove a Bud Light car one race? I always drive the Bud car every week. What if I did a Bud Light car? I think that'd be cool. And they're like, hell no, you're never running a Bud Light car. They're like,
shut it down immediately.
Yeah, they were like, no.
That does sound crazy.
Yeah.
I think of it as just like Bud Heaven's
They're
just
all
like the big
together,
bro.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
I think, we met with them in New Orleans during the Super Bowl, and I think I said something about Budweiser and Bud Light to one of the guys, and they kind of looked at me like, we're not going to do that.
No.
And I was like, yeah, for sure.
Okay,
And the other thing I learned from them that was really I've hung on to this. I don't know, right or wrong. I thought this was, hey, they're successful, so I'm gonna believe in this idea. Is they rarely wanted to change the car, the way the car looked. They loved the continuity, and that you could look out in the field from the grandstands and immediately see that car, and it looked the same all the time. And they love that continuity of the car being the same. Whereas today, you know, there's different sponsors, your favorite driver's driving a different looking car every week, and it's tough to sort of follow along, and there's no equity built up in a look of a car, right? But man, when I drove Budweiser, like you can show fans this car and they're like right away that triggers their nostalgia and they're like, oh man, that was my car. Because I ran that car and it looked like that for 5, 6, 7 years and we never changed it. They just, we would bring them all kinds of ideas and we did some one-off stuff with baseball and other people here, you know, they had an all-star car and they did some music stuff with different bands. But for the most part, like they didn't want to change the look of the car too much. I adhered, like I kind of like believe in that idea of building equity and continuity in a brand that in the way it looks. Like I don't mind modernizing a logo, but it's got to still look like the original.
Yeah, it's got to have some tie.
Right, yeah.
Well, just like you're saying, like if a casual fan goes and watches a NASCAR race and they're able to point out a vehicle that they've seen before, that's like on them feel like they're more a part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know. They feel like they know a little bit more about the race now, everything. But if you're changing colors, like when we were at your shop,
Yeah.
it seemed like you guys had a different
Lots of
paint
stuff.
scheme
That's
for
the way
everything.
modern NASCAR today, everybody runs a different looking car because you need so many partners, so many sponsors. You can't have like one sponsor that can fund the entire season. So we have to run a different sponsor almost every other week. But like if you look back in the history, everybody remembers the Black 3 car. Dad had the same sponsor for many years. Jeff Gordon in the Rainbow 24. You remember those cars because they were in that same car every week, every year for multiple years, and they built equity and value in that. You know, they still lean into that today. So we do too. Like I ran this car, this little late model stock car. I ran it at a place called Florence, South Carolina last November. And man, we unveiled the idea that we were going to do this and people went ape shit and just bought right into it. Right. And all the people started, everybody on social media sharing stories about their experiences of watching, the cup version of that car back in the 2000s run and where they watched it race. And it was really a great experience.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like in your racing days, where you might have finished like 12th or middle of the pack and it felt like a big win?
Oh yeah. So there's this one race I always talk about. So it's always great to celebrate the wins, obviously, but I'm sure y'all had games where maybe the overall outcome wasn't what you were looking for, but you had there's moments, right? Maybe it was a sack or an interception or something like that, or you just had a great game that nobody's gonna remember but you. There was a race at Martinsville, North Carolina, or Martinsville, Virginia, probably 2004, 2005. We start the race, big crash in turn one. I'm in it and tear the right front off of my car and damage the back of the car. There it is right there on the screen. So by the time we got the car kind of repaired and able to get back on the track, that's what it looked like. I'm out there getting ready. It's like 5 laps into the race. It's a 500 lap race at this tiny little bull ring. And I get back out there and I'm like, God dang, this is going to be a long day. My car's wrecked. It's not going to be competitive. I'm going to be in the freaking way all day. This is going to suck. We get to running along there. Nothing's really happening. But as the laps start clicking off, start passing a few cars, start going by a few more guys. My car's feeling good. Guys are getting worse. And I'm just starting to move. I drive through the field all the way up into the top 10. I'm like, shit, we're good. This car's great. And I drive up into the top 10. I spin myself out right here underneath the 12 car. Have to go right to the back of the field again, drive right back to the front. Ended up finishing like 4th or 5th in the race. I'm in the photo as we're coming off turn 4, battling for the win. I'm there, right? And I just always, somebody made me a custom die cast of that car. It's like the size of this thing that I have in my collection. I got a little modest collection of custom shit. And so somebody made me one of those. And I'm like, this is like my favorite race I didn't win because of all the shit that went wrong and how bad it should have been. But we just didn't stop trying. And the car actually was badass. So the fact that the fender's missing, it kept the right front tire cool and allowed the tire to really outperform everyone else who had a tire that had a big fender on it that was in there getting cooked by the brakes and the engine and everything else. And so the fact that my car's out in the wind actually was an advantage over the long course of the day. And that's why the car, I think, actually ended up being really more competitive than it should have been.
But there's obviously rules and regulations of like how cars are supposed to be set up and all that. But did you ever think I wonder if there's a way like a tearaway, kind of like the pants.
we talked
like,
about
Right,
Like,
like,
to where you can
I
clip
joke-
it
yeah.
if it's like a
I
disadvantage.
Yeah,
joked-
maybe just like hit the
yeah.
wall real quick and
Oh,
it just
yeah.
kind of clips
Like how
off. You're
you
like,
wear-
all right, babe, boys, it happens.
Like
That's
the
the cost of doing
pads, with
business.
the pads, you take out certain parts of your
Yeah.
shoulder pads to
To
be a
Michael
lighter.
Bennett used to do that.
Yeah.
He took out
Lighter
that last
around,
little
yeah.
pad.
Yeah.
There's an advantage if you lose the tailpiece of the car. NASCAR won't let you run that. NASCAR makes you come down pit road and reinstall the tail if the whole tail comes off. So the back bumper, if that back bumper being on there creates a lot of drag underneath it, air comes from under the car and gets into the back bumper. So if that were to come off, that's kind of an advantage in some scenarios. And so NASCAR makes you reinstall that. But after this happened, I joked with my teams for the rest of my career, like, hey, when we go back to Martinsville, if the front fender falls off, it's okay. Like, don't, if there's a reason
Give him that
why
Tom Brady nudge, like, hey, the
Right.
footballs are actually better
Yeah.
when they're deflated. Not telling you what to do,
Yes.
but if we could have a little less
Yeah.
air there, I wouldn't be mad.
Why is Dale driving into the wall? There's
Turn
a process.
one, like, that's acting a little weird, huh?
yeah.
Just so when you went back there, you're kind of hoping.
No, I just knew. And there was a picture of a guy named Harry Gant, and he won that race in 1981 at Martinsville, and he had damage on the right front. The right front tire's exposed. He won that race again in 1991 with the right front fender completely gone. Same guy. And then probably a handful of years ago, I think Martin Truex Jr. or somebody else ran really well with a lot of damage in the right front tire, the right front tire, I think, exposed. And so, I mean, it's kind of common knowledge now, but you can't build a car to where the shit will just fall off for you.
They'll catch you.
Yeah, it would be tough to do that.
When you have success the way you do there, like, I don't know about you, but like in the football world, like a lot of guys are superstitious. Some guys lay their stuff out.
Yeah.
They listen to certain music and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Did you have like a game day ritual that you would hit every single week? Or you just woke up, pissed excellence, and got after it?
My superstitions were all the general, traditional, common knowledge superstitions, like walking under ladders, breaking mirrors, the number 13. In racing, people used to say the color green. That was like a widely hard adhered to superstition. The color green was bad luck. Now, that didn't make any sense to me because there were green race cars. Money is green. There's green, there was moments where green didn't seem to bother my luck, right? And so I didn't really buy into that. Peanuts, for some reason, peanuts around a race car, there's people that are old heads kind of believe peanuts is bad.
Okay.
Like just having peanuts around.
Yeah, don't eat peanuts
Somebody's eating
around
them,
my
they're like,
car.
hey, what the
Get
fuck
away
are
from
you
my
doing?
car.
Doesn't matter if they're shelled or unshelled,
No,
or just
it
peanuts in
doesn't
general.
matter. So,
These are pistachios.
Yeah. Oh, he's good. Let him go.
But that's a bit of an older wise tale. But man, I was one that kind of believed in the traditional stuff and like, So
What's the weirdest superstition you've ever seen from a different driver?
I think the ones you hear about, I don't even, they're even hard to believe, is like race car drivers wearing the same pair of underwear every race.
Good.
Like they got a specific pair of underwear that they have to wear that day.
Yeah.
I don't, I've heard some kind of strange stuff like that, but nothing too crazy, to be honest with you. I was more worried about like, don't eat anything that's gonna fuck your stomach up, or like eat.
Have you ever gotten the bubbles, like a bubble gut, like
Yes.
while
Bubble
you're
guts.
racing?
Yes.
Bubble guts?
Yeah.
Yeah, bubbly
Yeah.
gut,
You just gotta
buble.
hold those cheeks tight in there, huh?
It's so tough.
So you've had it when you're out there racing?
I
Do you
mean,
shit yourself?
No, I never shit my pants.
I mean,
Have you
when you-
pissed yourself?
Oh yeah, lots
Hell
of
yeah,
times,
brother. Hell yes.
So on the hot days,
If you got bubble guts, bro, there's no, I mean, you could hold it in, but it's gonna, you have a slight release, like, let me try to get some air out. But you're like, there's no room for air
But I think for like the normal population of people, like you're very aggressive with getting the air out of your butt. Like you'll take a chance that most people. I remember being in the airport with you and being like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I just shit myself. Like, I feel like you kind of don't possess the quality of thinking like, oh, poop might come out here.
there is an art.
Yeah, I push the boundary.
There's an art to
Always
getting.
finding the limit.
There's an art to getting the gas around the poop
Yeah.
and getting that out.
I
Please
agree, but when you got
expand.
bubble guts, it's kind of,
Well, no. So like the shit's coming. You're gonna shit, right? But if you can get the air around the shit, that buys you a little time.
Yeah, that's inventory.
That takes the pressure down.
the
just
ship's
for,
going down. You got to get some
Yep.
weight off to
Yes.
slow the ship from
That
like the
buys
air-
you about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
the air
every
coming
fart.
out and wrapping around the turd almost kind of pushes it back up a little
It
bit.
just
Yeah.
takes the pressure down.
That's basic science,
Yes.
is what you guys
Yeah.
are talking
Yes.
about right
Yeah.
now. That's hydraulics.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
just pushing the thing back.
So if you're, I was pretty good at just, making, I could fart. If I needed to shit, I could probably, I can relieve the pressure without shitting my pants. And so I never shit my pants.
Okay.
Thus,
But with bubble guts,
I'll
you
never
were able
shit
to hold
my
it
pants.
yeah. I mean, the problem is though, this is funny. We're talking about this, but my problem is that when whatever the moment is, right? Whether you're in a race or you're driving home and you're like, holy shit, I got to get to the fucking toilet.
It's coming.
Your body knows when you're near that toilet.
Isn't that crazy?
Because like you're like, all right, I made it into the driveway. I'm going to be fine. And then as soon as you get near the front door, it's like, fuck no, we got to go now.
Got to sprint.
It's like the time is now.
Yeah.
And you fortunately just get your pants down right in time, like as you just start going into
There's
the toilet.
now a couple of those situations where you're literally flying by the
Yeah.
seat of your pants, where you're like unbuckling and kind of like doing
Yeah.
this hip maneuver
Yeah.
to jump onto that toilet just in
Yeah.
time. Is you're hitting toilet at the same time things are coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a wild deal.
Your body knows. It's like, hey man, you're not fooling me. You're near a toilet.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
happening. I got to go.
But pissing yourself, that's status
So
quo.
this is the thing with pissing yourself.
Can I? So yeah, I basically I want you to explain this, but then I
Yeah.
also want to know probably on a percentage on a race how many
To
of
be
those drivers
clear-
have wet pants.
To be clear, we're not shitting ourselves regularly.
Yeah,
But we
However,
do pee on ourselves sometimes. This happened to me probably a half a dozen times in my career. So the inside of a race car is a good day, 120 degrees, 125, 130. On a bad day, 150 degrees, super hot. So when you know beforehand, like on a Thursday or Friday, you're like, it's fuck man, Sunday race day, it's going to be 95 degrees. It's going to be so miserable inside the car. And so you start thinking about that and you start hydrating, right? You're trying to do a little extra hydrating. You get up in the morning, you're drinking water and everything. And there's a lot of things that are happening right before you get into the car, driver's intro and a couple other things, handshaking and gripping and grinning photos that are they're roadblocks to pissing. Like you can't get to the John. And so you don't get to use the bathroom and make sure you're good to go before you get in the car. So you hop in the car, you buckle up, start your engines, you're you're committed, right? You're going to drive this thing off pit road and start this race. Then you're like, shit, I got to pee. And I got a 3.5 hour drive in this car. I got to piss. You can't focus if you're holding a pee. You can't. Like you're miserable. Caution comes out. You're like, shit, sometimes when you're driving in the race, green flag, there's enough focus that it can take your mind off of it. But caution comes out. You're like, fuck it, I'm just going to piss. And so
It's kind of hard to piss yourself.
You
too.
over-
Like,
it
you're
is.
trying to like
Yeah.
relieve yourself.
it's like doing it in
thinking
front of
about it.
somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
you have to be fully relaxed
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Like the minute you try to flex
But
or
golly,
you're
man.
hitting a turn, you got to strain a little bit. Like it closes it back
You have
up
to
on
do
you.
it under caution. I don't think I've ever been able to piss driving in green flag conditions because you're focusing so much and thinking about driving the car, But there's the times that it's happened, you just can't you're not going to get to the finish. You're going to piss yourself. It's going to happen. You got to accept the situation you're in. It's not a big deal because you're sweating your ass off. It's miserable in there anyways. It's it's already gross.
Yeah.
And so when you go, the only problem is so you get done, and I always had white suits, right? And so I'm like, so I'm thinking like, I got this white suit. I'm like, shit's gonna be obvious, right? When I get out, people are gonna look at me and go, damn, he fucking pisses himself. Like it's gonna be obvious.
Like
and,
water boy sheets
Yes.
over there hanging on the
and
side.
so what I would do is
Good
I would say if I had pissed myself, I figured it out. I got I'd say, hey, bring me an orange Gatorade when I get done here. When I pull up, when I'm done, I pull up onto the pit road and I'm gonna get out. Like, bring me an orange Gatorade, and I would pour that orange Gatorade all over to like blend it in so you couldn't see.
Yo, that is some dehydrated piss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it changes the color of your clothes.
Yeah.
And so I'm just I don't want people to go, look, dude, pissed
Got
him.
him.
And so
Dale pissed himself.
So I would kind of blend it in, and then I would get out of the car, and then you have to tell the interior guy. There's a guy that's responsible for the interior of the car. That's his job. He works on that part of the car all week long, and he's got to clean up the interior, and then he's got to get it ready for the next race. And so that's his role, and he's your buddy because he knows everything about what's going on inside that car with you. And he knows everything you touch, and you and him talk all the time about, let's move this knob, I can't reach it, or let's put this over here, that'll be more comfortable, and hey man, I need to change my seat, it just don't feel right. And so you and him or close, good buddies, texting pals, right? And you got to tell him, man, hey man, I pissed the fucking seat. You know, you're gonna Monday morning. I'm sorry. You're gonna take this seat out and it's gonna fucking smell. I'm sorry. You know what? You can't. I mean, you feel bad. You kind of want to go and help him get this seat out. Sometimes that's not possible. But he has to pull there's an insert. The seat has a foam insert that's made perfectly for you. So he just has to pull that out and then, steam it down or hose it or pressure wash it or whatever.
Hang it up. On a clothesline.
But that's tough telling a guy, look, you gotta put up with this shit. Right?
Yeah. Have you ever puked yourself?
Never.
While driving?
No.
I know.
Like you got the helmet on, you're just like, I'm not feeling right.
Yeah.
You just start puking down your.
So there's some guys.
Would be actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
I know some guys that have done that, and I can't imagine being so miserable that you got a full face helmet on. Right, and you may be comprised. When you got to puke, a lot of these guys are puking during the race while they're battling, right, running in 8th place, and all of a sudden I had this one guy that was driving my car, and he's racing along, and we're having a good day. He's running like 7th or 8th, and it's coming down to the end, and he just kind of goes high and loses a couple spots, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? He was throwing up. He just got sick, and he's like pushes his helmet up just a little bit, and he's like throwing up all over himself, and it was like shredded chicken, whatever he'd ate
some Chipotle,
something that just was bad news, and it just was everywhere. When he pulls in after the race, it's just everywhere. It's one of them things, when your kid throws up, it just goes everywhere.
Yeah,
and you're like, you're the one that has to clean it up. You're looking in there, and you're like, God dang, man, that's just it's everywhere. You don't touch anything because it's all over the place. But so. That luckily never happened to me because I was specifically like my morning meal. I usually wasn't a breakfast guy. So my meal before a race was bread and like ham and mustard and like just as basic as I wasn't
just
gonna
a ham sandwich.
Yeah,
and
you ain't gonna grill me a piece of
Sounds
chicken.
Like you get them separate.
I know.
Yeah.
Bread.
There's bread, ham, and then I'll have the mustard on the side.
But I
for
wasn't
dipping.
gonna do like a grilled chicken. I wasn't gonna risk eating something that was not cooked properly or just even though it was like highly unlikely you were gonna have a problem. I just wouldn't risk it. So I ate something very basic. And just get the foundation in there, and then go to work.
You gotta think too, like just like rookies being super nervous about their first NASCAR race.
Yeah,
like you're kind of getting in, the elements are kind of getting to you. You just start to get a little dizzy. You're like, yo, I gotta puke.
Yeah,
it's like guys puke before games.
I know guys that Noah Gragson drove for us, and he's in the Cup Series now. He had a situation or an issue where I think he was holding his breath a lot at the end of these races, and so. If you how like if you guys maybe like went a little bit too hard in a sprint or something and you get done and you like your body like sort of has this sort of moment where it's like you fucking overdid it, and you get a little sick maybe. He would hold his breath, I think, late in these races, and he would win these. He would win a race, get out, and you get the other thing too. I wonder if this has happened to y'all guys in football, but there's Noah. He's a wild one. So.
Oh, nice hair.
We'll go and zoom in on him real quick. This guy's got
he's a wild man.
He's got an attitude about him.
He does. He's like a modern day Tim Richmond.
He's got that Paul Swan with the zip down.
Yeah.
Paul Swan.
Yeah. He's great. In a sport that succeeds on personality, he brings a ton.
Yeah.
So he would get out of the car, and I think he held his breath a little bit in the last few laps after trying to win these races. And then he would get out and expel all of this energy over being excited. And then it would hit him, and he would just bend over and throw up right on the front straightaway, holding the checkered flag. He's like, yeah, look, there he is. That's after winning a truck race at Martinsville. He's throwing up on the track.
How do you get to where you're holding your breath at the end of the race? Like you're just so focused, so you're just like not breathing?
Yeah, I think that because when you go into the corner, you sort of when you go into a turn, you like flex every bone, every muscle in your body. Like you're pushing against the seat, you're pushing against the steering wheel. Like if the steering wheel was made of aluminum, man, you would just probably twist that thing right off the steering shaft. And so like every time you go into the corner, your legs are going against the leg braces, and every muscle is just flexed all the way, and you know how like guys, if you ever go up in with the Blue Angels or any of those guys, they have those grunting practices when they get into the G's.
Fighting G's, yeah.
You do that too, not because of the same reason they do, but you go in the corner just driving this car. And so like you don't breathe for a minute, like for a brief 15 seconds, right? And then you might breathe down a straightaway. Then this corner comes again and you hold your breath. And I think that he was probably doing that to an excess. And then he gets out, wins the race, gets out and goes, yeah, and just expels all of this excitement. And then he goes, bleh, he just gets sick. I mean, I wondered, like, if, say, take yourself to, like, a moment in a game where you're playing hard, you're using all of your energy, right? You're pushing yourself almost to that limit. You know where that limit is, where you can ride all day, and you're right there. And then you have a great play that you expelled a little more to get that play to happen, right? And you're like, fucking, I went a little hard there. And then you maybe celebrate, and there's this sort of, your body sort of says, fucking calm down, man. You're about to throw up.
Yeah.
Or have you ever had that happen?
I've never had it, but I know guys do throw up. Like, I mean, when you're exerting all that energy anyway, it's like even with workouts, guys would be puking after like GPP or something when you're doing like work capacity stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, I only threw up. I don't remember ever throwing up in a game. I know what you're talking about though, with like the exertion of energy.
Yeah.
For me, it always came like long drives and you think you score. And then you're getting hyped with the boys, you're celebrating, and then there's a flag, or they actually call it back, and you have to do another play, and you're like, oh,
yes.
because your body has a sense of being like, okay, it's over.
I've
like,
expelled.
You can rest right now, because you know you have a break coming up.
That's perfect.
And then it's like, oh no, you got to go one or two more plays.
That's perfect.
But I've never ran into a situation where I threw up. We played a game in London, and I think it was 2016 against the Chargers, and my left guard got hurt, and then Corey Levin, shout out the boy who just actually re-signed, he didn't think he was playing. So he's having pints in London with the boys. Like he's enjoying London a little bit. And I remember like right when he got in the game, we had like an 8, 9, 10 play drive, and we're in the middle of the field, and we're in the huddle kind of waiting. I think it was like a TV timeout or an injury timeout, something like that. And he just starts puking. I'm starting rubbing his back like, hey, you're gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay.
God. Yeah.
But there's nothing worse than, I can't imagine the feeling of being in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
And
I'm
throwing
not
up.
yakking.
I'm not a puker.
I had one situation.
I can get shit hammered drunk, and
Yeah.
I feel like I want to throw up, and I know that I will feel better if I do. I had a stomach bug last week, and I'm laying on the couch like, God, if I could just throw up, but I ain't got it. I'm not like that.
You don't ever get down
I'm
all
easy
fours and
on
gag
the
yourself?
trigger.
I can't do it.
We had some bad oysters in New Orleans.
God.
And it was like I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking the same thought you are on the couch. Like, man, I just got to throw up. And I'll just sit there and gag myself until I throw up.
See, even trying that, I've tried to do that back in the day. I just can't. It's got to come out the other end for me.
Yeah. I mean, you go.
So you've never puked?
Not many times. Like I did get real fucked up one time, and I remember the last time I threw up.
Puke and rally, Dale.
Yeah, I remember the last time I puked drunk. Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drinking always gets me. When we do beer Olympics,
I do
like,
shots.
I can hold myself for a while.
I can't do
but
shots.
once I know like the game's over,
I'll even
throwing
tell,
up.
like I'll go on a trip with some buddies, and I'll tell them like in a text message before we leave, I'm like, don't even fucking talk about shots. We're not doing. I drink beer all day. I know my thing. I got a damn plan, right?
Yeah.
I know my pace.
Yeah.
I know my
especially when
pace.
you get up there when you're getting older,
Don't
the
be
pace
giving
matters.
Don't throw a shot into the middle of the day or 8:00 at night after we've been going for 8 hours. Don't be throwing a shot in there because that ruins it.
Yeah.
That's Taylor.
But when you've been going for
That's
8
you.
hours,
Yeah.
I am a villainous friend to have when you're out.
Yeah.
Because I'll start to get a little cooked up, and then when I put the on switch on, I want to go.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go alone. It's not fun to go alone. You want to bring your boys with you. So I'm definitely the guy that's like,
I will
always buying shots. I'll buy like, hey, let me get 20 of them. And then I'll just start dishing them out.
Yeah.
And I'll go to Will, you take it. And I know Will is big on like, I got you, buddy. And then 1, 2, 3, or he'll like sit in the corner.
Yeah.
So I got to stay on. I got to stay on Will.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
And I can see somebody's
yeah.
somebody's getting a freaking shot. They're getting shots. Fuck.
You got that
I'll
6 second
chug my
spidey
beer
sense.
so I can spit the shot in the beer. That's
Smart.
my plan.
That
I'd
is a
rather
smart
chug a full beer than to take that shot. But usually, like, there's a couple sips left in the beer, and I'm like, I'll see it coming. I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to take this shot.
Yeah. Put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
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 Dude, the drinking thing. 8 hours into boozing with the boys though, and shots get brought up. It's kind of it always sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but it
always sounds
often
I mean, if you're
ends
drunk,
it.
there's really you're not really in the mindset of saying no anymore.
Yeah, real maturity is realizing like around 11 p.m. you stop drinking.
Yeah.
Like you're like, let me try to. That's when your brain starts to be like, hey, there is a tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're lucky
let's
enough, there's
slow it
gonna be a
down.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, I don't
That's
know.
when it becomes tough, man.
Not-
You were talking about like all this stuff that happens before the race.
Mhm.
So I won't speak for Will, but for me, like the most anxiety I would have before a game would be jogging out. They're doing announcements. You do, hey, how we doing? Everyone's kind of dapping up. Guys are in the corner praying. Then all of a sudden the national anthem happens. And when that national anthem happens, it's like my heart rate is probably higher than it'll be the entire day. Like I'm just thinking about all the possible things that could go wrong, how like what these plays are, these specific ones. So my anxiety is so high.
Yeah.
What's it like for you when it's like you're doing the announcements and then you have to go shake the hands, kiss the babies? Like I can't imagine being social before a
know.
competition.
Yeah.
Was that a very difficult
It's
thing for you?
Very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our sport. Our sport prides itself on being really accessible. So we did it because it was like we're boasting on our sport, right, in our industry, how people can come up and shake our hand or say hey to us right before we're climbing in the car. But it was hard mentally to like really listen to a conversation. If somebody wanted to tell you a story, like, hey man,
Right.
we met once.
Oh, that's how it always is.
I'm like, yeah, I can't really tune in right now. I'm gonna sit here, wrinkle my forehead, nod yes. I really
Don't
don't.
you hate when people too are like, hey, do you remember me?
Yeah,
Like,
'cause-
we've met
yeah.
before. And you're just thinking, bro,
If
I'm
you
about
guys-
to jump in this car right now to
Yeah.
go race.
Yeah.
You want me to remember the time that we met?
people got to have a little awareness.
Yeah.
Like if you're about to go jump in a car and
Yeah.
do 500 miles,
It's
like,
yeah. Anything happening like in that 2 hours before the race, before you're climbing in that car, feels like just a big obstacle,
mhm.
and you cannot wait to get in the car because you can't be reached. You can't be. You're in there and no one's coming in there with you,
Mhm.
right? And you finally like get some, and you're sitting on your ass, right? So you're like relaxed, and you're in your seat that's custom made for you. Everything feels good and comfortable, and sometimes on the hot, I don't know if you guys ever did this, thinking about the hot days that we had. I would get a water bottle, multiple water bottles, and poke a hole in the end of it, and I would soak my entire suit before I got in the car. And so my thought process was my body sweats to cool me down. If I'm already wet, I'm already kind of beating it to the punch, and it's still going to sweat. I'm still going to burn, lose some water. But I'm like, it don't have to rush to do that job or get that started in the first hour of the race, right? And so if I soak the suit, now it's not poor, it's just wet. The whole fucking thing's wet, like you put it in a bucket and wrung it out. Man, I'd get in the car and I'm pretty comfortable even on like a 95-degree day. And as soon as I get moving, any kind of air moving, it's like cool and and like it's breathing
Some guys
through that
like to
suit.
take the water bottle and just squirt it all over
Yeah.
themselves before a game.
Yeah.
I feel like when you first start sweating too, like if you get in the sauna and that first 5 minutes when your body begins to sweat, you have like an irritation almost. Like you're like
Yeah.
kind of itchy.
Yeah.
And then finally you get into a good sweat and you feel good. So
Yeah.
I like that move.
Yeah.
I like that move after that. So the point you sit in the car is when you feel like relaxed.
Yes.
Because for us, it's the first hit. Like let's get the first play done.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get your first play out of the way, then you feel in the groove.
Let me put my hands on somebody real quick. How we
Yeah.
really feeling today?
get
That's
the
when you
fight
know
started.
what kind of day it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you get the first couple plays in, and it's like you might maybe mess up on the first 3 plays of the game.
Yeah.
That's a different
sluggish.
mental warfare right there.
Yeah.
'Cause you
How
come
long?
off.
Do you remember games where you were like struggling to find yourself to fall into that like comfortable space?
Not like a
Yes.
full game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for an O lineman, it feels a little bit different because I feel like you're kind of in sync on doing the same thing. Like if you're blocking well, you're blocking well. But I like between like if you have a bad run play or a pass play on defense, it wouldn't really be something that it just like consumes you, like goes into your play the rest of the day. But it's more so like it's that play that's just sitting in your head the entire time you go back to the sideline. So you
Yeah.
might make a play and you're not even really caring that you made a play
Yeah.
because you're just thinking about what you
Play
messed up.
before.
Yeah. For me,
How
it was-
coach is going to coach you when you get in the film room and everything else.
Oh yeah.
I wish there was a way to like combat that because I feel like it goes through every player's mind is like, what are the coaches going to say about this on Monday?
Yeah.
And you're
It's
in the
just
first
mental
quarter
strength.
of a game, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get
You
past
don't
that.
need to
play.
worry about that.
Yeah, for offensive line, it's very like there's a lot of precision that goes into it, especially with pass blocking. So for me, it was like feeling out the speed of the individual. I'd watch them on film, like, okay, this person's faster. They're a little slower, but they're more power. It was really just like feeling them and understanding like, hey, what does my tempo have to be against this person all day? And that first couple of pass plays, whether it was in the first drive, luckily, hopefully you don't go 3 and out. But if you have like a good like 6-7 play drive in the first series and you're able to kind of put your hands on them and feel it, that's when you feel a whole lot better. The tough is that first third down. Like the first thing you brought up, I remember we were playing the Saints. This had to be like 2021 or early like 2020 or 19. And we played the first series and I overset a guy, big guy from University of Texas, El Paso. But I overset him and that was the first third down of the game. And you just get in your head, you're like, and we got off the field after that and you have to think like, okay, what did I go, what went wrong there? How do I have to fix this? Do I need to be sure? Should I get out a little bit more? And then you start second guessing all of these things you're doing.
Yeah.
From a technique standpoint, that was always like just the mental game that was going on while playing.
I didn't even think about that. Like, that's crazy. Because, like, when I'm watching a game and there's a 3 and out, especially the first drive, you're thinking about the confidence of the quarterback. Damn, is this a omen for the rest of the day? Can we stop the other team from putting points on the board, getting behind? You don't even think about like the other individuals on the field and how they're, because I can't see the details and go, damn, though, my O-lineman feeling pretty shitty about that, right? Because he did this or that and the other. You don't even think about those guys walking off the field and how that affects their confidence.
Yeah, it's a interesting. We talk about football all the time. Obviously, it's a football podcast, but like 11 guys in the field have to do their job, and especially with the offensive line, like it is such a mental game that goes along with the physicality of it, especially in pass pro, because that's how you get paid.
Yeah,
the less sacks you give up, the more money you make, and so like those are like it's like a run block for show, pass block for dough, and if you can get in there and really just feel confident early in the game, it makes everything so much easier.
And you just know too, just being a competitor and being an athlete with the NASCAR, like if you take a turn wrong, it's more about like you having the goldfish memory of thinking, all right, this is correctable. I got reached on this run play. I was in a bad position. I took a bad first step. Like you just got to correct the process and you're like, your preparation to be in a better position. But if you end up letting that stuff consume you, like, oh, I'm taking these turns wrong, or oh, I'm just not playing well today. And then it just kind of consumes your entire being.
And you have to slowly start stacking and stacking.
Yeah, you have to be able to put those like plays behind you if you're going to get out of whatever that said run is, because usually it's just like a technique thing.
But when you're talking about like you don't think about the offensive lineman, like when I watch NASCAR, being a casual fan, like I know how to drive a car, I can drive stick, but I'm not thinking about the technique that you guys are going through. I'm just seeing like, hey, they're braking pretty hard in that turn, it seems like, but like what
this
are
guy's
like
moving forward, this guy's
what
not.
are like the small pieces of game that you would like kind of focus, like what were like kind of your mental hurdles you had to go through?
So in the conversation we were having, the car is a really big part of the success or failure that you're going to have that day. And so your guys, it's your body and it's your preparation and you go out there, and if you're talented and you've prepared and you know your opponent, you go out there and it's you, right? But as a driver, you kind of a lot of times are at the mercy of the ability of the car and if it can do it or not. And you'll go and you'll start the race and run like a handful of corners, and you're judging the car. You're going, is this damn thing any good? Is it going to be better? Is it better than that guy? I'm catching him. I'm caught him there. Yeah, okay. I'm doing this right. It's doing that right. Or it's sucking and you're out of control and you don't have the grip and you're losing positions and guys are on your ass and breathing down your neck. And your confidence in the car determines whether you spiral down or continue to do well. And so in the very first handful of laps, a driver is really just judging this car and critiquing the car. And okay, if it's not great, we're going to have a chance to fix it on the first pit stop. Pull down pit road, tell the crew chief everything you can to give him all the information you can so he can make the best choice to fix the car, improve the car. He gets a chance to improve it. You go back out there. All right, did he fix this son of a bitch? We're going to get the green flag and continue the race. Either it's improved and you're happy. Hey, great job, man. You fucking fixed my problem. I'm better. Or he didn't fix it at all. It didn't make a damn bit of difference. And now you're like doubting the ability of your team in yourself to even make the day better. And sometimes it doesn't get better. Sometimes you just have a car that doesn't do what you want it to do, and you got to drive the son of a gun for 3.5 hours, and it sucks. But some days you start with a bad car, make it better, and you have a great day, and you're proud of that. And you're proud of your guys, and some days you start to race and shit's badass, and it's awesome all day. But you're always reliant on this car to like do things. And you can be the best race car driver, smartest guy, know everything you need to know. And if your car sucks, you can't overcome that, right? You can't wheel that car into being what it can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your drivers, have you ever been like in the with the crew on race day? Like, or you went from driver to the stuff that you do. Obviously, you do media stuff, but have you ever taken the chance to be like put yourself in as like a coach, like Coach Earnhardt?
A little bit, not a ton, but we ran the Daytona 500 this past February for the first time as a team. So my team that I've owned as an owner runs in basically kind of what I'd call the college level. And we have 4 full-time teams, and they race on Saturday before the big boys on Sunday. And so that's what we've been doing. This past February, we entered a car in the Daytona 500, which is the biggest race of the year for NASCAR. And I had a lot of fun because I was way more plugged in, way more vocal. I was on the radio during the races talking to the driver, and I worked on the car a little bit in the garage, and like it was just I was able to be more hands-on. And I don't necessarily coach the drivers all that much. It's hard. I was talking to one of my drivers this morning about a race coming up this weekend, and I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to explain some things that are unique about this particular racetrack. And you're just wondering, like how much of it they're picking up because they're young. And I remember being young, and damn, you could tell me all kinds of awesome freaking information, but I might not be like processing it and taking it in. I just got to go out there and experience it, right? And see the wrong and the right, and adjust and fix, and just learn by doing. But so I try to coach, but a lot of times, man, they just look at you with this bewilderment, and they're like young and like, yeah, I know what you mean. And you're like, I'm not sure you know what I mean. And we'll see. But, my dad, tried to help me a little bit with some advice in driving, and it was really good. And so, I mean, I try to talk to my drivers sometimes, but a lot of times they just got to go out there and see it and do it.
We interrupt this episode to bring you Neutral Vodka Seltzer. Have you tried Neutral? If not, you are missing out. It is the best seltzer that I have tried that is on the market. It's made with real vodka and real juice, and that's what makes it so delicious. It comes in a variety of flavors: pineapple, watermelon, to name a couple. And they also have new flavors: lime and strawberry. And it is the perfect drink when hanging with friends, boys. Games are popping off, baseball, basketball, whether you're at a bar, grab yourself a cold Neutral. The sun is coming out. Spring is upon us. The grills are coming out. The boys are in the backyard.
Yeah.
Bring yourself some Neutrals. Have a fun time with the friends and bring the vibes to life. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Is there ever a time where a driver comes in and you got to get hard on them?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely times when they're just not, they're doing things that are detrimental to their success. They're getting frustrated and arguing or fighting with other drivers, or doing things on the racetrack with the car physically with other drivers that you're hurting yourself, and you need to have your focus on trying to win this race today. And I know you're pissed at this guy and you want to get his ass back, but that you can do that, but it's going to keep you from trying to win the race.
Yeah.
And so there's some times when maybe they're not putting in the week to week work, the work, studying, prepping, taking, physical care of themselves or things like that. Sometimes you might get on a driver about his focus, like week to week focus, because they gotta, it's competitive, man. Everybody that matters toward this guy's career, everybody that matters toward a young driver's career is paying attention to the things he's doing, and it's the details. And is he studying? Is he working out? Is he got himself in great shape? Is he all fucking around drinking beer with his boys all night long? During the week, do we know where he is? Right, on a Monday night, on a Tuesday night, And so the people that matter are paying attention, and that's what I try to tell them. Like, if everybody's watching, right? everything you do. So do the right shit,
Yeah.
you know?
In your mind, what does a week routine look like that you're like, okay, that's a good routine to have?
Well,
You race on Sunday.
yeah, they race they race Saturday or Sunday, but they're going to be in the sim, which is basically, we don't have practice. We don't have a lot of practice where you actually go to the racetrack and take the car out and run it around. So we have simulators, big, giant, multi-million-dollar simulators that you climb into and you drive in a virtual world. And the manufacturers, Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford, they've spent millions of dollars on these simulators, and getting a couple hours in one is very valuable. And anytime you get an opportunity to do that, you do it. And you got to volunteer to be in that simulator, right? To be able to work on your craft. You can work on the setup of the car, new ideas, run and practice different lines and stuff like that in the simulator, and it transfers over into the real world. So on Monday morning, I think you either need to be working out. There's a group of drivers that work out together. All of the Chevrolet guys work out together. They have a Chevrolet program where there's this coach that his name's Josh Wise, and he coaches all of the Chevy drivers on. They do reaction time games and shit where the light on the wall and they're doing
Fun games.
Yeah,
Those are awesome.
right. They're doing all of that shit, and they'll go jump in the lake and swim across the channel and do ridiculous things. And he never tells them what they're gonna do. You just show up, and you might go ride a 20-mile, 40-mile bike ride. Just be ready. And so that's Mondays. That's every morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. And when you're not working out or doing those things with Josh, they need to be in the simulator. They need to be meeting with their crew. They got to meet with the crew chief, go over last week's race, what went right, what went wrong, what did we learn, go over the next.
You watching film?
Yeah. Then they'll watch film of last year's race. They'll watch the whole race. They'll say, okay, here's 8 guys that tried 8 different strategies. And this one worked really well. We may do that. So, get the driver's mind kind of prepared on what kind of strategies might pop up during the race, so he knows what you're asking him to do when you're telling him to come down pit road and get tires and fuel. And so that's several hours on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. There's tons of meetings. And yeah, I mean, those are the most important things, and drivers need to be there in person. I know they can zoom in and they can kind of half-ass it a little bit. And I know there's places they got to be too for sponsors. There's requirements for them to be out and doing things. Y'all know what I'm talking about there. But being present and being in person and filling out, we give them note. The teams give them a note, a big sheet or one sheeter to fill out after the race. Like, fill that shit out. Be precise. Be descriptive. We're going to lean on that note next time we go back to this racetrack in 6 months. Mm-hmm. So give us everything you can give us, right? And so those guys, sometimes I remember being half-ass about some of that shit, like filling the notes out, going, I was annoyed. The car didn't fucking turn. That's what I wrote down, right? Yeah. And I need to tell them, like, why didn't it turn? What did it feel like? What did I think the problem was with the car specifically, the details of the car's mechanics, and try to give them some route to a way to solve that problem, right? Instead of just being frustrated and mad about it.
Now, do you kind of come unglued or get the parent voice going on with some of these guys? You're like, you have a very calm demeanor.
No, I don't. I don't get too mad. I want to. So sometimes
that's the perfect Dale explanation ever. Like, stays calm in every situation. However,
oh no, you just see some moments times now flashing through his head. I want to.
Well,
he's thinking about one guy right now.
There's a couple times.
There's a couple.
Well, no, there's a couple times when their things didn't go well in the race, and I mean, you could go into the room with when they're meeting the teams and the drivers and the crew chiefs, you could go in that room and you could slam your hand, fist down on the table, and what the hell are y'all doing? Why'd y'all do it that way? Why you don't ever let that happen again? People don't absorb that, right? They don't go and fix it. They go, damn, we got our ass chewed today, or damn, Dale was mad, and you gotta go in there and say, hey, why did that go that way? What are we gonna do about that? How are we gonna fix it next time? Or I know y'all got a plan, right? Y'all got a plan, right, to fix that.
Do you ever listen to the
driver?
Y'all
got a plan, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Are you ever listening to the driver knowing that you've had your experience on the road, and you're listening to a driver and you understand the team, like what they're doing for the car and everything else, to where a driver comes out and they might be complaining about the car, or they're saying something in a way to where it's like, hey, bro, you're full of shit right now. You just need to figure it out, X, Y, and Z when you're out there on the road. You're trying to blame too many other things.
I think the one thing that happens, and I know this because I did this, is a lot of times the driver has one line of communication, and that's the crew and the team and the crew chief, right? And so when you're mad as a driver, you have only one line of communication, like anything you say, right? This car's a piece of shit. I'm fucking doing all I can out here. I'm busting my ass, y'all. This thing drives like shit. All of that information is going directly to the people that actually put that car together, that actually are there to help you, and the ones that will fix it if it gets fixed, right? And so a driver we get confused because we're in that car, we're hot, we feel like we're on an island. I used to say I felt like a castaway out there, like I'm all by myself, man.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have an idea what's going on. I'm all out there by myself fighting this damn thing. Y'all don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this car's a piece of shit, biggest piece of shit I ever drove. That is the worst thing to say. These guys are the ones that built it. They brought it to the track. It's their car.
Yeah.
You can't call a car a piece of shit to the people that brought the car and fixed it and readied it for you. And so, and you can't sit there and rant and cuss about, I'm busting my ass. They know already that you're busting your ass. They're watching it. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to and I did this. Like I can, and so I'll hear a driver today, they need you to know, like, they're giving it all they got, man. They're suffering. They're hemorrhaging confidence, and they're getting insecure. The car's not good. They're hemorrhaging all of these things, and they need you to know they're fighting and they're hard work. They're trying to make this car that you built work, but we have a terrible delivery, and we end up really saying things that are detrimental to that relationship between a driver, crew, and crew chief. And so sometimes I will have to say, or I remember something I did, and I'll hear another driver say it, and I'll go, hey, you got to remember, these guys are here to help. They're the ones that are going to fix it. They're the ones that you got to talk to them in a way that they want to fix your problem. And if you piss them off, or you talk to them in a negative way and not a supportive way, you come down pit road, they're going to be like, fuck that guy. And so when you're coming to get help and service and get your car adjusted, they're gonna be like, screw this kid, he's just a punk.
Yeah.
And so, I learned that the hard way a few times, and I thought, I know these guys well enough to tell them their car's a piece of shit, but it's never a good idea, right? Because
who was somebody that pulled you aside to be like, hey, man?
Yeah, how'd you learn that lesson?
Was it your old
Tony
man?
Jr., my cousin Tony Jr., my uncle Tony Sr., I worked with them on the Bud car back in the 2000s, and they told me, they said, hey, you called the car a piece of shit. Don't do that. All the guys that build that car and work on that car are listening to you. Not only the guys that are in the pits and were at the racetrack that day, also all the guys that are sitting at home. The guy that painted that car is sitting at his house on the couch watching you run, hoping you win, and it's going to paint your car next week. He's the one that heard you call that car a piece of shit. All the mechanics that are not travelers, that are sitting at home with their family, all of that information, they might not hear it in the moment, through the airwaves or through TV, but they're going to get that information. They're going to know you said it.
Word travels quick.
Yeah. And so, you just don't want to get this reputation within your own team of somebody who just kind of comes unhinged in the toughest moments and is combative or abrasive, right, in those moments. But it's hard, man. You feel like you're out there by yourself, and you feel like that nobody knows how hard this is but you. And you feel like you are feeling a sense that you're letting your team down, but your reaction and your words are, guys, I'm doing every fucking thing I can with this thing. It won't do anything right. And what they hear is, the car sucks. I'm not the problem.
And you're thinking too, the audience is watching the race or seeing me not perform as well.
Yeah.
It's just me that
insecurities.
it's just going to be me
Insecurities.
that they're sitting
Yeah.
there blaming. They're not seeing that
Right.
it could be a car
Because the
issue.
casual fan's not thinking about everything that goes in the week before. They're thinking about this driver, that car.
Yeah, like, man,
The
I
car's
thought-
gotta
I
be
thought Dale was
perfect.
gonna
Yeah.
drive
This is the
better
top
this
of the
year.
line. Yeah.
This week.
Man, Dale's really down this year, huh? He's
Yeah.
not getting it done, is he?
Yeah.
There's what they call, and you can YouTube this, but there's what they call radioactive, and that every driver has multiple YouTube clips of themselves that fans have put together of all of their worst moments.
Beautiful.
There's some good radioactive, like, hey, this one's funny. This is 8 minutes of Dale Jr. being funny on the radio during a race. And then there's like, here's 5 minutes of him being a complete asshole to his team, and there's, or drivers just completely coming unhinged, just screaming curse words into the middle distance, over the airway. You got to mash that button, because if nobody hears it, you don't get the relief.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a no talk button you have in the car?
You got a button that you mash to talk to the team.
Okay.
And like, you could be in there madder than hell and you could scream. It don't feel good. You got to mash that button so somebody hears you. Fuck, this sucks, and that's the worst thing, right?
So when you smash that button, that's the same thing that the fans can buy the headphones, right?
They
and
hear
listen.
it too. Yeah.
So people, if you're talking shit, so all
They
these
hear it.
YouTube
Everyone
videos,
hears it.
people,
And
you consciously went and be like, someone needs to hear this right now.
Yeah.
I gotta get this off.
I got to get this
It
out
doesn't
of
feel
my
good
system.
just saying into the abyss. I need someone
That's
to have. I
right.
need to hurt somebody's feelings
Yeah.
today over this situation.
And then the TV sometimes takes it and puts it on the actual broadcast, and then now it's there. It's common knowledge, and then you get up Monday morning, you're like, damn, I shouldn't have said all that.
that day, the next day, after you make a couple of actions you wish you didn't.
I said,
I'm sorry, Steve. I haven't listened to a damn word you said the last lap.
There's one clip on there where I'm driving around, and I had a couple of loose wheels, and the wheel fell off. A wheel, didn't get the wheel tight, and the wheel come off the car and wrecked hard as shit at Atlanta. And we're at another track, and I got a loose wheel, and I was so mad. I was like, y'all, like the wheel comes off at full speed, you just fly into the wall, and it's nasty. It's a hard wreck. And I come over the radio, and I was like, if this fucking wheel comes off, I'm hitting every one of y'all in the hand with a hammer.
What a crazy shot.
I was like, I don't know how to make y'all understand. Like, this is not fun for me to be out here wondering if this wheel's going to come off or not. And I'm going to fly into the fence out of control.
What is that? Is that like an inexcusable mistake though? If you go in,
it happens. It happens rarely, but I was like, y'all gotta damn you can't leave my wheels loose. You can't.
Yeah.
And that was my only way to I thought that was a great analogy. Like, I'll hit y'all with a hammer. And I'm like, and I see that clip. I'll see that clip on YouTube, and I'm like, God, that's stupid. Why did I say that? That was so rude and
it's a crazy shot.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, it's a crazy shot to say I'm gonna hit your hands with a hammer.
Yeah, I bet the guys in the pits going to the wall. I mean, imagine the guys standing there, even though I know that they're my guys, right? We're a team. And I know they're probably standing there going, well, fucking asshole, right?
Yeah.
What the fucking, he gonna hit me with a hammer, right?
Is there like with the wheel being loose, is there like in football, there's like basic 101 shit that the coach will get up and be like, Lawan, like, this is basic 101 football. You can't be doing this. Yeah. Is there something like in the pit crew standpoint, they're like, this is something so basic that you should not be messing up, that they deserve an ass cheer for that. Got to fill it with gas, boys. What are we doing?
I don't know. I mean, there's everything that I can think of is like, it's a human error. It's a possibility at any moment.
Very forgiving individual.
Yeah. I mean, some guys are like zero tolerance, but I mean, I've lived it long enough to know that to have zero tolerance as an expectation is not realistic.
Yeah.
When you were
theirs is
that's the line.
Yeah. If the wheel comes off and I hit the fence real hard, I get to whack every damn one of you with a hammer.
Yeah. God, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Is there a specific individual that comes to mind from like your generation of racing that like was just a known hothead with his pit crew?
Well, I mean, there's some guys that were pretty, Kurt Busch has some good radioactives on YouTube. Kyle, Harvick was pretty vocal about his team. Like, he demanded, he was one of the guys that would publicly say, hey, our pit crew has to improve, you know? And he would talk on the radio that would end up on the broadcast about his team needing to be better on pit road. I wanted to say all those things. You know, I have felt those things and wanted to say all of the things that they said. But I didn't want it to get into the broadcast. Yeah. I didn't want it to be fodder for the media.
Yeah, that layer.
Right. And so there was times I slipped.
Keeping your finger off the button.
There was times I slipped up, but for the most part, I don't have too much radioactive bullshit out there.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah.
If you could change any rule in NASCAR, what would it be?
Shit. Just any rule. I mean, I I wish we could figure out a new package for the Daytona Talladega racetracks. I would probably work on the rules that affect how the cars race at those two places, Daytona and Talladega. So we go to the Daytona 500, and the cars, the way the races the way you watch the races, you guys might not pick up on it, but some of the details of how the cars race and why they do some of the things they do are kind of, it's not as great as it used to be, or it could be better than what it is today. And I think and I don't know the answer, the specific like technical thing that needs to change, but I would love to be in the process of how we can make the cars do different than they do there, how they race together. But I'll be honest, man, racing right now, I'm no bullshit. Like I'm a critic of the sport. I hold them accountable when I believe I know what's right.
Yeah.
But things are really good right now. Things are really, really good.
I did not think that's the direction you were going to go.
I gotta
be
honest.
I was like, oh, he's about to put.
I gotta be honest.
NASCAR on notice.
We ran Daytona, and I was there. Right, we had a car in the race. I was really frustrated with the way the cars raced and the way the product on track product. I was frustrated with it. A casual fan would have watched the race and not seen the things that I saw that bothered me. So there's that. But I saw things that I'm like, I wish they would fix this shit. Everything from that moment on, all the races that we've ran have been fantastic, spectacular. And we have this sort of very informal poll that goes up on Twitter after every race by a guy named Jeff Gluck, who's a journalist in our sport, very respected. It's the good race poll. And it's a yes or no. Was it a good race? And there'll be thousands and thousands of people that vote on this poll every week. And it's very informal, just for fun. But we've been doing this poll for years, and so like a really, really good day is a high 80. That's like a really great, that's like everybody's fucking happy with that, right? Everybody like this. And so our races have all been trending in the really, really good high 80s and 90s, and there's rarely a race where people are just like, if that sucked, 50%, 50-50, yes, no. And I know that's very rudimentary, but hey, it's a small glimpse into the public opinion of something. I know it's on X, it's not the entire world on X, but
Right.
it's an idea of
a good
what
sample
people,
size.
yes.
But you might thinking, man, these are the few things that I would change. I wonder if other people are catching it too. You go and just be like, hey, was this a good race? You see like 85% love.
You got like, hey, fuck, they loved it. That's I know. So the racing has been highly complimented, and so when that's going, sometimes you got to go, hey, maybe I don't fucking know what is best all the time, right? If fans are loving what they saw Sunday, maybe I am a traditionalist. I am nostalgic. I am like one of those people that go, oh, those are the best, the 80s, the 90s, so awesome. And you can't never put the toothpaste back in the tube kind of thing. So sometimes I have to kind of check myself with my nostalgia and my hanging on to the history of the sport so tightly and go, look, it's more modern. It's different than I remember it. But people today, the fans that are tuning in, love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
And so I'm bullish on the sport and think it's headed in a really good direction.
I feel like more men than not are guilty of that, though, like finding the nostalgic piece and be like, it used to be great then. Like,
Yes.
you can go in any genre, any category of anything, and someone's going to have an opinion about back then it was better because of X, Y, and Z. You brought up a couple times. Targeting. Bring it back. Bring it back. The old kickoff rule.
Yeah.
That needs to be changed immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, you talked about you're for the first time your team had a car in the Daytona 500. I feel like that first off deserves a round of applause. Like that is massive, and we kind of did just brush over that, dude. That is
was
huge.
awesome. Yeah.
So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Like what is the process of being like, okay, we feel good enough to put a car in the biggest race of the year in all of NASCAR?
So Traveler whiskey was a brand that
Shout out Traveler
came
Whiskey.
to us, yeah. And so I got to shout out Traveler whiskey, shout out High Rock Vodka.
All right, take it easy, Dale.
Shout out Neutral Seltzers.
Yeah. So they came to us and they were like, hey, they came to another program at Hendrick Motorsports, and they were like, hey, we kind of want to do the Daytona 500. And Hendrick's like, hey, we don't have any room. We're full inventory. And so, but my buddy Rick Hendrick, he's like, I know my friend Dale Jr. wants to enter the Daytona 500. It's a dream of mine to enter a car as an owner in that race once, just to go. I wanted to go to the track and do all of the things as an owner and push a car out on the grid and go, there's my car, and there it goes into the race. And so they hooked us up with Traveler, and we took Traveler to Daytona, and it was really emotional. We weren't locked in, so there's cars that have franchises or charters, and they are locked into the race. They know going down there, hauling their car to the track that they're in. There's a handful of cars in this instance this year. There were 8 or 9 of us that weren't guaranteed a spot. We were going to have to earn it by either qualifying really well or running well in what's called the duel, which is the duel is 2 races. And if we do well in the duel, we lock ourselves into the race. So in the duel, we're running. We didn't qualify well, so we couldn't lock ourselves in that way. So now we got the duel to run, and we're trying to, okay, we're going to go out here, and we got to beat a couple of guys.
What's your stress level after
Very
the qualifier doesn't go well?
Oh,
and you're like, this is our last shot.
I was embarrassed. So in qualifying, all of the industry is on pit road. All the engineers, crew chiefs, everyone that matters and everyone that knows anything about the sport is standing on pit road. All the cars are lined up going out qualifying one at a time, and you're with your car, and you're pushing your car as it's getting closer and closer to the front of the line, and you get down to the end and you push your car off, it cranks the motor, pulls away, and he's going to go run his lap, and you stand there and you watch him run his lap. And there's a couple of big giant jumbotrons, and you're watching a little bit on the jumbotron, and he comes by and you look at the lap and you're like, that ain't fast enough. And now you got to walk through that entire group of people that all know that you didn't make the race yet, right? And it's embarrassing. You got the equipment that you think's good enough, and something y'all didn't do right didn't help the car run the lap time. And so it's a bit tough kind of walking back through that whole mob of people toward your garage like we failed. And so
yeah, like we weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Like everybody looks at us like, damn, Dale Jr.'s
It's
team,
just
great driver.
Yeah,
it's
great driver. Yeah.
Who knows, man?
It might be similar to going into the tunnel at an opposing stadium after a loss, right? With the fans going, get out of here, assholes.
Yeah.
Philly.
Or just like say you're a middle schooler or high schooler and you're going to see if you made the team or not, and all your boys are standing there and you're like, hey, is my name on there? And it's like, you should check it out. Maybe I didn't see it.
yeah.
You turn around.
What a feeling.
Yes.
That's a tough
kind of similar.
Yeah.
You've had that happen?
No.
Okay, I was going to say
it sounded like it sounded like a personal
you just did a
experience.
movie scene to me.
Yes.
But I was like, that's crazy if that's happened.
But you know how like before you even go up to look, it's like, man, what if I don't make it? Like I'm gonna feel so stupid. You just kind of have an idea of probably what it feels like.
Yeah.
And it just seems like
okay.
If you weren't good at sports, like, man, what would it be like if I sucked at sports? That's probably a bad feeling.
So we ended up qualifying in the duel, and we ended up racing our way into
How does the duel?
So basically, no, it's fine. No, it's good.
Work?
We're in one of the duels. There's 2. They split the field in half. So we're in a duel. There's about 20-some cars in that race. We only have to beat like 2 guys. There's 2 guys that we just got to finish ahead of. And we are in the race and they're out. And so coming, this duel's like 50 laps. And we're coming to 2 laps to go and we're not in. We're behind those guys. And the field's a big blob, all tight together within 1 second. They're just all together, run around the racetrack. 2 and 3 wide, and I'm like, Justin's our driver. I'm like, damn it, Justin, you got to figure this out. I don't even know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he could do.
Are you saying this to yourself?
Yeah, thinking in my mind.
Are you saying this to him?
No.
Yeah, I thought you hit the button.
No.
Yeah.
But he just figured it out. Like in the last lap, he just figured it out. Got the run and diced around, and when we crossed the finish line, we're ahead of the guys that we needed to beat. And so that was when it was like, almost, that was the moment where if you talked, you were going to have a hard time not crying. You ever been in those moments like, I'm not going to cry as long as I don't have to talk.
Yeah.
Once I start talking about this, it's going to get hard not to cry, right?
Yeah.
And so we're doing some media, and I'm like, I know I got about 10 words before my voice is going to crack. So I was trying to say something like, we're in the race, yes, and before I started like losing it.
Yeah.
But it's just that emotional. And I've lived this sport my whole life. This was a dream of mine, and we had finally this is like on a Friday, I believe. And so that night we're like, we get the race on Sunday. We don't have to go home. It was either, the way that race turned out was like, we're loading our shit up and we're going home, or we're going to race on Sunday. And so it was a big relief. The next couple of days, man, we're in there looking at our car, sitting in the garage, and we're massaging on it and fixing it and tweaking it and messing with it. I'm hands on. I'm working and piddling with the car, and we're all proud and getting it right. And then we pushed it out there for the race on Sunday. Went through the whole pre-race ceremony and just the pride of being out there, and then getting on the pit box and watching your car pull off pit road, and you're like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Moment's here.
Was that a win right there?
Yeah.
Like, did you
It
care
didn't
about
matter.
place? You're
No,
just like, man,
it didn't matter.
I've achieved
No.
the goal I've always
Yeah.
wanted.
I told my
So
driver
it sounds like you didn't win.
ninth. Yeah. I told my,
It's like, no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, ninth.
It's like,
yeah. I
Ninth,
told,
though, if you're wondering.
We did get top 10.
Yeah.
I told my driver, Justin, I said, hey, I this is the way I am with Justin. I'm like, all right, man, look, let's not worry about like, hey, top 10, top 15, that'll be a great day. Let's not even have that conversation. I was like, let's cross the finish line when the checker's waving. I don't care where we're at. I just want to sit here and watch the race and my car be out there, and we won't have a high hopes or a oh darn. We'll just say, hey man, if we cross the finish line when the checkered flag waves, if our car has finished the race and we've ran all the laps, we're blessed. And so it's coming down to the last we're making it through all the problems. We had a couple of dust ups and gotten a few scrapes, but we're patching it up. It's still pretty good. And it comes down to the last lap, and there's a big wreck on the back straightaway, and he missed the big wreck, and we're standing there like, all right, he's coming around. Like, where are we going to be? And he crossed the finish line, and you look at the score monitor, and his name goes, bloop, 9th place. And you're like, shit, top 10. That's awesome,
Yeah.
Not only did we come here and like get in the race, but we ran 9th out of the 50 that tried to run it, that came here. We're 9th. Like we're a
Super
brand
Bowl.
new one race team. We're like one race old. We're like brand new.
Yeah. Every time your team has been in the Daytona 500, you guys have been top 10.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how many other programs can say that?
What do you
Yeah.
think when Dale's giving the little speech to Justin? You think Justin's probably like,
Justin's
"Bro, we're
probably trying not to
win
piss
this
himself. It
motherfucker."
sounds like he's full of water.
Justin's an older driver like myself. But me and him both get nervous easy. Like and so I can tell, like, I need to talk this guy down a little bit. He's nervous as shit. He was so nervous. And he told me,
Okay, yeah,
he
yeah.
told me, he's like, dude, I was terrified in this moment. In this moment, I ain't never been that nervous in my life. And we've raced for championships. We won championships in the Xfinity Series last year. And we've raced together for over a decade. He's drove for our team at Junior Motorsports for a long time, won a lot of races. And he's like, dude, I was so nervous. There's so much pressure, so much responsibility being the driver of your car for the Daytona 500 for the first time. He's like, it was awful. And so I knew that, like in that moment, I was like, hey, no, let's not even worry about where we're going to run. Let's not even set a goal or an expectation and worry about being pleased or upset. Let's just say, hey, cross the finish line, checkered flag. Let's feel good about that. And that's it. I don't want anything else. I wanted him to know, like, I don't want anything else. You go out there, you have your own expectations. That's you. But you don't worry about me. Don't feel like everybody here in the pits is going, all right, fucker. All right, come on, Justin. When you going to pull the trigger? Let go.
Hey, that's a hell of a speech.
That's
Dale.
a great speech.
Like,
I just
that is
wanted to let him
that
off
is
the hook.
That's a fire speech.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, he's been racing with you for so long. Has he ever raced in the Daytona 500?
Before, a long time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's got to be what a feeling, man.
Mhm.
And for him, I mean, I bet I pictured that speech as him. He's already in the car in my head.
Not yet, but
No,
close.
I'm just telling you where my head's
Moments
at.
ago.
It's like they're about to start the race, and before
Yeah.
he tails off, you're giving him this like
No, this
once
was
in a
it was
lifetime
literally
speech.
right before he climbed in. And I was like, just don't worry. You just go out there and do you, man. I have zero expectation, but I do want you to finish. So don't don't get wrecked. Don't get wrecked early. Don't wreck out.
right. And there was that one last little part of the race where there's a big
Big
pile-up.
crash and he weaved through.
Really?
Yeah.
Other than that, it was pretty smooth.
Man, it's a couple dust ups.
Couple dust ups.
Couple close
Yeah,
close calls.
You mentioned dust ups a couple times. I kind of want to pry a little bit more. Like, what
No,
kind of
there was just
dust
some
ups?
wrecks that happened where he had to kind of knife through and maybe he got dinged up a little bit on the corner of the car, got beat up a little bit, but it was still in relatively good shape when we
The
finished.
top 10,
Yeah.
baby. That's awesome, man.
We'll take it.
That is cool.
That paid good.
I bet.
Yes.
I
Like that
bet.
matters.
Now, is this whiskey company sticking on?
Well, we only had plans to run that one race. That was it.
Have they called since?
They're excited and happy with everything that happened. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. Gosh. It's a dicey thing. So there's we had a little damage to fix, but we did.
Yeah,
we
okay.
fixed it. It's a little bit of a dicey thing because me and my wife started the High Rock Vodka, right? And that's ours. We have equity in it, and Traveler came on to Traver's like, hey, we want to help you realize this dream. So I had to call my friends at High Rock Vodka and say, hey, y'all mind if I do this thing with this whiskey? And they're like, well, it's not really a vodka, so it's not competing directly. And they're like, we don't want to get in your way. We don't want to get in the way of you realizing this dream. This is really how this is only going to it's only going to happen. Because the Traveler came in with the check that it was going to take. It was going to take a lot of money to go to Daytona, and so my High Rock folks were good.
Yeah.
To let me do that.
We can bleep it if you want, but how much does it cost to get into the Daytona 500?
To race in the Daytona 500, you're going to need $750,000.
Okay. All right. $750,000. All right.
Minimum.
You got that math?
Yep.
We don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just leave it. You know, bygones be bygones.
Yeah. No doubt.
Having the Earnhardt last name, you're obviously involved with a lot of different things off the track, on the track, everything in between. What is the first thing you kind of dove into to where it felt like this is mine? Outside of because you carry the legacy of your old man and you have the Earnhardt name, you're Dale Earnhardt Jr., the son. What was the first time you realized and felt like a sense of pride? All right, this is a thing that I see as like something I've done.
Probably Junior Motorsports, the race team that we have. We've ran in the Xfinity Series, which is, again, that's the kind of the college level. We've ran there for seems like 18 years, a long time. We've won 90 races, 5 championships. Me and my sister run that together, and she's hands-on. My sister is she's tough, really, really tough businesswoman, savvy. And so, like, in negotiations, she never loses. That's her. And so she's tough. She knows what the value.
Hey, that's badass.
Yeah, she knows the value of everything and understands what's realistic and just sharp. And so I'm very fortunate that I got her as a teammate. And so we have ran Junior Motorsports together. Our dream or our idea, the idea was that me and her would be involved in DEI, which was my dad's race team, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Our thought was that would be what we would do all of our lives, right? And so a lot of things happened. Dad passed away, and we ended up leaving the team over the course of 6 or 7 years, and so that didn't happen. And we started this other team and started it with one race car, 3 or 4 employees, very modest, and we've grown it into a really successful deal. We love being at that level where we graduate people up into the top series, right? So drivers come through our program, crew chiefs, mechanics, engineers, even people in our office, marketing, licensing, they all come and work at our business, get educated, get a great experience, get a reputation, and then they get a call from a cup team. It sucks to lose great people, but it's also like a big reward. Like, we're doing it right. We're doing something right where people are wanting to hire our good people.
Right.
And so when a driver gets a phone call, they'll call me. I remember one guy called me and he's like, I got some tough news. He's like, one of the cup teams called me and I got to do it. I was like, that's not tough news. That's like winning a race. That's a victory for you, for me. That's why we did this. Well, I did this so that you would get this chance, not that you're going to be a career Xfinity racer for me, right? Hopefully, if everything works out, most of our drivers are only there for a year or two, and they move on to to the cup level and race on Sunday. And so that's a fun thing to do. I can look in the cup field today, the field that runs on Sunday. I can look in that field, and there's at least a third of the field that raced for me on Saturday.
That's big.
At some point in their career. There's mechanics, crew chiefs, tons of people in the industry that have came through our race team to get to the top level.
That's badass, man.
That's fun. So I'm proud of that. That's mine.
So do you ever want to get your race team into the Cup Series?
I do.
Yeah.
And so to race full time in the Cup Series, you need a charter. which is basically a franchise. Think about it as like a franchise. There are only 3 dozen of those. NASCAR there's an agreement between the teams and NASCAR that there is only a certain amount of charters. So to acquire one, you got to buy one from somebody, and they're selling for anywhere from $25 million to $40 million bucks. And so you got to buy the charter, and then you got to buy the cars. They're $350,000 a piece. You got to have an engine program. You got to upscale employees. So to race full time in the Cup Series, you might be able to do it on $20 million a year. So it's $100 million probably to get started, right?
Right.
To buy a charter or 2, and then have the funding annually to run at that level. You got to have a massive commitment from corporate America somewhere to be able to fund the team annually and long term. And so to go from where we are now in our business model is a massive jump and a huge commitment. Scary.
Sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, $100 million to get started is wild.
Yeah.
Have you ever been close? Like, is anybody like?
We've had some really
people
fun
come out of the woodwork. And be
We've
like,
had
hey,
some really cool conversations with some. We had a conversation with one of the largest or most popular sports franchises in the country. So I mean, there's interest out. So the interest that I believe a team like mine or a person like me to be able to get into theirs, it's going to have to be like an investment firm or a current entity that's owning sports teams, right? And so, yeah. So
I can think of a couple.
Yeah,
I can see a couple of my eyes right now.
yeah. And so there's interest. And the investment firm thing is kind of new, but it's gaining some popularity. There's been a lot of these sort of groups that have started to invest in race teams. So like certain race teams have taken on investors and sold equity in the ownership of the program. So that's kind of promising for somebody like me. That's like, hey, I know how to run a race team. Kelly and I know how to operate this thing and be successful. We know how to do it and not lose money. Mm-hmm. And we know how to be successful. We have a lot of equity in our name and our reputation. And so I feel like we're very appealing for anybody that's like, hey, I'm brand new to this. I don't know anything about racing, but I think owning a charter is going to be very valuable. So the charters have doubled in value annually. So like if you bought a charter 6 years ago, you might spend $6 to $12 million. Now they're worth $40 million, $35, $30 million. I believe charters in 10 years will sell for $80 to $100 million a piece. So, I mean, I think if I was a person that had that kind of money to throw around, buying a charter or investing just in a charter, getting some equity in a charter would be easy. An easy yes, right? Because that is not going to lose value. Think about Dan Snyder bought the Washington Commanders in whatever year, 89 or whatever, for $600-800 million and sold it for $6 billion. And so NASCAR charters are similar, as they are a franchise, a sports franchise, and now they won't ever get into the billions, or maybe not even into the $500 to $700 million range, but they will increase in value from $30 to $40 million. Now, I think realistically, it's $150 million value. I would put that on. I would say I would confidently expect that to be the value of 1 in 10 years. And so why wouldn't you, if you had that kind of money, invest in it now? Because it
sounds like you need some Bussin with the Boys backing.
Yeah,
get a little
Bank of Bussin's open.
Yeah.
High interest rates.
Yeah.
But the Bank of Bussin,
small investor.
yeah.
This is our team.
We're talking about some
team back here.
We're talking about some
operation.
serious shit.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
No, hey, it ain't happened yet.
Yeah, it hadn't happened yet. But
Yeah,
that
but
is
true.
really
Congratulations
cool
on it happening in the very near future.
That'd be nice.
Knowing
Yeah.
just very surface level stuff about those conversations, I know it seems like it's very hard to just even be in those rooms and have those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some fun conversations with some people that were interested in, but it's got to be perfect. You can't. I'm not a risk taker with my finances.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I had kids, I was like, all right, I got to be a little smarter. Like, I was going to bounce my last check. That was the way I was going to live, right? When I was a single dude just raising hell and doing my life, I was like, I ain't leaving shit behind. But then when I had kids, I was like, nah, it ain't mine no more.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
all theirs, right?
Right.
Now I'm spending their money.
It'd
Their
be a
inheritance.
massive curveball for them sitting there getting the will read out to them.
Yeah,
Like, by the
no
way,
He didn't leave
There-
anything. He
Yeah, he
just
left
man,
nothing.
gone.
And also, your guys' facility is so badass.
it is.
Like going out there,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
people out front waiting for you to just get done with work.
yeah, you bring
Like
up
in
the equity of the name, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, we were there on a Tuesday,
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of people just
Yeah.
waiting out there to catch a
just
glimpse of you.
tailgating.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think he's in there right now?
Yeah.
And we just walked in, you would have thought we were royalty.
I wonder, like,
oh shit,
Bussin' with the boys.
all
You're
right,
going
all
on
right.
all right.
Dale's podcast.
I'll say this. I'll admit this. Your podcast and your brand is incredible. And do people not know where you are physically right now? Do they not? Or if they knew where you were, they too, and if they knew when you recorded, if it was a consistent, like, hey, we record every Tuesday, there would people be standing out there, like
Well,
one.
we appreciate that, Dale. I don't know. I mean,
I
there
don't-
have been
There's
some
been a
pop-ins.
couple of people
There've been
like
some
this.
pop-ins.
Oh, it's not up there anymore. But we had a Tannehill sign. Like somebody broke in on one of our old places we were at, broke in and didn't steal anything, but left gifts.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Like I think they were wrapped too,
Those are
right?
the best.
Yeah.
Those
And
are the best
somebody,
breaking
too,
and
was
enterings
like-
right there.
He would go to work. There's another cat. He'd be going to work and he'd notice that when the doors slid up, he'd see the bus inside. He's like, so I know you guys have been here, and I was just waiting to get like an off day or something. He would just go and just sit and wait.
Rand
So we showed up and
Carthon
just kind of guessed.
ran when he was the GM for the time. He just sent somebody over here one day.
Yeah.
He just
Like,
randomly.
oh, what's up? And we're like, oh, what's
Hey,
up,
how's it
man?
going? I was like, Rand told us we can come by.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. No
Yeah.
text or nothing. Just like showed up.
But
Yeah.
it is cool though. It was cool to witness. Just
Yeah.
people. I think that was during one of your guys' weekends too.
Well,
The race was in Charlotte.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that matters. Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
comes into town, but they know we record on a specific day.
Yeah.
They know
man.
that
Is that each time you record?
every Tuesday. Yeah.
You got people sitting out
Yeah.
there waiting.
Yeah.
That is.
So they
that's
know you're
awesome,
just in
man.
there. But even your studio is awesome. Like I love the setup, the
You
backdrop,
walk in, you
all
got
the viewers get to see.
photos, the
the photos,
portraits of drivers.
But then there's the window with your dad's car sitting
Yeah.
right out there, and you can see all the guys working. Like it's an awesome
Yeah.
setup,
Yeah. Thanks. I
Super
appreciate it.
clean too.
right?
For having a
Eat off those
garage.
Oh, yeah,
floors.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
You
race
look-
shop's
you walk
gotta
in
be
my
clean.
garage right now. It looks nothing like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, not mine neither. My house is a mess, but yeah, the
You're-
race
you're-
shop's got to be nice.
Boys, we interrupt this episode to bring you Row. We are sponsored by Row. We are Row partners. And I want to give you a little example. You know those times you're laying in bed and your girl, she's trying to fill you up a little bit and you're just thinking, oh, just give him a second. He'll get there. Oh, it's not because he's not into you right now. You just got to give him a moment.
Because we get tired.
Yeah. Every now and then you have a long day and you get a little
Yes.
tired and your girl might be a little spiced up and just wondering, are you not into me anymore? Like, do you still find me attractive? Do you
Sweetheart,
still
it's
find
not
me
about
sexy?
that. It's not about that.
Those days are over because Rose Sparks has your back. Rose Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon against softness. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under your tongue, and getting hard faster means there's no more waiting to perform.
You did the page I thought I was going to do.
After Rose Sparks dissolve, they work in 15 minutes on average, and Rose Sparks can give guys bigger, thicker, longer erections because they get fuller. They stay active in your stream for up to 36 hours, so you can go back to back to back, round after round after round, and be ready, boys, for that morning after. And if you're approved, you will get treatment shipped directly to your door because with their medical provider is 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers.
If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with a provider at ro.co/bussin to find out if a prescription Row Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/bussin for $15 off your first order.
You're in the game of collecting things. Has there ever been a car you sold that you regret selling?
Hell no. I regret buying cars. That's like crazy. Yeah, everything with wheels. As soon as you buy it, it depreciates like half as soon as you drive it off the lot. But I shouldn't say that being in the car business. But oh man, I bought a Callaway Corvette. That was kind of a thing back in the day. Callaway Corvettes. I bought one of those, and it was the dumbest thing. I had it for a while and finally sold it for like a fraction of what I paid for it. But my buddy had a motorcycle and dropped his motorcycle on the nose of this Callaway Corvette, and the foot peg went straight through the nose. And luckily he owned a body shop, fixed it up for me. But just a bad experience. But No, I mean, I had a Biscayne that I maybe should have hung on to. Kind of a rare car.
What's a Biscayne?
That's my Callaway that the bike fell on. That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yes. I was stupid to buy that.
That
I did not need it. And it had this little weird noise in the rear, one of the wheels, a brake caliper, something like a tick that wouldn't go away. That I wasn't smart enough to really fuck with. But
to be in your mind, like when I
that
get in the
green
car
truck,
and I hear a noise, and it's
that
like,
green
oh,
truck,
it's crazy.
So this is my daily driver, that green truck right there, and it's a 48. And I did a lot of my own work on this truck, and so it has a modern Vortec engine in it. It's nothing crazy or special, but like I put them rails and wood rails on the back. But in the inside of this truck, I think it was kind of during COVID, I decided to gut the inside and redo it myself. And I put some pictures on the internet and stuff of me working on it. But I did a lot of woodwork inside and put new inserts on the seats. And my 2-year-old grabbed a Sharpie and ruined the brand new inserts, so I had to take the seat back out and redo it. But I did the console in the floorboard is I made it out of sheet metal from one of my Bud cars. So it's like got Budweiser, like half of the Budweiser logo in the floorboard of the console.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's just really kind of a grunge truck, what we call a grunge truck. But is
Yeah,
that the
that's your
Biscayne?
daily driver?
Yeah, that's the Biscayne. Yeah, I kind of wish I'd have kept the Biscayne.
There you go.
It's kind of a cool car. That was like 20 years ago I sold that. But I don't know, man. I always was weird with I did some foolish stuff with money. No, I'm not gonna lie, but I also was kind of oddly tight. And my buddies that I race with back in the day always joked with me about being a tight ass. And so, like I got like 12 cars, right? I'm a car guy, so I'm gonna have a little collection, right? And I'm okay. That's okay. But I got 12 cars, and if I see something that I liked, and I still do this today, like if I see something, I got to be willing to sell one of my 12 and buy it. Like I won't buy it and add to it. I'll be like, do I want it bad enough that I'll sell one of these? And if I will, I'll sell one of these. All right, man.
Cut one from the roster.
We had fun.
Yeah.
That was good. All right, you're out.
A lot of
This
different
one-
car owners out there
but-
that are willing to give you a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an umbrella and everything's got to fit under it. And if it don't, I don't want to be, I don't know. I shouldn't, I'm probably overthinking it, but I was just, didn't want to be ridiculous and have like cars everywhere. Cause it bugs me to have a car that I don't drive. And that one time I get in it, battery's dead, fucking tires shake because they're square because it's been sitting too long, or the brakes shake or something. It doesn't drive well or right. I'm like, all right, I don't have I love this car, but I'm not driving it. It's not doing itself any good. I'm selling this.
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of it.
What's been your biggest impulsive buy? Impulsive where you've splurged too. Where you're like, that was it. That was dumb.
Oh man. I mean, the Callaway Corvette was stupid.
What's another one?
That was over $100,000. That was dumb.
I feel like being a car
that green
guy,
truck, that other green, that my square body. I want to brag on that son of a bitch. Look at that thing. Look how bad that is. Look at that
that is
freaking.
cool.
Look at that damn plaid fucking insert on that seat.
Yeah.
That shit's badass. I love that truck.
Square body trucks, you can't beat
They're
them.
coming back. They've
They
been
need to
coming
bring them back in a big
Yeah.
way.
Oh, they're back. They're back.
Are they?
Oh hell yeah.
You gotta send me the newspaper
Square?
clipping because I haven't seen that.
Well, if I take this bad boy out, it turns some heads.
Dale's just driving to watching everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
looking
notice-
over. And it's always the construction workers too. On the side of the road, they just kind of
Yeah.
do this and they
Yeah.
give you the.
I
walking-
don't
going by.
know that I have a bad regret on like a big time financial thing, but this is one thing that my wife and I talk about is she'll be like, hey, our couch is destroyed. Like we've kids and dogs and all this couch is just fucked up. It's time for a new couch. All right, let's get in. And she'll show me, hey, how about this one? And I'll be like, damn, that's a couple $1,000. And she's like, oh, that's what couches cost. And I'm like, that's a lot of money, man. I can't believe couches cost that much. Your wife will show you stuff. And you're like, there's no way that's like a normal price for that, right? That's way too high.
Yeah.
So I'm a gamer and I'm a PC gamer. And so like if the 5090s just came out and there's like a massive shortage. And so I'm sitting there going, I'm looking at eBay and I'm like, God dang, they want $5,000 for that 5090 NVIDIA card. My buddy knows a guy at the Micro Center. Maybe I can get one from the Micro Center. 9 days. They're coming in 9 days. They might get me one in 9 days. I'm like fiending on this, this, or new monitors, I got to get this new monitor, man. The refresh rate, it's like 200 and, whatever megahertz. I got to get, that's better than what I got. And that's going to be like $1,000. I got triple screens on my racing rig, triple screens. So, $1,000 a monitor. And I'll be like, Amy, I'm thinking about building a new computer. Going to get me a 5090, new CPU, new motherboard, new case. And she's like, how much is that going to cost? I'm like, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000. And she's like, and you want to raise hell about this couch, but you'll just go buy it. I would literally just go buy this and not even tell her, right? But I want to know how much the couch costs.
Yeah.
So that's how I operate.
That sounds like every guy ever. You're telling me the story, and I'm thinking of multiple conversations my wife and I have all the time about things where I'm like,
dude, if Charles brings up a couch, I'm just thinking,
I feel like,
what's wrong with this couch right here?
I feel like such an asshole. And we might have talked about this on the show, but man, when we were booking, we did a planner for our honeymoon and we went to Hawaii. And when that lady came in, the planner plans this trip, right? And we're going to stay we're going to be in Hawaii 2 weeks and we're going to be at this place, this hotel, and this hotel.
Yeah.
When that lady came back with the quote, I was like, ain't no way. I was like, what room are we talking about here? I got to see. They got to be other rooms. And I go to Amy and I'm like, why can't we do these rooms? These rooms are way less. We ain't gonna be in the room, right?
Yeah.
We're just gonna sleep in the room. She's like, come on, this is your honeymoon once, and you're doing this once.
Literally preaching right now.
It was awful. And I look back on it now, I'm like, it really didn't matter. But man, I was turning my guts looking at that price in those rooms, and I'm like, we don't need this. We can stay in this room with this, and it's nice. I don't know. I was that was tough.
I always hate it with budget stuff, man. Like when I built my house, I had a budget, and I was like, I gotta pee too, but yeah. We have a budget, and it's like, hey, this is how much money we're going to spend to build this house. So I would go to the people and be like, hey, when we're looking at fixtures, show me what's in the budget, low end, high end, but it has to stay in the budget. And every meeting I would go to, whether it was like, I don't know, plaster on the walls or something like that, they would show me 2 things or 3 things, but then they'd have one in the corner over here that wasn't on display, but it was right there. And either me or my wife, probably more times than not me, would be like, well, what's that one? What is that right there? Like, oh, you don't want to know about that. That one's actually outside the budget.
Yeah.
And then there's always this game that you play. It's like, okay, well, if we do that, then we can move a little something over here. It's just how the male mind compartmentalizes how to spend money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're doing it the same way.
Yeah.
But it's just finding a way.
We have to justify.
Gotta justify.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. It's a pain in the ass. Man.
I remember when so we have a banquet for our championship at the end of the year. This is back when me and Amy were just gotten pretty serious, and I'm like, all right, man, we're getting ready to go to this banquet. Whip out my tux. I'll wear the same if it'll fit, I'll wear the same damn tux for 12 years. I don't give a shit. I don't need a new tux. I'm wearing this thing once a year, right? And so, but she's like, I'm gonna get a gown, and I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna get you a gown. We're gonna get a gown. I ain't never bought a gown. I don't know gown prices.
Yeah.
And she comes with this gown price, and I was like, what the hell? What the hell? I mean, it was crazy. I would have never even came close if I had to guess. And man, I'm on the phone with my sister. I'm like, you believe this? And she's like, that's what gowns cost. I'm like, for real? She's like, yes. I was like, all right. I was like, damn, man, that's
makes
crazy.
You feel better when you know like what it costs. But when you first see the price, you're like, what the hell are we doing here?
And then she gets the gown. We go. She looks amazing. And I mean, again, like this was years ago. I know I was foolish. But she looked amazing. And we get back, and I'm like, it dawned on me. I was like, so she's like, I'm gonna put this away, and I was like, you don't wear it again? She goes, no, never wear it again. I was like, you don't sell it? Because she would sell some stuff from time
Yeah.
to time. She had a little, I was like, you don't sell a gown? Can't sell it? She's like, hell no, I'm selling this gown. I'm like, man, I don't understand this at all. Like you spend all this money, you wear it once, and then you're going to put it away and keep it in
Wedding dress.
Gowns.
Yeah.
ball gowns and stuff like that. I was blown away the first time I paid for a gown. It was another big giant wake up. It was like the couch story where I called back up. I was like, hey, I called my sister. I was like, this gown. She's like, yeah, that's reasonable. I was like, horse shit. There's no way.
You brought the tux thing about
shit.
having just like one tux your whole life. And when I was playing, I was 316 pounds. Like we'd always, every Sunday guys would want to get the fits going and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So every couple of years I would go get a couple suits, but I would always go to my suit guys and be like, hey, when I obviously eventually I'm gonna have to retire and lose weight, like I'll be able to bring it all in, right? I can still wear these. And like, oh yeah, no problem. And now I'm like 60 pounds less than I was before. And I've brought these suits to people and they're like, there's no way.
Can't fix
You
it.
can't. So I've spent an absurd amount of money on clothes that just sit in my closet. I look at them like I could never wear this again.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of my buddies that were still playing. I was like, hey, come over to the house. And I said, like, this part of the closet, besides like this suit and that suit, like the suit I got married in, and then I have like a custom one that has like my daughter's names on it. They're like bedazzled or whatever. I was like, yeah, that suit too. I was like, you guys take whatever you want. And they just ransacked the whole thing. It was like Ruse and Raidens came over and did all that. But some of the money you spend
Yeah.
just on dumb shit. Like I look back, I'm just like, what was I buying suits for? Like who cares?
Yeah.
For what, a photo?
When I
So
got
post on
into
the Instagram,
yeah.
be like, yeah.
When I got
That
into
is what it's for too.
That is exactly what it's for.
Because you don't even, I don't know how you were, but I never even fully put the suit back on, like even on game day.
No. Once
just
you get
put
the
on
photo,
whatever it was
once you get
and-
the photo to get it on the plane,
Yeah, once
you
get
like
that-
loosen the tie, you untuck it a
once
little
you get
bit.
that,
You're like,
once
let
you
me
get that
out of
gram
here.
photo,
oh my
Yeah.
God.
once you get that
And
photo for the
dude,
gram,
no one
man.
talks about suits. Like you see like these people, like you go on Pinterest and I want to get a nice little suit. So you start looking like ideas and you see all these like suave gentlemen with like the suits perfectly laid out. When I put that shit on, it's like, it looks good for 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it starts like wrinkling up at the top, or I get a little sweaty. So I move it. It's never tucked in long enough. It's
Yeah.
just a pain in the ass.
My biggest problem with pants or suits is the calves. Like my calves are, I don't know. I have problems with the
You got some
the
big
pant
calves?
leg being too tight. Yeah.
Brother, we
I
have
feel
opposite
you there.
issues.
And so
You
when
see
I,
these little guys right here?
so yeah.
Yeah, little ashy
So
guys
I got
right there.
relatively
Yeah,
large.
see?
calves.
You got
It
some-
looks like
Yeah.
them boys haven't seen the sun in
No,
a
they
while.
ain't. No.
He stays in jeans.
Translucent.
That would give us, oh shit, let me get the sunglasses.
Turn the lights down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got nice calves though. You got
Yeah.
nice calves. Me,
So-
I've always had these prey legs, man.
When
These
they
National
get-
Geographic getting chased by lion legs.
I get a new suit, get it dry clean. Now I can't wear it because
Mm-hmm.
it's got a hold of my calf, man. I can't. It's uncomfortable.
That's another
Always
game
having
too.
to
Is
push it down.
Are you jeans all year round, even in the summer?
I mean, he answered that
Ah.
question for us.
I think he is.
I'm in pants all the time, but I mean, as white as I am, you got to be careful on the color of short you wear because it can make the whiteness even whiter. So you got to
Yeah,
be like a very tan, kind of off white. But
You know Dale when he takes
You
that
can-
shirt off, like his face and his face and like from the shoulder down, he's
Yeah.
got a tan. He's not out there evening things out in the summertime.
yeah, I'm in as a broadcaster. I got to wear. I can't wear jeans, so I wear a lot of Lulu.
Lululemon.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've seen that they've had some stuff come in about how
What
their
happened?
their material lowers your T levels.
What the hell? T levels.
Yeah,
T-levels,
testosterone.
No shit.
Not
You know what
good
you
for the
should
skin.
you should look into is True Classic. Hey, Will, can I ask you a question,
Ask me,
dude? What do you love about the True Classic brand?
what don't I love about the True Classic brand?
That's fair.
The first thing that comes to mind is their T-shirts. They fit snug, they fit right, and your boy, I got a little extra going around the what do they call it? The muffin top.
The spare tire.
Yeah, the spare tire around the right above the belt. True Classic, it grabs you perfectly in your chest, grabs you perfectly in your arms to where it gives you a little leeway down by the low tire. So
Yeah.
it gives you a perception of, oh, this guy's body compass went down. That is what I love about True Classic. Their jeans also nice, snug, but you can also have a looser option. And they're very breathable. So you can bend, you could hit low ass to grass squats if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
But those are the things that jump out when you ask me what I love True Classic. What would you say you love about True Classic?
My favorite thing about you, I love what you said about the t-shirts, and I love how there's no branding on it. I think a lot of times people get mixed up with the big, bold letterings on things. If you want to keep it true and you want to keep it classic, the best thing to put on your body, no branding.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. The KISS method. That's what I love about it, dude. I love these jeans. You talk about Aster Grass. Like, I wear these babies every single day.
Yeah.
I got mobility out the yazoo.
Yeah.
It's you can't mess around with these bad boys. And the shirt, you said it perfectly. Like, you take your shirt off, you look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, yeah, I can see where I've let myself go in a couple areas. You put the shirt on, then all of a sudden you're like, maybe I can have that cheeseburger. Maybe I can have those little sneaky treats in the pantry late at night when I've had a couple of extra vitamins.
Yes.
Because this t-shirt makes everything just look a little bit better, dude.
Yeah, it does. Simple. Look good. Feel good. True classic. Back to this episode.
All right.
True Classic, they have a new material that just came out that is rivals Lululemon. Like, it's got that stretchy but like still fits good kind of feel. And their stuff is elite.
That's like the new that's like kind of been the saving grace is the jeans and all the shit that stretches. Like, so it kind of because my body changes all year. Like I'll go up and down 10 pounds all year long.
Yeah.
Up and down, holidays and shit like that.
Once November hits, man.
And so
November's that's when you got to buy the pants one extra size up.
I need my shit to be able to work with me.
Yeah.
Move a little bit.
Yeah. He would be incredible with True Classic stuff on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his style and his flow.
There's like no branding on it. It's very clean.
Yeah.
I
blacks,
I kind of like a boot
colors.
cut. Like I don't like a tapered pant.
Done.
They got that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kind of I like go for the loose.
You do seem like a big time boot cut guy.
Yeah, I'm boot cut.
Yeah.
Boot cut only.
Oh yeah.
Boot cut, yeah.
I can't wait for
nice
the belt.
and long. Make it get that baggy cowboy look.
Yeah. I mean,
I ain't gonna be no queer.
Yeah.
You guys got your tight tapered pants.
Yeah. He looked me up and down the first time he met me and go, what is this guy up to?
It's like, oh, you gotta check out these True Classic.
What you wear them metrosexuals with them pants
tight
on?
jeans.
Yeah. Yeah. You big boot guy though. You like the boots?
No boots. I just like wide.
Fair enough.
Relax.
Just
Relax
in case you
fit.
fall off a skyscraper, you can parachute down. Something nice. I feel you. Got to stay safe out here. Got to stay safe.
We need
I don't
that.
like-
we need you
I
to
don't
know.
like when you sit down and your pants come up and you see your ankles.
Yeah, same.
Like
No doubt. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Now, if you got some good calves though, and you got some good ankles, sometimes
well,
I got
you
bru-
see
I got
my legs.
brutal
I don't need
ankles.
nobody to see my ankles.
You don't need none of that.
Mm-mm.
you don't need anybody seeing them legs.
I know. What am I gonna do? It's too late. I'm 50 years old. Like getting a tan
but
or
still-
any kind
still,
of base. I'm past the point.
Like when you go to Hawaii, are you wearing pants on the beach?
No.
Yeah, they make a special swimsuit for him. Yeah.
No,
Amy's like,
man.
honey, come on.
You know,
Get some
Dale
sunlight.
walked into his wife's house like a year ago with the pants that you can unzip. Like, sweetheart, look how
Yeah.
nice these are. These are pretty crazy,
You know,
right?
he probably wears pajama pants too.
Probably.
Just switches out of the
Silk,
jeans, put on some nice
something
pajama
nice.
pants.
You do strike me as a guy with the buttons too, like the button pajama shirt.
No,
Nice little collar
only on
it.
Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta do that.
How elite is the matching family pajamas for Christmas?
Really,
That
Yeah.
is nice.
We've got a couple of sets of matching pajamas, but I don't know the brand. But
Yeah, it's the matching pajamas for Christmas.
y'all
is a
don't.
lot
What do
of
you
fun.
What do you mean pajama pants? What's wrong with pajama pants?
So you
So
wear
you
'em.
wear them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing
We're just
wrong with
saying we
them.
know you do. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with them.
Oh, I don't know, man. I didn't know there was
You
a
just
thing.
you showed us the leg. It's like okay,
Yeah.
he doesn't show his
Yeah,
legs.
because legit light bulbs
like
would
if
give that
I'm
thing a
not
10.
if I'm not leaving the house, I'm putting sweatpants on or pajama pants.
Yeah, big sweatpants guy. But
Big
I'm saying
sweatpants.
when I sleep, it's either I'm just in my underwear or I got shorts on.
Yeah, I'm an underwear guy.
I'm an underwear guy.
Yeah, through and through.
Okay, I thought you. That's why I thought.
Oh,
you
I don't
slept
sleep in
pants.
pajama pants.
I would have guessed.
You
Yeah.
can't. Like
I'm still not sold on the button thing. Too.
if you get in the
What-
bed,
sure, what are you pulling up on this computer?
if you
here?
get in the bed with pajama pants on, they rise up to your knees. You got to
Yeah.
you're always pushing them down. I can't
Yeah.
have that. No.
that is a fight, man. The pajama pants.
Yeah.
Should we dive into the most important thing of this episode?
Shit.
Can I please pee?
Yeah,
Go
go
pee.
ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might do it. Take a leak.
You need to take a leak. Go ahead. Pause.
You wait. I'm gonna show y'all my shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Preparation. That's where. What is it? Where preparation meets opportunity.
Dale, I didn't bring this up to you, but I texted him on our flight to Vegas. I'm like, he's journaling. And then you posted on Discord you were doing your playbook. And I was like, what the heck?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we got to get a game in, and you're like, oh no, I don't play.
I
I
would.
GM.
I would. I just didn't want to make it. I didn't want that to be the dominant thing about this meeting.
Brother, I love simulation. Like the fact that you're simulating the game, right?
Yeah. No,
we're playing.
fuck, we play it, man.
You play.
I play the games.
Oh, so when you're winning, you're
I'm
controlling
doing
the
it.
user?
Yes, sir.
I thought you were saying you don't play.
No, I don't. I meant like I don't. So this is how I do it. I will play in this franchise with them. I'll play them.
Are we recording, Mitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get on there and go, I'm just going to jump in a random game with some Yahoo online.
Yeah.
I don't do that. It's weird to me. It's weird. I will race on the internet against anybody across the country, 20, 30 dudes.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's weird to me to play like a one-on-one.
We're talking about college football?
Yeah.
Football 25.
We're
This is what you want to talk about this entire podcast.
Yeah, a little bit. We were
So
talking.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is
Yeah.
the most recent national champion college football coach in his league.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know if everybody can see this, but this is my gift from Charlotte, the 49ers, UNCC. I am in a 23-person league, friends, buddies, people I know, some people I don't. And I started as a 1-star with Charlotte and recruited them up to a 4.5-star and beat Michigan, who's a buddy of mine. He was my best man. He's the best man in my wedding, TJ Majors. He's Michigan, won 3 in a row, natties in a row, and I beat him in the last national championship. And so
Unseated a dynasty.
it's a fun,
Unseated a dynasty.
Yeah, confirmed college football sicko.
it's fun. And he's a better user. He's better on the stick. So and there are other people in the league that are just a little better on the stick, right?
How do
Jukes
you
and
lose with Michigan.
Jukes
to
and stuff.
Charlotte.
Well, I recruited, worked hard. So I was gonna bring you this is my iPad, my own personal iPad, right? So
Hey, literally halfway through this podcast, I was looking. I was like, "Why does he have an iPad with him?"
All right. Well, it's the only way I can really help you understand like the work that goes into this. So I have a spreadsheet on my dynasty, and this is my offense. All right. And so
Like this is your depth chart?
yeah, yes, depth chart. Red is seniors, juniors. It's color coded for players, and these are all my red shirts. And these are scouting. These are guys I'm scouting. This is how many points I've got on them. Where I am in the scouting, first, second in scouting. And so there's defense. All right.
Yeah, this is a full.
This is a
That's
manifesto. This is a Connor Stallions
Yeah.
manifesto.
Yeah.
That is my depth chart, right? And that's how
Because they have stuff on the game where you can see the depth chart, but
Yeah,
you need it on
I
one
need
screen.
I need to be able to take it everywhere.
This is Dale is showing why he's been great his whole life.
Yeah.
I need to take it everywhere I go because I'm always thinking about this, and I'm always like, oh, I got to move that guy. He's so offensive or the outside linebacker speed rusher is broken, right? They in the game they can't improve. So if you've got a speed rusher, outside linebacker, you got to move him for him to really realize his potential. So maybe there's something like that going on, and you're like, I'm gonna move him to defensive end. So I got this with me all the time. This is probably the real money of the whole. This is all the success. So this is my playbook. So these are all run plays. These are pass plays, RPOs, screens, right? And so these numbers is the average yards per use. So if I've used the plays 100 times or 30 times or how many times I've used the play, this is average yards on that play. And so this is where the play is in the situation. So first down, these are all the run plays in first down. This play.
So this is your call sheet.
It's my call sheet. And so I will, and there's I don't know, 40 run plays. All of these aren't in my playbook. I do a custom playbook, but this is how I customize it. I run all these plays. I'll play multiple games, and then I'll look at the average yardage that I get for all these plays. I will then rank them in their ability to gain yards, and then I will customize my playbook. And to make sure that when I'm, on a 1st and 10, I've got it suggesting to me. I use suggestions only, which is kind of a no for most people. Most people don't think suggestions is the way to go, but I use suggestions, but I have my custom book tailored to suggest to me the exact play I need that's probably got the play that's got the most probability to get the first down. And there's and then on second and short, second medium, second long, all the situations, right? Going for 2, goal line pass, whatever. It's going to give me at least, 5 or 10 of the best, most highly successful plays for that moment. And every 6 or 7 games, I go through and look at all my plays and make sure to update the average yardage per use. And because that moves the play up and down the list, right? And maybe there's a new play that the other thing I got on my YouTube, I've got this long curated playlist of videos. I follow about 3 or 4 or 5 content creators around NCAA, and I watch all their videos, and I write down everything that they're learning and all the tricks, the cheese, whatever you want to call it. And so there's all kinds of quirky, broken things about the game and recruiting and player progression and stuff like that.
Do you follow Ben Kurt?
Probably not.
He's a quarterback for the Packers, but he breaks down college football 25.
Really? I need to follow him then.
Yeah, I think you'd like
I follow these guys that are making content daily and always finding something new and unique and how to make the best coach build and whatever, right? And so I write all this stuff down and have all this information ready to go and make sure I'm doing everything I need to be doing to be successful. And so when I go play my buddy TJ, who's probably going to beat me one-on-one if we just sat down and both took Alabama, I gotta be ready with everything I can bring him, right, to beat him and Michigan. He'll come up to the line of scrimmage. Every damn player's got a star under it. He's recruiting better than anybody else with his pipeline. So I mean, he's got
Blood college,
amazing players, and he's good.
Your squad's got the.
But I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing what an entire football staff is doing, just as one individual.
So
bro, that is hilarious.
And so you won the national championship. You don't play.
I do play.
No, he does play.
play.
He corrected that. I guess that's what he now means is I'm like, if we got a game in.
Yeah.
For him, it's like, nah, we ain't. I don't sit down and play the football game and I pick my favorite team and we play against each other. He's thinking that iPad goes like he plays at his spot and his spot only because he's got everything dialed in.
Yeah.
Right.
I play this dynasty and nothing else. Like I don't
do away games.
I don't sit down and do a one-on-one with some random.
Right.
I'm not into that. It's
you
weird.
You gotta make it to your league to even
I
have
play
the
my
opportunity.
league. I go and play my league games. That's what I play. And there's 23 of us in there. And some of us, I got 2 teams. I got Stanford too. And so I just started using Stanford just to kind of kill the time between advances because sometimes our advances are 4 or 5 days. So there's a little bit of dead time. And
I was going to ask, like, what's the cadence with this league?
Yeah, every 4 or 5 days is an advance.
And somebody commissions it, and there's like,
TJ's the commissioner.
Everybody know,
Michigan.
24 hours.
So before we started, the podcast, Will was saying that you don't play, but you actually do.
I do play the game.
You're on the sticks.
Yeah, I play the games. We don't sim the games, but I don't play outside of this dynasty. Like I don't play just pickup games with regular folks. I mean, I think it would be fun, but I don't know why.
It's weird. Too valuable.
It's weird to me to
You're a national champion.
It's weird to me to play one-on-one in any kind of console game with a stranger. I don't know why that's weird to me, but I do like being in like group activities, like where you play with, like on my PC games, I play a game called Hell Let Loose, and it's a World War II shooter. So you got to squad up with 6 guys, and y'all all got to be doing your jobs and shit like that. So
put them on, Will.
And then you got to go. You go
that
race.
That sounds fire. You're gonna play PUBG?
I played PUBG back in the day, but I'm on Hell Let Loose now. But on iRacing, right? You race against 20, 30 dudes on iRacing on my sim rig. I do that anytime. I don't mind doing that. But this deal here, and I'll say this, like, and you guys can probably appreciate this.
I mean, I've already appreciated everything that you've laid out for us with that iPad.
yeah.
The detail.
You have a full call sheet that tells you which situation.
There's a massive respect factor that's taking place right now with what you've done here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's unnecessary. And if you're just, I know it's unnecessary, but I need to do it because I love the details. I love the data.
Yeah.
I love the information. And like when I was working out and trying to stay in shape as a race car driver, what I enjoyed doing was road bikes. I hated the freaking ride. I hated the 40-mile ride. I dreaded it. What was hanging out there in front of me was all of the data I got from the ride, my average watts, all of the information that I would get from my, my technology and all the crap you could put on the bike to tell me how I did compared to my last ride. That's what I rode for. And that's what made me want to ride, was to see if I was faster or better. And that's, and I think too, like, as I've retired from racing and I don't have that consuming my brain all the time, like these little hobbies are what keep my mind sharp at like 50 years old. Like I need this mental gymnastics that's this bullshit that I'm playing with my buddies, right? And I take it way too far, right? But I'm like, hey, that's my chance to win. That's how I'm going to beat TJ, is to be like, make sure that I am calling the very best play every single moment I can possibly call for myself. And I know this because I've looked at all these plays and I've ran them and I've listed them and I've got them right here and I've created this very, custom playbook. And so, yeah, it's fun.
You need to take this to the next level.
We need an inspiring song.
I don't know what the next level could be. I mean, I think it's already taken to the next level.
Coaching.
When I was racing and it was the 40 miles and I dreaded it, I hated it. It consumed me. But all the technology, all the details, the process, the loving it. And he's like, that's what I get out of college football 25. He's like, I don't have that anymore. And when I'm coaching, what's the mascot for Charlotte? The 49ers?
The 49ers, yeah.
When I'm coaching those boys, the Charlotte 49ers, and
golly,
Samuel, he's elevated his GPA, and now he can play, and he is eligible this Saturday. Yeah. That's what I get out of this
When I got a
game.
guy who's in the outside linebacker spot, and I know he's reached his maximum potential, so I move him into defensive end, and I get to see that spark in his eyes.
And we've had
jumping to the next level.
And we've had one-on-one conversations. I'm like, no, you belong on the edge, and he's trying to tell me I'm a stand-up backer.
Yeah.
And now I need to trust this data that this is giving me. And
I found
I showed him the sheets. He doesn't believe in the sheets, but eventually he did believe in the sheets. And what happened? He's a 5-star. Now he's a blue blood.
Yeah. And now he's a champion.
Yeah. Because he listened, because he took the coaching. Yeah. He's a champion.
I have it on
what
good.
What the hell does Amy think of all this?
She hates it. Yeah. Amy hates it.
And I got to know your cadence. So you're your games, your weeks are 4 or 5 days long, right? But you're clearly you're every day.
I'm every other day probably I'm in the war room every other day working on this.
Those off days too, he's thinking to himself, I want to be back in there so bad.
But
there's real life work in front of him where he's like,
not real life work.
I got to get this.
Not real life work. It's the time home.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, we're going to be watching this TV show tonight. I got to stay invested.
Right.
I can't be thinking of the 3-4.
That was last night.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we're not doing it tonight. We're just going to watch this show.
Got to. You got to be there for my family. I got to get on the simulator real quick. I guess I should work on my cars.
I do have a game that I've got to play against App State. App State's my co-pilot. He's with me here in Nashville. He flew the plane. He landed the plane here today. And his name's Alex. And I played Alex a couple seasons ago and beat him really bad. And so I spent the time on the next flight that we were flying somewhere and wrote him an ebook and I gave him my play book.
You wrote him an ebook?
I wrote him an ebook, emailed it to him. I'm like, here's everything I do with scouting. Here's everything I do with plays.
Wow.
I'll show you this shit.
Dude, he's the Connor Stallions of 25.
And then I sent him
Sicko.
I sent him my playbook.
He wrote his buddy an ebook.
He wrote his buddy a manifesto on how to become a better 25 player.
And he's dominant now. And now, like, when I play him, it's like, I know I got to have my shit together because he's going to call all the same shit I call. And I don't even know how to stop some of the shit I call.
Yeah, you would regret saying that.
You've transcended.
I know, man.
My God.
Yeah. Like, if I was playing myself, could I even beat myself?
Oh my God.
And it's so funny because the passion oozing from him, he really asked himself that kind of question.
Yeah.
Oh my
He saw
gosh.
how good he was doing. He's like, have I done it? Have I cracked the code on this game?
He said, I've given him everything that I know. And now I'm going to be playing against him, and he's going to be calling the same shit that I call. And I'm wondering, can I even stop myself? And you see the look in his eye like he's got Daytona this weekend.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of the war room?
Oh, it's just my house. I mean, it's just my game room.
Yeah, but
do you
is
have
it
a
decked
picture?
out?
No. It's just
You got to have a cork
no.
board
It's
somewhere.
no. It's just a room with a couch and a TV.
What
It's nothing.
time-
You got a cork board with some sort of
There's none of. I
some
can't
string
have
attached to
Hey,
pictures and shit.
There can be no physical evidence.
You know, he prints out the
Smart man.
portraits.
Yeah.
of each
Smart
player.
man.
There can
I
be no
see you.
physical evidence in the room.
God, you got to stream this. Man.
What
You
time of
can't-
day does this happen for you? Like,
We
does
usually-
Amy know when it gets to, all right, kids go down at 7:30?
Yeah.
She knows.
Kids go to bed about 9 o'clock.
I
So
mean, I
you-
can't imagine you putting down your kids at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Oh, they go to bed at 9. Can't imagine that. Like the pregame jitters. They want you to read the book. They want you to tell the story. And you're thinking,
I know.
these kids have no
Yeah.
fucking clue.
Hey.
It's week 1 of the big
I'm like,
season.
Hey, great
I know.
point. This brings it all back around. Dale sent me his children's book, and I'm reading it to Rue, and I'm thinking, this is the longest
It's
fucking
long.
children's book I've ever read. So he ain't reading his
But you
books.
know he sent it to his boys.
Yeah.
This is a ruse. This is a long
He's like,
con.
sweetheart, we're gonna read.
He made this book for his boys in his league that he knows his kids. And now they can't focus. They got to
Yeah.
read this long ass book.
Sweetheart, we're gonna read Go Dog Go.
Yeah.
It's about 8 pages.
Good night,
8
mood.
pages, dude. Those
Yeah.
are the best ones too. When your kid, you tell your kid, go ahead and pick out a book, and they bring back those real thick
Oh my
ones.
gosh.
The pages are
Yeah.
like that thick each. There's only about 8 of them. You're like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, okay. Well, we only one tonight though. Okay, only one tonight.
I meant to do a write up on Twitter about your children's book because I remember being in there one time. Just be like,
don't do
sweetheart.
that.
She wants to go back and see the cars in the garage.
There are some books that are you're like, damn, I should take that one out of rotation. You know,
Everyone should buy that book though. Hey, anyone out here listening, please buy the book. The
You
children's
see your
book.
little one go walk over to the shelf and like, God, why didn't I
Yeah.
grab that? That one right there.
Yep.
Trip to victory lane.
my
How many pages is that thing? Well, what's that novel look like?
my 6-year-old Isla is the long book person, and my little 4-year-old is like the cardboard cardboard.
Pop-up book.
Yeah, open it up. It's like 3 words each page. You know?
Yeah.
I love it.
Hell yeah. My
That's so
7-year-old's into
funny.
Harry Potter right now.
Yeah.
We're busting out Harry Potter, but it used to be a chapter a night. And you haven't seen me read on this podcast yet, but it's slower moving than
Yeah.
most. And so now I go to like the 5 pages thing. My 4-year-old, she's the same way with the little pop-up books. Like
Yeah.
she wants to put stickers on a page. I'm like, we'll do 1 page.
Yeah.
And then I always let her do 2 because I'm
Yeah.
that kind of dad.
I
And
do.
then we get her out of there.
It's no bullshit, man. I'll be sitting in there in the middle of the book going, damn, this book, you know, and then I have to remind myself, I'm like, what an asshole, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss this. And,
yeah, man.
You know, and I'm like, it's just shit.
You're
I'm
gonna
telling
wish
myself,
these
I'm like,
days.
shut up, self. Just read the book. Just enjoy the book.
Yeah.
Get
I
into
think
the
one
book.
day you're gonna wish you were back in this moment. Them just sitting under your arm.
My
listening
little
to you read a book.
4-year-old is smart enough to know I'm half-assing this, right?
Yeah.
She, you know, and she's like, what's the deal with this guy? You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Where's
You-
How is he
voice-
as passionate about this
Yes.
as I am?
yeah.
Where's the voice inflection?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to change the voices too for all the characters.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing
Yeah.
that.
I don't read
I
good
do.
enough to do that.
I do that because I have to do the audio for our book.
You know what's messed up?
Oh, yeah?
You know what
Yeah.
they should do in books?
I love
And
that.
I get into it.
You know how they say like in books there's like the quotes or like somebody's talking and it says like Darla said. It's like so blah 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 Darla said.
That's annoying
They didn't
as
put
hell.
Darla says in the beginning, so I know to change the voice inflection
Yeah,
for that because I start going across these lines.
that's
And
right.
I'm like, what voice am I supposed to be doing here?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Darla. And then I feel like I have to go back and read as Darla now.
Yeah.
And Darla's a made up.
Sherm, I'm glad
character. I
you
don't
brought
know.
up the info on the children's book. I saw the age range is 4 to 8. I'm like, okay, so Rue's got a couple years. I shouldn't even crack that.
Right.
Broke
If
that one out.
anything, if anything, it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
You're letting her
Yeah,
read
that was
that.
your
yeah,
fault.
yeah.
That was
Yeah,
your
that's
That's
fault.
what they need to be learning about
I'm
victories.
thinking like, oh man, super nice of Dale.
Coincidentally,
to send
all
this
his
boy
buddies in the
children's
league,
book.
their kids are all between 4 and 8.
Yeah.
That's
So,
how this all happens.
you get freed up around 9.
Yes.
So you'll play from 9 until,
A game's an hour, so like if it's
but you ain't just,
with Allie, I know.
Playing a
So you
game.
got recruiting
You're
every
recruiting,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to go in there and go, all right, man, I got a big lead here. I can spare some points and put it on this other guy where he's in second. And now I'm at a 5.5 star or 4.5 star, so I'm going up against some big schools trying to beat, Michigan and other people. Michigan got 2 wide receivers from me already in this round. We're
I
in
love
like
how
week
Michigan has
4.
become the thing in this.
We're in week 4, and they got 2 like mid-90 speed wide receivers, but I got one guy, So there's just one guy I think I might win. But
so you'll play till about midnight.
midnight, yeah, I'm looking at the clock. But then, man, you get up and you're like, I'm gonna go sit on the couch and eat some junk food, or
Yeah.
sometimes, man, I just can't go down.
Well, yeah, you have a big
Sometimes-
game. Dale, you got a big game.
I've
It's
just
hard to
played
come
the
off those
game.
Don't
endorphins.
say he's coming down. It's hard for him to come
Hard for
down
me
for
to-
the game.
hard
That's
for me
what
to
I'm
calm
saying.
down.
Yeah. You get done playing a big 60
Yeah.
minutes of football.
Especially when
right
you
there.
win really good.
Yeah.
I get nervous.
Eat some food, send your boy a message like, hey.
Yeah. How'd that go for you? That go the way you wanted?
Yeah. What'd you think
Well,
about
yeah,
that play
yeah.
into the boundary?
Just eat a little something.
I beat to get to the national championship against Michigan. I beat Texas State with a last second field goal.
Texas State? So there's somebody else in there that's
Dom-
pretty good at recruiting and building the program.
Dominic Corelli's his name, and he's pretty tough.
Dominic
And he's got a
Correa.
fast quarterback, and he knows how to use it.
Sounds like he's involved with the mafia with that name.
Yeah. So I almost didn't even make it to the Natty because
How many years has this dynasty?
I won year 2029.
It took you 29
No,
seasons to get your first
2029.
natty?
So 4 years.
4 years.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
And so you've unseated a Michigan team that's won 3 national championships in a row.
Yeah, he won one with South Carolina, and then somehow or another he don't do his recruiting, or used to not, and his team took a shit. And so
Steven's
you
like,
gotta,
yeah, man, I gotta work a lot, bro.
yeah. He's got a job. Yeah, he's got a job. Yeah, I know, man. My time's limited, man. I can only put this much into it for a short period of time where I have to pull the plug, go do something else.
Yeah.
We used to have a Madden league back around 2012. He was in that too, and it was full, 36 or however many, 32 full member. Everybody had a team. I was Washington, and I got this fictional running back. I'll never forget his name, Nick Hubbard. Insane. I pulled him off of free agency. He was like a 68 overall, but he had 97 speed, 98 speed, and a lot of strength, and a good trucking ability, and so his overall was so low because his awareness sucked. But if you're usering the player, it don't fucking matter if they got bad awareness. So I blew this dude up. He was nasty, and I destroyed the league for 3 years in a row. Won three Super Bowls in a row, and then
Got that kid
then I was
paid.
and then I was like, "This is boring. I'm out." And I quit.
Now, is this
Yeah, man,
is
it's
it,
so funny.
Sherman? Did you pull up the game? The what, Hell or High Water? What was the name?
Hell
of it?
let loose. That's it,
Hell let loose.
dude. It's fun as hell.
Is
Yeah, it looks like Call of Duty.
It's kind of like Call of Duty, but it's really slow. So there's it's kind of like Call of Duty, but
It's much slower.
yeah,
Slower pace.
it's like one shot dead. You got to really kind of you're gonna die a lot if you move too fast.
Yeah.
So you gotta
So you
be
gotta be
smart.
methodical.
Yeah, I
You
like it.
respawn a lot, or you get one life and that's it.
No, you can respawn.
Okay, so it's,
Sure,
it's
could you
very much a
imagine
Call of
if
Duty.
Dale was gooning with us on PUBG one night?
I like hell. I like the real historical.
PUBG's real. What you talking about? That's like
I
the
like
military.
the historical.
100 on an island.
Oh,
This
no.
ain't no.
I like the
Fortnite.
historical. I like the historical, like World War II era.
Yeah.
So if PUBG just had a time.
I
on
used to
it.
play
It was in
PUBG
the
on
late
mobile
30s, you'd be
a
good.
crap ton. On this thing, I used to play PUBG on an iPad because like you could take it anywhere
Yeah.
and play anywhere, and it was not bad on a
I need
mobile.
to
It
get
was
on
like pretty
PUBG.
good,
Yeah.
but
PUBG's
I
a lot of fun.
Do you ever play Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah.
Give me your take on that game.
Did you play it all the way through?
I don't think I finished it,
Dale.
dude. It's a lot.
It is.
You got to have the
It is.
book. Did you get the book to finish it? Because you got to. I mean, sometimes you'll get in some of those scenarios and you're like, I really don't know what the fuck to do right here. Like the book tells you every little.
Yeah, I guess maybe all the side missions.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was.
Yeah,
able
if you're like
to
trying to find the
storyline.
treasure map or go skinning animals or something like
Yeah.
that. But if you're just playing the storyline,
I did.
I encourage
I
you to
think
do
I
this.
did the first one, Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah.
and then
That was a good storyline. With
but I
John
didn't do the
Marston.
second one. What I want is, and it may exist, but I don't know. If I got into Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PC, and I want a world that's existing all the time that you can drop into. That's a wild, wild west, and like you're a character, and you're always developing that character. I know that you can jump into online play on Red Dead Redemption, but it's kind of quirky. It's not like a authentic, realistic experience, right? You run around, shoot people, they shoot you, whatever. But it would be cool if they could figure out a way, or if there is a way to like have a character that's everlasting. Like that's your character. You drop in, you play this guy, you're this guy, and you go, put your ass to bed, get up, next time you log in, you get out of bed and you go run around and do some stuff.
So
Yeah.
you're
Does that
saying
make any sense to you?
No, it does. I'm just thinking like, I wonder if there's anything in VR, and then I'm thinking like,
VR.
buddy, you might get consumed by this. game.
Yeah. Dale, of all the people, I would never expect this, but I think Dale, Ready Player One. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Like you
great
put the
movie.
thing on, then all of a sudden you're in that world, and your real world kind of goes to shit.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
this world,
Yes.
you're like,
Him being like, you get up.
because I'm the same way. I could definitely fall into that trap.
He's
Yeah.
like, you get up, you take your ass to bed, and I'm just thinking, you played Harvest Moon before?
Yeah. But
When
so in this Red Dead fantasy you have, it's a Western game, but you can like build a home,
Yes.
buy land,
Yeah.
all these. So you can essentially live a real world.
Yeah.
So there's a game called Ark.
Yeah.
I tried to put Will and the boys on it, but they weren't really having it. But essentially you start out as like a level 0 and you're like a caveman. You're living in dinosaur times. And you're essentially just like trying to survive for your first 50 levels, but you can learn to make tools, learn to build structures, learn to, you can start farming things. And eventually you can get so good at Ark that you can have like technological advances where you have like jetpacks, you're flying on things, there's dragons. And that is a world that is everlasting the way you're saying.
I
Like
got
you
you.
can live in that. And people can come to your world and take all your stuff and you basically have to start all over.
Yeah.
It's
That's kind of like
crazy.
DayZ, or was it DayZ? We played DayZ for a while. That's kind of yeah.
My whole thing is you build that thing up and you die and you get taken over. It's over.
The Asian clans come and
So
take
that-
you
You
down.
start
there's-
over.
DayZ is like the zombie apocalypse. You launch into the world, and this thing's been around forever, and it kind of goes through these certain periods of popularity, but you land on this big giant island and you got nothing, right? And you gotta eat. Your guy will die if you don't like feeding food, and you steal from people and you build houses to hide your shit in, and it's kind of the same way, but it doesn't really progress beyond like the technology, bare basic technology that you have is what you have.
Yeah, this one.
Did you ever play
definitely-
Skyrim?
No.
That was a great
That's a
game.
fun game. But we need to go back to Red Dead Redemption real quick. You need to go play 2. You need to play it all the way through. You need to play the storyline and fully invest in Arthur Morgan. To me, this is the greatest game ever created.
Okay.
When I got my ACL refixed in 2021, I had 8 days, and I played the entire game in 8 days. I had nothing else to do. I sobbed. At the end of the game, I have no joke, tears streaming down my face. It's me and my wife, and I cried. And then there was a break in crying, and as I was going to sleep that night, I started to re-cry about the game. That's how
How did your wife take that?
she probably was like, "Yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
These pain pills you're
Right.
on must be way different
Yes.
than anything
Yeah.
I've ever taken."
I'm
But
already getting a lot of shit about
Buddy.
this NCAA football I'm playing. I'm not
yeah,
sure
it affected
how
me.
she might react if I cried
Yeah,
over a game.
yeah.
Arthur, no!
Dude.
Just from the other room.
That might push her
God.
over the edge, man.
It
I'm
would,
not sure.
I'm
There's no
getting,
coming
I'm getting
back from
emotional
that.
thinking about it now. To be honest with you, I'm getting emotional thinking about Arthur Morgan right now.
Well,
And I know there's a bunch of tier 1s right now saying, "Oh, you need a double stream." I'm going to double stream. It's been a busy couple of weeks.
Bro, you
Leave me the
need
fuck
to
alone.
not just they shouldn't leave you alone. You said something, you haven't even answered them.
I actually have. You need to focus on my Twitter account. I actually
You still
did.
talk to Billy, you talking to him every day?
Bill, I don't talk to people every day, but I sent a little PSA. I said, "Hey, I know I said I was going to do a double stream. I've been made aware, and it was right above the tweet you made." Be like,
Okay,
"Oh no!"
Where y'all-
And I was like,
where
"I
do you-
will eventually do a double stream."
you're streaming your game?
Yeah, we'll stream Tuesdays around 11.
What
but I was
platform?
saying, what's that?
What platform?
I think I was just doing it on
Or
YouTube,
Xbox.
right?
YouTube or Twitch?
Yeah,
Xbox,
oh yeah.
Not Twitch.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think we've dove enough into it,
Sure.
but we should definitely dive into that a little bit more.
Like I just
I don't
figured
know.
out what
I don't know
Discord
much about
was.
it. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had,
yeah, because we were when we
me and-
goon on PUBG, Coop he does it from a
Yeah,
PlayStation.
gotta do
so
it with
they
the
were
Discord,
teaching me
yeah.
about Discord.
that's what we have in our college football league is a big Discord. That's how we communicate every day. And everybody's in there running their mouth and bullshitting about shit that don't even matter. About stuff
you
that's their
don't.
life,
You
right?
don't-
I'm
you
going for a
don't deal with
job
the small
interview today,
talk.
guys. We're like, all right,
Yeah.
good luck. You know,
Good luck. Yeah, that's us.
you better strap the fuck up.
Yeah.
Job interview.
Man, are we feel good?
Yeah, we need to ask him the Bud Light question.
Sherm, do you have that?
Yes, what he would do anything for.
Yes. Our Bud Light question segment.
Mhm.
And again, stock up now on Bud Light. Head to budlight.com/locator to find a store near you. But our Bud Light question, there's talks what people would do for a Bud Light. what would you do anything for? Like, what is that for? So, for example, Steve Ranella, he gave us a great story. He's like, by the end of my life, like, I don't care. I will move heaven and earth to create this little docuseries. And I won't say what the concept is because he told us afterwards. Yep. He's like, I can't tell you guys, but I will get this made. I don't care how many views it gets. It doesn't matter. Like, I want this story to come to life somewhere, somehow. He would do anything to get this docuseries created. What is something that you would do anything for?
My life has been amazing. There ain't shit. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that. I mean, obviously the traditional things I have to probably say. Some people that are watching this don't go, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? With my wife and my kids. But outside of like, I would, I think I would probably, I mean, the things that keep popping in my mind are like getting my kids through college or, because my life has been, I've already done all the things. I've already done everything. I did it all. I did everything I wanted. There's nothing sitting in front of me where like, shit, I hope that happens. Not even the cup stuff. Like if the cup thing happens.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
That's what I was going to say too.
Yeah. I wouldn't do anything for that. You know, I'm kind of 50 and good. And I want to be more excited, invested in what happens between, now and my kids graduating school and moving out of the house, right? Are they going to play sports? Is it going to be dance? Whatever the hell it's going to be, right? What are we going to get into? And my goal, I think, is all of that, whatever that is in that, whatever happens between now and them graduating college, which I hope they do, all that's fine. They choose. But like, I want to make sure that they are, when they leave the house, right, to be adults, that they are equipped with all the tools. And so like I would do anything in the world to make sure that that is what situation they're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There ain't nothing in front of me personally, professionally, that is, that I'm like, oh, gotta get it.
It seems like
it
seems like back-to-back titles in college football.
yeah.
I'm gonna
it seems
say
like
this.
you took a generic answer and made it beautiful the way you just explained that
yeah.
for your kids.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I got on my podcast this week, we played a clip. TJ's my podcast co-host, my buddy that I beat with Michigan. We played a clip from the coach of the UNC 49ers congratulating me. I got the helmet, a jersey, a hat. I told all my buddies in our Discord, I said, hey, I just booked a spot on Bussin' with the Boys to go talk about the Natty. I told them that 2 weeks ago. And they're like,
that what? Fires me up.
Yeah. And so I've been running this into the ground, and TJ is over it. And so, like, if I don't beat his ass this next time, it's going to be held.
I just booked a spot on Bussin' with the Boys to go talk about the Natty.
If I don't win, he is going to.
When does the next season start?
It's already started. We're like 3 or 4 weeks in, so I think we'll play this. We'll play the national championship probably in about 4 weeks, maybe.
Oh, it's just a short-lived celebration.
Yeah, it's quick. And then there's
on a tour of celebrating your national championship in the middle of your next season.
Yes.
Okay.
And so
awesome.
he's the favorite to win the next Natty, and he's already probably behind the scenes planning his celebration because he has some connections.
Yeah, he has to.
He has connections at Michigan.
Does he?
He knows some people.
All right.
So it could be rough. But I told him, I'm like, live it up, man. Who would have thought Charlotte taking them down?
I would not have thought.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have lost a lot of money on FanDuel.
Before we end this, I just wanted to, I brought this helmet. Now, we didn't talk about this, and there's really nothing to it. There's not a story or anything. Other than, y'all both know that I love Washington. And when I went in 2015, I had an appearance to go to the College Football Hall of Fame. And I'm standing there I'm also meeting a Make-A-Wish kid there that particular day. We were going to tour the facility, right, and look around all the cool shit in there. I'm standing there, and Dave Butts, the lineman for Washington, walks up, and he goes, hey, and introduced himself. I was like, I know who you are. And he handed me this helmet. I want you to have this. So it was a big surprise that he was going to be there for me, and somebody had set that up. And so Dave Butts walks up, And he gives me this helmet, and he's like, "This is my helmet from 1984." I immediately, obviously, recognized it was a game-worn helmet, and he's like, "I want you to have it." And so people ask me all the time, like, and I thought to bring this today because people ask me all the time, they're like, "What's your favorite piece of memorabilia of outside of racing?" And so this is it. This is my favorite piece of shit that I've got, right? Of all the Washington, I got helmets, tons of helmets. I collect helmets. I got 180-ish college and football helmets, right? Of all types of teams. And this is number one out of helmets or any other piece of uniform, signed jersey, anything. This is my holy grail. And Dave gave this to me. And I thought y'all would appreciate it. Being players, knowing what this probably went through, knowing what Dave went through.
You
Yes.
see the battle scars.
Right?
Do you mind if I
I thought I needed to bring that. I wanted to bring it for like maybe some inspiration.
They played that's different world.
Different world.
Yeah.
I mean, that
No,
is
that
so
is sick,
badass,
man.
though.
He was so
That logo too.
Yep.
I know.
I mean,
It's back, man. They kind of thought, hey, we're bringing it back. It's nice.
Have they been bringing it back?
They talked about the logo can come back, and they're going to use the logo in some marketing and some things because the family that designed it was like, hey, this is something we'd like to have happen.
Oh, that's
so I think there's
awesome.
been some conversations around the logo itself being used in some
bring the
marketing
logo
stuff.
back, man.
I don't think the logo was ever coming back to the helmet.
Right.
But yeah. Pretty neat, man. I just
Washington's in a good spot, man.
they are. Oh, you kidding me? In
You
a
gotta
great
be
spot.
fired
Yeah,
up,
man.
man.
They're in a great spot.
It was fun watching them last year just make that run and,
Yeah.
and beating the Lions.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
That was
It had
and,
been-
like, they performed the entire game too. Like they
Yeah.
were
I hadn't ran around, and I was in Texas at my wife's had some friends and family we were visiting, and I was running around in this person's living room like a maniac. During the game, Amy's invested. Amy's into it. The kids are into it. They wear jerseys and they got the little cheerleader uniforms. And my little girl Isla, 6 years old, is like, "Hey, Commander's playing today. Are we wearing the jerseys? We got to wear the jerseys." I'm like, "Yeah, let's get the jerseys." And so, I mean, the fact that they're good, the fact that they're winning, is all like happening at the perfect time for me because my family's my girls are kind of impressionable, and when they were winning those games at the end of last season, it brought me back to my childhood because when they hadn't really kicked real ass since '91. I remember where I was when they won against Denver in the Super Bowl, against the Bills, against Miami, and I remember physically where I was standing or what I was doing, and I hadn't been that happy and been able. It was so nice to be happy and like really, truly, genuinely cheering about your team going that deep into the postseason. I know I'm overstating it a little bit but I'm a fan, right? So I'm biased, but you played there and you know the history and the legacy of that team and what that means to the fans that go to those games and all the teams you played for. You know how passionate the fans are. And God almighty, we've been waiting a long time. I mean, there's other teams that have been waiting a long time too, but damn, it's been tough.
And just the story of Washington,
It's been rough.
Snyder, the ownership,
Yeah.
the cloud that's kind of been
Yes.
there. You root for them, but you're like,
They couldn't do anything right on or off the field. It was always bad
Yeah.
news. You like, nobody wants to play for us. Look at all the shit going on. We
Yeah.
can't escape the bullshit.
Right. And then they get new ownership, new
It's
coaching staff, and it feels like
turned
it's
around and
positive, then they
insanely
get the
quick.
players in, and them have
Yeah.
the success that they've had so quickly.
It turned around insanely
Yeah.
fast. I've been watching free agency. I'm looking at my phone every day, following JP and a couple of those guys going, "Hey man, what's the update? Who is it
John
today?"
Kine.
Yes. Like who's
JP
up?
Finley.
Yes. I'm like, who? Oh man, those are my guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the news?
Yeah.
Let me know. Oh, because we're all fired up about our GM and all. We think he's walks on water.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey man, they're gonna now that we've shown everybody in the league that what we can do, and everybody's excited about Jaden. It's all these players are like, I want to go there.
Yeah.
Well, let's see it. Here's free agency. Let's see who signs up.
Don't you just
It's
love
neat.
how passionate Dale is when he's just a fan of
He
something?
just sounds like a passionate man in general.
Yeah.
The thing I love you talking about though is like your kids getting fired up,
Yeah.
watching the games with you because my oldest daughter has started to hit that with Michigan. Like this year, like every Saturday, like we'd have the game on or whatever during the day, and we'd either watch it casually, and then I would go back and watch it, or like she would sit down and watch it with me. And when we played Ohio State this year and we won, I remember she was in the other room because she was doing something. Her mom and my youngest daughter like sprinted in the room, like we're all high five, like they were like truly about it, which I thought was like the coolest moment. It's like,
that's gotta be feeling great.
I didn't meet my wife when I was at Michigan, but like she knows like I enjoyed playing there and stuff like that. And I've like recently become like a bigger and bigger fan and like really dived into the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And to see my 7-year-old be about it, and then hear you talk about your kids being about it, putting the jerseys on, all that.
It's very
like,
similar.
Yeah, it's like this is how fans are built.
Yep.
This is like organically how fans are just made, and it's awesome.
Teaching Rue the Go Big Red chant.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, they have football? Like, yeah, we're gonna watch football today, sweetheart. We're gonna have that on. We're not gonna be watching Daniel Tiger.
Daniel Tiger kick rocks for just 12 hours. All right.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it tomorrow.
Little Bear. Fancy
This is me and my daughter. I took her to Northwestern. And so that's the game before Ohio State. And I mean, they dropped like a 50 burger on Northwestern.
Yeah.
So win was kind of dialed. And I talked to the team before too. So I was like, maybe something's in the air. And technically they're undefeated since me and my daughter went to that game. So
me and Amy,
I don't want to, you know.
Me and Amy were at the Chicago game where they had the Hail Mary.
No shit.
Insane.
That was so wild.
Yeah. We were sitting there in this. We got.
Is she a fan? Is she a fan of football?
Yeah. She likes it because I like it, and there's not been a lot to. There we are. We got to go down on the field. Probably about 20 feet away from us. You know that moment, right? Everybody's gone. The whole stadium's empty. Jaden's about 20 feet away doing an interview, and I would luckily get to say, "Hey, man, I'm a big fan of you. You're badass," you know. And so that was a cool moment for us.
I wonder if Jaden even understands how big of a deal that is. Like Dale Earnhardt Jr. came up to you.
He doesn't.
He waited for you to finish interview.
He has other things in his mind that are big deals, right?
Yeah.
That are cool, and his generation and the people that he like holds at a certain level of celebrity status or whatever. But I wore my Riggins jersey. I'm like, they let me go sit in the owner's suite. Like that was automatic when Dan was there. When Dan owned the team, I was getting invites every week. And then the new people come in and I'm like, man, I wonder if I'll get that invite.
Yeah.
And so they sent one and we're like, all right, we're going. We didn't know where we were sitting. But they walked us in there and like, oh hell, they redid the whole thing. The whole owner's suite's like a whole different color now. And we sat down on the front row, watch a whole game, and ain't looking good. Everybody's leaving. Everybody's kind of leaving even their owner suite. And he's like, what we doing? I was like, we ain't leaving. I was like, even if we lose, we're going to lose. We're going to stand here a few minutes, soak it in. We'll just wait. We got
stand here a few minutes.
We ain't leaving. We ain't leaving. And we're standing there and he heaves the ball up in the air and we're watching. And they fucking caught that pass what people were left, it was like pandemonium. Like Amy, I was like watching Amy go crazy, like loving that. Cause I'm like, shit, my wife is a big Commanders fan now. And, I don't know, man, that was to have been there and seen that in person. And I remember like watching the one guy go down the field, number 23, that was taunting. Yeah. I'm watching it and I'm like, here's an opportunity. This fucking guy's not paying attention. I wonder if anybody else notices this, like,
because he went viral.
Yeah. And so I'm thinking, man, this might be a chance. There might be a chance here. And, of course, y'all know how it went down, but God almighty, y'all have probably seen the Hail Mary moment or the buzzer beater. Y'all seen that because y'all are in sports so much in college, high school, NFL. You've probably been part of those moments, right? That was my first, like, real, like, buzzer beater, like, prayer. That's awesome. 1 in a million.
Yeah.
And then for us to go on and do what we did the rest of the year, right? Because that was kind of early in the season, but I mean, it's just incredible.
But especially against like Caleb Williams, who was the first overall pick. There's like obviously that like already
Swift
started
busted
rivalry.
this big long run off in the third quarter, and I was like, here we go, fucking falling apart.
Yeah,
man. Our defense had held them up
God
for so long, and now it's like they found the holes, they found the kryptonite, and they're gonna just destroy us.
Destroy us,
or they're gonna win the game. But we got it.
That is so awesome.
That was a fun season last year. I hope this year's good.
I hope so too, because you worry about the sophomore slump. That's always a worry.
Yeah,
that's always a little bit of a deal.
We've done some good things.
They'll get better through the draft, and
we only got 5 picks, so I don't know what that means. And I keep hearing that
Washington just picked up somebody in free agency, right?
The left tackle from the Texans.
Right. That's right, Tunsil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's good too.
Yeah,
he's got good footwork.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good footwork. What's that?
What?
Good lungs.
Good lungs, strong
good
lungs. The
lungs.
strongest lungs in the
Strong
game,
lungs.
actually.
Yeah.
But they gave him. They're going to break him off. I don't know if he signed a new contract yet, but they Houston got a whole bunch of picks, so
Yeah.
they're going to have to pay him
Yeah.
big time.
No.
Yeah.
Well, they got to pay Jaden too a couple years.
The good thing is they have Jaden on the rookie deal. They
Yeah.
can just get other
For
pieces
now,
around
yeah.
him and see if they can win
They got
one.
at least 2 more
before they
years.
get
2 more
to-
years, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch them work, man. They're the free agency. You know, they're besides the left tackle from Texas, the players that they bring in, you're like, never heard of this guy. Who's this guy? What's his story? And their story's really not like he's dominated. You know, it's kind of like, well, he's a journeyman, dependable. He'll get in there. He'll do the job. You know, and that's what they did last year. They had all these 1-year deals. I don't know shit about this like you guys, but I'm watching. I'm like, it's strange because everybody's now signing like 1-year deals on these veterans that are in like the 70% mark of their career. They got a little left in the tank, but I mean, is that the way it's always been? Because it feels like I remember it felt like for years when free agency came, everybody signed like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year deals. And now everyone is doing these like 1-year, 2-year, little rinky dink. You'll play here this year, maybe not next year.
The journeyman, I think, has become more and more casual now than ever. This is this free agency has been very unique in the sense that the market keeps getting higher and higher just in these like this pocket of this couple of weeks. Like Max Crosby was the number one, highest non-paid quarterback of all time. And then a day later, Myles Garrett, then now he's like the 5th highest paid. So it's really interesting to see these like markets, like these cap setting contracts happening. But a lot of times, like you get through the first wave of that free agency, which is like your top guys who are able to get away from their teams you're going to pick up. And then you get like a lot of the guys that have like, they're signing usually the 2-year deals. Yeah. It's like, is he going to work out? We know he's got the talent. Can he really get it done? So
I think too, there's not as much of a market because the structure when the new CBA and everything else, when the minimums went up for rookies, it kind of squeezed that middle class a little bit more because the rookies, they'd be on cheaper deals. So you would see more 3, 4, 5-year deals of like middle tier guys. Right. But over time, it's like the floor has raised for the rookie deals. And it's like, we're going to have this rookie for 3 or 4 years. You don't necessarily pay the middle class as much. You can kind of put all your eggs into the guys that you want here long-term. And guys will take those 1 or 2 year deals because they're essentially trying to be on prove-it deals to where they haven't seen the guarantees that they would like in a full contract. Because if you're a good player and somebody's offering you, let's just say, 3 years, $30 million, but only, 5 to 10 guaranteed or something like that, then that player probably thinks in his head, I will just do a 1-year deal, get a guaranteed contract as much as I can, and then hopefully try and hit a lick the next time around. Yeah,
because
the middle class is kind of getting squeezed out because you'll just sign guys on 1-year minimums or 1 year for lower money, but you don't see those like middle tier contracts being laid out as much anymore.
And we'll just structure it out with a 3 year, $30 million, $10 million guarantee. Like that's a 3-year deal, but really it's a 1-year deal.
Right.
Like that's a prove it deal.
Yeah.
Or it was of the past because of this whole, what Will just said, the middle class getting squeezed. Because really all you have is your guarantee. A lot of these guys want to look at the total contract number. Like these guys are making whatever, $200 million contracts. Oh, it's awesome. But then it's like, well, you only got this much guaranteed though. The guarantee is what is the most important thing, not how big the number is, because they could walk away from you or they could backload the contract and all these different things. So there's a lot of like shenanigans and like savvy things that take place during the free agency market.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating to watch. And we'll see how it plays out for my team.
Is there any like free agency type stuff in NASCAR, or you're pretty just built in? We're going to pay you the X, Y, and Z a year.
Yeah, it's pretty
bonuses based on if you win.
Yeah. Nah, it's there's not really a free agency now. There's some drivers that will become available or their contract comes up and they probably know they want to move to a different team, and they probably, or they're getting calls from, like, there's no tampering rules or anything. So like an owner can call a guy and say, hey, how many more years you got on your deal? Or can you leave your deal? Can I buy it out? Would you want to come to my team? I want you as my driver. What do we got to do? And so you may be able to pay that team money to get him out of his contract early.
Does that happen very much?
It has happened in the past. It's not a very common thing, but I mean, there's no real rules we don't have a free agency
Yeah.
period or anything like that.
Have you ever poached somebody or gotten somebody?
I've not. My team's kind of like taking these rookies and these up and comers, and we got more people.
That's true. I guess
we got more people kind of coming to us than we have seats to have race, the people. But in the top tier cup level, it's probably a lot more cutthroat and a little more competitive, trying to.
How many times when you were a driver did you get called from other ownership? Or
Once in my career. So like my deal at DEI at my dad's company was ending, and I had 2 or 3 teams come to court me or, pitch me their deal. And I knew I wasn't going to stay where I was at. So I was all ears and went and met with everybody in each team and kind of took the one deal that I liked. But that happened once, and I was happy where I ended up and wanted to stay there till I retired, and I was lucky enough to do that.
That's awesome.
I know we're wrapping up, but in football, when you're playing, or any sport in general, like there's things you hate doing, but then when you leave the sport, you're like,
practice.
Man, I miss that.
Practice.
That's what you miss?
Practice.
Yeah.
I hated practice because practice was a lot of times like testing and practice are very similar. In testing, you go to a racetrack in the middle of the week, weeks before you're going to race there. And you're by yourself usually. There might be another team there, but usually you're by yourself. And you're out there running alone. And it's you and your team. You go out and run 5-10 laps, come in, make a change. And it's very monotonous and boring. And you're just running. And you almost get bored of telling them the feedback. Okay, yeah, that made it a little better. I didn't feel anything. We're just doing nothing here. I'm just spinning my wheels. But the team's got a process, and they got a plan for those 2 days you're testing, and they are going to get through that plan and learn everything they want to learn and then go home. Mm-hmm. You don't realize that as a driver. You're just bored to death running by yourself. When you practice on the race weekends, everyone else is out there, but it's the same thing. You're practicing, changing things. Your team's learning. It's not a race. There's no checkered flag. There's no winner, loser. You're just making laps, and it's like an hour or whatever. And I hated it. I thought it was boring, and I hated to get ready and go do it, and it was getting in the way of whatever I wanted to do. But I wanted to race. The race was fun. I was excited about the race, but the practice was just kind of boring. But right in the last year, I was sitting in my car, and I think I was at Kansas Motor Speedway, and we're in the middle of practice, and I sat there, and it just dawned on me. I was like, there'll be a day in a very short period of time where I won't ever practice again. And I was watching my guys, they were meandering around the car, changing little things, jacking the car up, gonna adjust this, gonna adjust that. And they're just moving around, and I got to watching them. I'm in my garage stall. It's every other car's in their garage stall. People are pulling in and out, going and running laps, and it's busy. And I was just sitting in there. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna miss this part. I hated this part, and I should have appreciated it more. But I'm gonna miss watching my guys that I love. I love these guys. They're my guys. I'm going to miss watching them work. I'm going to miss coming in here and taking this car to them and saying, hey, can you fix it? This doesn't work right, or this doesn't turn good, or it doesn't steer right. And they're going to try to fix it. I'm going to miss trying to fix that puzzle with them and work on it. And, I think I knew I was going to miss driving in the race. I knew I was going to miss the competition, right? But it was the prep work that I thought I hated that I ended up missing as well.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Do you ever remember those times? Like, I can remember a few situations where you're kind of sitting there and you're kind of taking it in, just being like, as much as this shit sucks. Because practice did, like training camp, there'd just be them days where you're just in the middle of the season or whatever. But you're just sitting there taking in the breeze, taking in the scene, the heat if it's training camp. Yeah. You're just like, one day we're not even going to be able to do this anymore.
Yeah. I feel like it was always like during camp. You ever get in those beautiful situations where you got a small group of boys and everyone's just fed up and everyone just wants to vent and talk shit about how this is just bullshit. Yeah. All this we're doing sucks. Yeah. And you let everybody vent, and you're sitting there, whether it's we're all sitting in the cold tubs after, dying, a couple guys are cramping in the corner. And you're just this is such a hot day and we got to do it again tomorrow. Everyone's just complaining. But then eventually that conversation would turn to someone would bring it up. You're like, it's crazy. This is not going to last forever. And that's a moment you have. You're like, holy shit. Yeah, this is this is the good old days right now.
You're in it.
Just sucking as the
Yeah.
good old days. Because it is the stuff like practice sucks, like camp, August. I wake up now in August and I smile to myself knowing that there's about 2,000 guys out there dying.
Yeah.
And I'm just in this cozy bed right now. Oh,
Yeah.
this is, I'm like, I'm going to hang out with my kids for a minute before I go to work. Like,
Yeah.
something like that. And that's kind of nice. But then there's like a piece of it's like, man, it would be nice to have like 53 guys that are just like embracing the suck together.
Yeah.
Everyone's handling it a little different way, but we're all feeling the same thing, which is this is really hard and we're doing it together.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Dale, this has been awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thank you so much, man.
We had a little marathon here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long was this episode?
245.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Good work.
Well, what's the average these days for you guys?
We sit well
This
above
is-
it. Usually
Yeah,
sitting
well
at
above.
130 mark.
In a
Usually
very
90
good way.
minutes is solid. Like 90
Yeah.
minutes I feel like is our average.
That's good. All right.
Maybe on the high
But
end.
this
Well,
crushed
I'll take
it,
it as
man.
I'll call it a success.
So much
Oh,
fun.
dude.
Thank you for the gifts.
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Don't forget to subscribe.
Congratulations to Bussin, man, and the success, the new partnerships with Bud Light, FanDuel. Hey, I'm on Team Anheuser-Busch. We work with FanDuel over at Dirty Mo Media.
Let's go.
So-
We need some more Bussin' with the Boys Dirty
Yeah,
Mo
I need an
Media collabs.
Xavier win tonight. I know that. That's
Yeah,
that's
you need an Xavier win tonight.
That's gonna get my parlay hit.
Yeah.
Who do you got winning the national championship? Michigan?
March Madness?
Yeah.
Well,
Have you done a bracket yet?
No, I haven't. I'm a Tar Heel
Okay.
fan, and I know they're in a bad way, but
They played last night, yeah?
Beat
They
the shit out of
beat
them.
the shit out
they
of them.
did. That's one. They were one leg of my parlay. It was Alabama State, Carolina, and now Xavier tonight.
You know, FanDuel, you can put futures bets together as a parlay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
I got myself
I
a
know.
spicy one plus 813 plus 813 if you want it.
I hate staring at that damn thing. I did that with Caitlin Clark's average points for
Mhm.
rookie year, and I'm like, golly, every time I log in, I'm like, it's staring me right in the face because it's not over. You got to wait months for this thing to finish out, and I'm like, so I'm wanting the quick. Like,
Yeah. Well,
But the
that-
futures parlay with FanDuel, and obviously this is actually while March Madness is still going on.
Yeah.
But you can parlay futures of like teams getting to Sweet 16,
Oh,
Elite
yeah.
8, the round of 33,
Okay.
Final Four.
yeah,
You can parlay
They-
them together. And I got a plus 3,000 if you are interested.
I
3,000.
saw that.
3,300,
Yeah.
something like that. You beeped it?
No, I saw it on social media. I know what you're doing.
You like it.
I know what you're doing. I did. I got on a parlay that you had during the NFL season, and it was a rough one. I don't even want to admit what we bet. Not the amount of money. I had one unit, but like the teams we were betting on, it was
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
you
we
know
won't-
what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
know. Yeah, because we were texting about
Yes.
The fall, you'll see more of those parlays as well.
Yes.
The playoff with the
Those-
parlay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
like damn, dude.
Will and I got to this point late in the season last year where it was like the higher the plus odds, the better the parlay was. for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Like you're
9 legs plus 10,000.
right. That's ridiculous.
But if it
One's gonna
hit,
hit one day, Dale.
God, that's
And
no
you're
way
gonna
to
be-
live.
You're gonna be pissed.
that's
that
no way to
you weren't in on
live.
it.
You bought an iPad showing your college football 25 breakdowns of everything.
Yeah.
We can put together some spicy parlays.
Like my spicy parlay, and I might get clowned for this, but like I'll go in. It was right before March Madness, and you can do this now with the ones versus the 16s, but I like stack all the ones, the ones to beat the 16s. So I'll build like a plus 200 with like nine legs,
See, that's a crazy way to live, in my opinion.
but those are almost automatics.
But you're getting
Whoa,
you're
can't
getting
guarantee,
to,
can't
you're
guarantee.
getting to plus 200 odds with a 9-leg parlay.
and they all should win. I would say in the past month, I am probably 18-2 with 7 or more legs in my parlays in basketball alone.
Hey, I was gonna
we might have to
say,
call Dale.
I'll show you the.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
open
get-
up. I'll open up my.
where's the
my-
iPad for that?
I'll open
one?
it up.
Hey,
I'll
that's the
show it to
spreadsheet
you.
I need to
if
see.
you took half the effort as you do with that game, as you'd be a billionaire.
Yeah, you
You'd
got to
be-
get careful because I mean you got to do like 400, 450, 500 odds on 7 or 9 parlays to get to like plus 100, 200, 300 or something like that. But it's it's gonna usually pay out.
Yeah,
That's probably not a popular way to do it.
Now you just said 18-2 the way you did it, and I'm trying to criticize like I'm 2-18.
Well, you're betting.
I'll just eat straight picks.
You're at plus 10,000 odds.
Oh, buddy, I've won a few games.
That's kind of the number.
Massive
No,
parlays.
parlays. I'm like I said,
Over.
I'm betting straight up. Yeah, parlays.
We do a thing on
over.
our gambling show.
I want to join. I want to tell some of your bets, man, but you're gotta clean it up a little bit. Come on.
We will. We'll clean them up. We'll get dialed in for football season.
Let's go.
I'll even run them by you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll get on. I'll tell you best. I ain't care. I ain't scared.
There you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Dale.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate y'all, man. It's fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Big hugs, tiny kisses.
3-hour pod?
Damn right.